If you ever take a trip down to North Tonawanda, you better read the signs, respect the law, and order you'll serve hard times. I love to love 'em, I love to kick 'em, I love to shove 'em, I love to stick 'em, I love to flaunt 'em, I love to watch 'em, I love to pick 'em, and I'm gonna kick 'em. Move in now, move out, hands up now, hands down, back up, tell me what you gonna do now, breathe in now, breathe out, hands up now, hands down, back up, tell me what you gonna do now, keep rolling, 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 what, keep rolling, 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 come on, keep rolling, 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 yeah, keep rolling, 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 rolling. He's a man, such a man, such a man. He's a real man's man. So turn around and face the piper you're gonna pay, 'cause the end is now. This is gonna be your judgment day. You always give me everything I need. Everything, love, it sets me free. Yeah, I can feel the love. Yeah, I feel it's love. You fill me up with love both night and day. Natural Born Killers. It's a real good movie. It's even kind of groovy. It stars Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis. But sometimes love sounds like a fight. It sounds like an argument. It sounds just like a pile driver. Woo! Pile driver. He does this. He does that. He's big as a bull and he's quick as a cat. He looks fine. He looks cool. He's his own man and he's nobody's fool. Don't double cross him or get in his way, 'cause if you do, you're gonna have to pay to the man called Sting. The man called Sting. We don't like heavy metal. We don't like rock and roll. All we like to listen to is Barry Manilow. I don't know how to speak French. I'm gonna skip this part. Something, something, something. We love the USA. Hey, we're all American boys. All American boys. Here's a story about two brothers, Rick and Scott. They don't use drugs and they're always on time. Behind the time of their ability, they'll beat you so bad, bow down on your knees and take on all comers, no matter what size. There won't be any question when you get started right. Yeah, started right.
When I was a little bitty boy, baby, I cut my teeth on the big old tree. Mama filled my bottle with the moonshine still. My first meal was the bass he killed. The bass he killed, the bass he killed. My first meal was the bass he killed.
I'm the Mountie. I'm handsome, I'm brave, I'm strong. I'm the Mountie, and I enforce the law. I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. I got the looks that drive the girls while I got the moves that'll really move them. I send chills up and down their spine. I'm just a sexy boy. Sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. Boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. When you get yourself started, it's hard to stop. You just go for your partners, you know what? And then you GRABTHENCAKES. Oh, grab them cakes. Oh, is that all you do? Grab them cakes. Now listen, I don't care what it takes. Grab them cakes. Oh, it's a feeling when you do it to me. Grab them cakes. I don't care what it takes. Oh, yeah. I can slap a tornado. Yeah. I can dry up a sea. Yeah. Here comes the axe, and here comes the smasher, the demolition, walking disasters.
Let's kick some ass. And that was George Gatton with all of the songs he sang for us on this podcast.
That was good brother Mark Adam Haggerty takes great care of us, and he told us on our 20th episode he was going to do a compilation of all the opening jams, and it was you. I mean, you actually said you wanted to do that anyways.
Yeah.
And then Mind Reader put it together for us. So very cool. Thanks.
The
guys.
Mind Reader. He's got a new gimmick. This podcast is brought to you by American Barbell Club, the official sponsor of the Kickin' Ass podcast.
Yeah, Kicking Ass with Jesse and Andy shirts coming out soon from American Barbell Club.
Yep, ripping off the Delta Force, the cover of the Delta Force.
What's the name?
Movie?
What's the name of the dude with Chuck Norris?
Lee Marvin. I'm Lee Marvin.
Yeah. And I think we got rocket launchers.
Yeah, and the worst part is that I think Chuck Norris looked similar to the same age as Lee Marvin, even in like the early 80s, late 70s, whenever Delta Force was. So, and like when you see Jesse and I together, we look like we could be in our 40s. One is
very, very, very easily.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's get right into it. We've been anticipating this one for a while. We got hacker Scotty O'Shea here, and he drove down from Bolton, Ontario.
Our second biggest city of the podcast. Buffalo, New York, and Bolton, Ontario.
How far did you drive?
It was like an hour and 20.
From Hamilton?
Hamilton, yeah.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, it was nothing.
The Hammer.
Yeah.
The Steel City.
The Hammer.
The Steel City.
Isn't Hamilton's the one that they have that weird, huge, like factory with like the flames?
Yeah. We're a big steel town.
Yeah.
Big steel town.
Like,
sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
When you start getting older, and you start getting like just a little more weathered and beaten,
Seen a few winters,
yeah, you should be like Steel City Scotty O'Shea.
I'll take it.
Like a Dick the Bruiser.
Come out with like a Carhartt jacket on.
That's
like
great
a lunch
overalls.
bucket.
Yeah.
But every time like we like coming home from Toronto or something, we drive past that thing, like especially at nighttime, like it looks like a post-apocalyptic movie or something.
Yeah.
It's literally a huge factory, and it has flames shooting out the huge flames
constantly
shooting. Yeah, it looks like Mad Max. Huge flames shooting out the top, like 24/7.
My brother works there, and he says when you see those huge flames, I think when those
he
flames,
works there?
Yeah.
It's like Homer Simpson.
Yeah, basically. But he was saying, like, I can't remember, but when you see like that torch and it's releasing like, I think it's a green color, they're being fined like $20,000 per second.
Oh my!
And they say it happens like 3 to 4 hours a day.
Fuck.
Like it's just it's crazy.
So they're making a lot of money there.
Oh, they're killing it. They're killing it.
Insane.
Yeah.
They actually just make money there.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
It's just a moneymaker. They, Hamilton is your hometown, isn't it?
Yeah, okay, I say Stony Creek.
Yep.
There's like a little mountain. It's not like a mountain like you think of. It's an actual escarpment.
Okay.
If you know what I mean. So kind of like it's a higher spot of Hamilton. We call it Stony Creek. People don't judge you nearly as fast when you're from Stony Creek, but when I bought a house, I'm in the fucking heart of Hamilton.
Gotcha.
I used to shit on it nonstop, and now I'm right in the middle of it.
And now I own a
I
house
stick up for it nonstop, but I totally get the hate.
Every Time I Die played their first show ever.
Hamilton?
In Hamilton.
Oh,
at
really?
Sonic Onion Records.
Where the fuck is that?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But
It's probably down the street from my house.
I got punched. I got cheap shotted at a show once upstairs at that place and turned around and threw the craziest like haymaker at a man who then moved, and I punched an Asian girl dead in the face. Nose was all over the place. I remember her name was Mel. She used to play guitar in the band Figure 4.
Figure 4.
Yeah, and then I remember like years later we went on tour with Comeback Kid, and she was doing merch for him, and I was like,
"Did you say hey?
I'm so sorry." And she goes, "No, it was totally cool. Like that was actually kind of hot."
Oh wow, daddy issues right there.
Yeah,
it was daddy issues.
It was crazy, but / awesome. Like I always felt really bad.
I do want to say, because I was thinking about this on the way here, Hamilton gets a bad rap. I don't want to speak on your town, but we hear Buffalo gets a bad rap for certain things.
Yeah.
So there is that connection between Hamilton and Buffalo.
You know what's crazy? Okay, so obviously you're Canadian, and you're from just over the border.
Like, yeah.
So a lot of I remember like when I first started going over for shows, like not wrestling shows, but like old punk shows and stuff like that. When people would go, "Oh, where are you from?" I'd say North Tonawanda, which is the city we're in right now.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "Oh, the city that's constantly on fire." So like you guys,
it's the exact same.
Everyone says that though,
the exact
like,
same.
because it's like there's like you guys get some of our news like
Oh, yeah.
on the radio or
Oh, yeah.
like on TV, and
Yeah.
it's like there's always a fire in North Tonawanda.
It's true.
Like always, and
I
like
didn't know
dude, every single person,
Yeah.
they're like North Tonawanda. And I remember we have like a specific, like in Buffalo, we have a very specific accent, which like you're only really 45 miles from us. I think it's 40 miles or something like
Yeah.
that from
Yeah.
us, right? And like our accents are a little different,
Yo, absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So I just by chance I was in Orlando, and I was with Kevin Scaff from A Day to Remember, and he was dating Paige at the time.
Oh,
So
right.
like all the people that he hung with were like WWE people.
Yeah.
And if she was out on tour, she was like, you know, he was hanging out with like Corey Graves and stuff
Right
like
on.
that. So like Corey Graves invites him out for dinner, and I'm with him. This is a really weird story. So I show up, and I'm wearing like a Muda shirt, and I'm like, God damn it! Like I don't want to be the
look like a
guy that
mark.
like
Yeah.
I'm rolling up to this thing. I got this Muda shirt.
Hey
on.
guys, I like wrestling.
And I walk up, and the table was like Lita, Renee Young, Cody Rhodes, his wife, and then Graves.
Shit.
So like we roll up, and Cody,
Heavy.
Cody,
I wouldn't have been able to talk.
well,
Right.
Cody goes, "Whoa, Muda, man, that's the reason why I got into wrestling." And I like my
Thank
first
God.
response was, "Not your Hall of Fame dad,
Yeah.
Dusty Rhodes." And like he was like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
like that. But man, Muda was like the guy for me. I was like, yeah, me too. And then we sat down, and I'm trying not to be quiet, but like in those situations, I always kind of feel like I'm the new kid. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
In
know that
school, so
feeling,
I'm like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? And this is really weird. Like Lita's sitting across from me, so I'm just like, talk about tug time.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Can't wait to get to that.
We'll get there. Yeah.
all of us have lived tug time with Lita. So I'm like, just because I'm a single dude, and I'm like, I'm kind of catching a vibe here from Lita. Like I'm thinking there's a chance. There's no chance. You know what I mean? She's looking at
Tractor
me, and
beam.
she's like,
suck me right in.
In your
she's like,
head.
oh, cool. This is a skin bag filled with garbage.
Yep.
Like here it is in front of me. So as I'm like talking, like Corey Graves, obviously like in the area, he was like Sterling James Keenan.
Yep.
So we like kind of came from the same area, and like kind of have known each other for a bit. And
He's a Pittsburgh brother.
yeah,
Another
and, like,
Steel Town.
We're
Yeah,
sitting there.
there you go.
We're sitting there and we're like talking, and the more I talk, Renee Young just out of nowhere, she goes, "What are you from North Tonawanda?" And I was like,
yeah.
I pull my wallet out, I hand her my ID, and she goes, "No fucking way!" And I was like, "I actually am from
That's
North Tonawanda."
hilarious.
And then the second thing, she goes, "The city that's burning,"
All the time.
like right away, and I was just like, "How?" But she's from Toronto, so
Yeah, that's funny too, because like
Oh, yeah.
our local news, like Hamilton, like there's always stuff going on, but you can tell sometimes they have to just fill time, and
Yeah.
they'll just cover shit here.
Yeah,
Like it'll just be like we'll hear about like your hockey teams and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Or like, I mean, American politics.
Oh,
They're
my
on
God.
Canada television all the time.
Like constantly.
Yeah.
But like, what's the name of the channel you guys have? It's like weather, politics, stocks, all at the same
CTV?
time.
Yeah,
CTV. I mean, I really like CTV. I wish we had something.
It's pretty
like that.
good. It's pretty
sweet.
good. Yeah.
When I was a
But-
kid, did you grow up a hockey fan?
I fucking hate it.
Okay, so
Yes.
I can't.
But,
It's like
living-
chaos on ice.
I love hockey, and like my best friend Wes, the
Yeah.
other Python.
Yeah.
he grew up a Maple Leafs fan,
Oh yeah.
and like recently I asked him, I was like, why the fuck we have a hockey team in Buffalo? Why the fuck are you a Maple Leafs fan? And he's like, because of CTV, man. They always had hockey
That was
night in
it.
Canada, so I would just watch that, and that's the team that they covered the most.
I remember
Made
like,
so much sense.
in high school, I dated a girl like basically all through high school, and her family loved hockey. Her 4 sisters played hockey, and like I used to be dragged to these games all the time.
so that's
and
why
like
you-
I didn't like hockey really then, but I gave it a shot because I was like in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like it looked like before we started the recording, we were talking about just like how uncoordinated some people are in the ring when they first
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
This looked like people that had been playing hockey for years, still uncoordinated on skates,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't. Like I try so hard and I can't.
Yeah.
And then there's like no contact in female hockey, so it's
Yeah.
like they literally push each other, and the rest would be like, "Whoa, split it up!"
Yeah.
Just be like,
This
"Jeez."
is boring as fuck.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Like whenever I go to like do Laura's like family stuff in Canada, like Canadians love talking about American politics.
We
They're
know
just-
more about it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them can't. Fuck. What do you guys? What do you guys have? not a prime minister.
Yeah, we have prime minister.
Is it prime minister?
Yes.
A lot of people don't even know who the prime minister is,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, but they know everything about American
If they do
politics.
know who he is, they know him now just because he's a heartthrob.
Oh, yeah.
But like up until then, everyone was just like, "Who is he?"
He's the Shawn Michaels of Canada.
Yeah, for real.
People start calling him the prime rib.
Yeah.
Like in succulent. Yeah.
I want to.
How has there never been that?
That's good.
The prime rib. Where in wrestling, where it's just like that's
a piece,
it. Like,
piece of meat.
yeah, like it should just be like the best rib possible. It's called the prime rib.
And it's finished to be the T-bone and like.
Okay, this is a random segue, but like, okay, so I get really on Instagram. I get really like enthralled by, you know, when you can go to like your Explore and it just shows you a bunch of different stuff, and then you know like, oh, there's some wrestling stuff and some bodybuilding stuff, and then it's like, oh, there's some incredibly hot chick.
Yeah,
and it's just like, and you're like, I can't believe this is a real person. Like,
Yeah,
you know
they
what I mean?
hurt.
It's just like, yeah, it's some skinny girl with like triple D natural boobs, and then like, well, the thing that like always I'm like when I see it, I'm like, she's like 19 years old, and it's like, you know, she doesn't have a job. Like,
No,
this is what, because you read her profile, it's like, this is what she's probably getting flown to Dubai. And
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Weird shit. But I'm always like, I gotta look like, I wonder how many followers she has. I'm like, probably like 600,000 or something. Like, oh, it's like 2.5 million.
Yeah.
But then every time I look at that and then I look down, it's always in the likes, keyboard warriors. Every time. It's happened 10 times. I'm like, oh, hacker, like this girl's picture. Like, I'm not kidding, at least 10 times. Like, he's ahead of the game and already knows who this is.
Well, like I go back a lot because I've always said like I want to kind of be the Dennis the Menace of pro wrestling, right? But like I also kind of live like that, and it took a long time for my girlfriend to understand I'm a little rough around the edges. But I'm me all the time, right? Because she's had people be like, "Hey, did you see like Kurt like this girl's photo? She's like half naked," and it, like we used to have a discussion about it, and now it's just like
It's
like
over.
she doesn't even understand,
Doesn't
Like,
care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's just
over.
like it's him. He's a pervert, and he admits it. But he's honest about it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like it's just
That's like the thing is like, I feel like there's a sense of like when you do have a significant other and there's like likes on like pictures like that. If there's 2.5 million followers, she's not looking at that picture.
Yes.
There's
Oh, yeah.
it's literally you just being like, well, that's a great ass.
and even
You know what I mean? Like that's it.
to cover my ass if I wanted to. I don't want
Yeah,
to.
okay.
But when I scroll through Instagram, everyone gets a double like. Like
Yeah.
everyone,
Laura's like
everybody.
that. Yeah, it's like, bah, bah, bah,
yeah.
Laura,
I don't even notice I'm doing it. But like,
Yeah.
like if my like can make somebody just be like, oh sweet, I got another like. If all it takes is 2 taps, you're getting it.
Yeah.
Like I don't give a shit.
Exactly.
You know.
Sorry.
I'm so glad you pointed that out because I've had that like.
Well,
few
then
times.
the other one was I think I brought this story up on the podcast before, but I didn't name your name. I didn't want to throw you under the bus. But I
Yeah,
don't think you'll get
I know
it.
what you're talking about. We're going.
It was at it might have been the first Smash show at the Opera House. Like I got out of the shower and you were just like holding court to like the whole locker room, and mainly it was to Laura and Alexia Nicole.
Yeah.
You were describing a fleshlight.
Absolutely, yes.
Like,
Yes.
And like, the girls had no idea what it was,
No.
and like I think
Every dude knew what I was talking about. Every dude.
And because that was I got out of the shower and Laura was like, "Jess, do you know what a fleshlight is?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's on Rogan's podcast. Like,
Yeah.
it used to be the sponsor."
Yep.
And then like you were breaking it down how there's certain ones for certain porn stars.
Yeah, like I have a Christy Mack vagina. You can also buy her butthole and lips.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know.
Did
that.
you know? Did you know that's Aubrey Marcus?
Yeah, he
Like
was
the owner
original.
of
He's
On
Flesh-
It was the owner of.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
He originally
So it's
started
in-
before,
I didn't know that.
before
Austin,
on it.
Texas.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
It's
Because
in
I've
Austin,
shit on
Texas.
Audrey Marcus many times.
Yeah.
To you many times.
We were talking about podcasts, and I was like, man, I actually listened to like a couple episodes of Aubrey Marcus. I didn't even like finish my sentence, and he goes, "Oh, that fucking snake oil salesman! I don't believe a word that guy says." It was awesome.
Dude drives me
I'm
nuts.
so huge.
I believe On It only sells
That
placebos.
snake oil salesman.
Also, this is coming from a guy that's never tried a product. I just
Never tried
Coconut
any-
oil?
every time I hear him talk, and he's talking about how he takes trips of DMT in the
Yeah.
fucking tropics with Toucan Sam. I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Just tell me you're selling me a fat burner.
your $80 bottle of fucking
like
whatever.
Like, stop sugarcoating it.
Definitely not getting that on its like back.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, it's great. Alpha Brain.
Andy's
Yeah.
been
I'm on it right now.
Yeah.
Take it every day.
I'm sorry, I totally forgot. Andy's trying to get a sponsorship.
To go back to like Big Willie's Tug fucking house or whatever it's called, I should get Alpha Drain. Like it's like a ball refill. you just come buckets. Alpha Drain.
That's great.
I take 6. I take about 5 or 6. I got a real hose down there.
Ropes on ropes on ropes.
Peter North is the first person to do it.
You know, I'm going to drop some knowledge. I have a feeling you guys might know because I know you guys are both perverts as well. For taste, it's obviously pineapple, but for volume, it's iceberg lettuce. Supposedly, that was
real?
Peter North's secret. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, iceberg lettuce.
I've heard the pineapple thing. I never iceberg lettuce.
Iceberg lettuce,
Which is basically
supposedly
water and fiber.
Yeah, it supposedly just comes out the dick hole like
we
fucking.
We recorded with a dude. We recorded with this guy named Steve Evitz, amazing guy, and he would like always take a gym break around 6 p.m. every day, and he would go to this gym and like he went to like one of the ones it like cost like $17 for a day pass.
Okay.
So there's like no point for me to go there. I'm not gonna go pay for like the hour and a half that he goes.
Yeah,
$17.
Right. But he literally was Peter North's like workout partner. Like they
No
worked
shit.
out at the same exact time. And I was like, dude, I gotta meet him. I gotta meet Peter
Absolutely.
North.
It's
I'm gonna
worth
go
the
get a
$17.
workout.
Yeah.
And he never was there the days I went.
Oh, really?
Like, he always was like, bailing, or he always bailed like those days or whatever. And I never got to work out with him. I never got to see him. But we talked about Dice Clay before this. I went and saw Dice Clay. I had a buddy who worked like door at one of the comedy clubs in LA when we were recording with Steve Evitz, and this is like down and out Dice Clay, like wearing like leather vest with like shoulder pads, but the sleeves are cut off, so all the padding is coming out.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Literally just wearing sweatpants.
Yeah, not in shape at all.
But destroyed.
Yeah,
like,
he did what?
Just fucking awesome.
That's great.
Like
That's
perfect. This is probably 2006, somewhere around there.
I love hearing that.
But just slayed, and then Peter North was sitting like right in front of me with like 6 girls.
Yeah, of course.
Like literally came in with like 6 girls.
So cool.
That man has lived a life.
Yeah.
Also, can we just throw a quick rest in peace to August Ames? Can we just say that? She was one of my favorites, and she's Canadian.
You were the one that that posted that I saw that.
Literally.
How did she pass away?
Is it supposedly okay? Well, it's gonna get deep here, but it's about porn stars, so let's not lose the humor in it all.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess she was contracted to get boinked by a gay guy. I guess, but he goes both ways. But he's mainly gay.
Yeah.
And she said no because even though he's tested or something like
She's
that, he can still like there's a danger with AIDS or whatnot.
Yeah.
So she said like no, I don't want to do it. Then he like basically like bullied her and was like I'm
I
tested.
heard it was
blah blah
something
blah.
about bullying.
Yeah, it was pretty bad online. You can still look it up and. Supposedly she was just like she got bullied so bad the next day she just offed herself.
Dude,
I handled
that's
that
crazy.
like my grandmother died.
Yeah.
Like I was just
Really
like,
hit you deep?
oh my lord! I was at work. I literally stopped in the change room and I was just like, I could not stop looking through my Twitter. My pants were down because I was mid change.
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't. Like some people handled Prince's death rough.
Yeah.
I was just like August Ames.
Yeah.
And like nobody's a pervert at work, so they're just like, I was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry.
It's all right,
You've
don't
seen her. You just don't know her.
Yeah. Because she was
did-
only like in her 20s, right?
Yeah, she was young. She was like 23.
Just
Yeah.
to bring it back into our like pro wrestling world,
Mhm.
I had it was like I think I had 495 or 505 on the bar.
Mhm.
I was about to hit my like personal record in squat, and I had all this. I mean, it was a ton of weight. It was up there. It was close to 500 pounds.
Yeah.
if not just over 500 pounds.
Shit.
And I'm about to do it. I'm all fucking strapped up. I'm ready to rock. I'm about to go to the bar, and this dude comes up to me and goes, "Hey man, did you hear? If you like looked at the news?" And I was like, "No, why? What happened?" He's like, "Macho Man died." And I literally was just like,
Just took you out of everything.
Today's done.
started strapping. I was like, "Not today, man. Not
Yeah.
today. This isn't happening today." And like I waited 2 weeks to do it.
My
and
energy
then-
needs
yeah,
to be
like,
elsewhere.
I couldn't do it.
Oh, I hurt myself.
I legit I was like, I can't do it.
Took
I'm
all
done.
the
Not
wind out of your
today.
sails.
I love how because if you remember, he died on like May 20th.
Yeah.
May 21st was supposed to be the rapture. Do you
Yeah.
remember that? And
Yeah.
everyone, like the world was supposed to end, and everyone was like, "Macho dies the day before, and the rapture doesn't happen." Coincidence?
Yeah.
He whooped that ass.
I love it.
He took care of it. That's
Yeah, that
fun.
was like, and then Jay Adams was another one. Like I skateboarded growing up, so
Yeah.
like when Jay Adams died, I remember I was in a gym. I was in fucking Garden Grove, California, or something like that, and like just read the news and just had to take a break in the
Yep.
alley.
It's the
I
worst.
just like went outside and I was like, man, come on! Like he just got his life kind of bounced back, and boom, he like passed away, and it was like, God damn it.
I don't mean to hijack this, but
No, go ahead.
I don't want to glance over what we've kind of gone with the fleshlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elf. I mean, Elf.
Okay.
We should go back to Elf.
Do they
Eventually.
make
It was really good.
August Ames?
No,
Fleshlight?
no, they might now in tribute.
Yeah.
I'll buy stock if that's the case.
Yeah.
But
I'll support.
I've had a fleshlight for a while, but yesterday.
Which one?
I've had the Christy Mack
Okay,
vagina.
cool.
Vagine.
Very cool.
And I bought it after she got the crap kicked out of her as
Yeah.
like a tribute.
Yeah, man,
Right? I was
like,
like, I'll throw
I
a few
almost bought
dollars.
the Nina Hartley one. I
gotta
talked
help
to
Yes,
them.
absolutely, right? So yesterday I was out, my girlfriend was working, so I had the whole day off, and I'm on Christmas holidays right now.
Here we go.
Not even. So I went shopping, and
lit some candles.
I went
Locked all the
shopping,
doors.
and there's a love shop and a stag shop within a block of each other.
Yeah.
by my
You
house.
told me yesterday you went to the stag shop. I was like, what'd you go there for?
Oh, here it is.
This is a sex shop, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I went in, because I never do it. Like, I joke around about it a lot, but, like, I never go in. So I was like, it's Boxing Day. I might get a fucking good deal.
Yeah.
And my fleshlight, I leave it in the shower at all times. You come over to my house, it's in the shower. It's right
That's
there. All
very
times.
cool.
My
Fucking-
girlfriend just deals with it.
Fucking awesome.
Right? It's always there. I never
That is
fucking
so
hide it.
cool.
And, like, so you can open it up, and, like, I've probably only used it maybe 20 times. I've had it for like 3 years. In all
I was
honesty.
expecting like 5. I think it was like 5 times. I feel like it's like 20 times.
Because like when you finish, like there's so much shame after you bust,
That's
right?
what- that's what
And
Rogan
then-
says,
Yeah,
too.
and then you're just watching these knobs of glue just come out.
Oh.
That's why I keep it in the shower. I kept it like beside my
Because
bed.
you could rinse it out.
Living at home,
yeah.
hiding a fleshlight. Like, yeah, it looks like a flashlight, but like you're not fucking fooling anyone.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's a
But
big
whatever. So I
flashlight.
always keep it in the shower. So I went and I was like, I'm gonna look for a new fleshlight. Like I'm doing a podcast tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, let's get some content going.
Yeah.
And I almost bought the new one because I want to stay true and buy a porn star. So you can just buy a random
Yeah.
Regular.
badge.
Yeah.
But like I want to support.
Yeah.
But then I noticed they have the quick shot, which is like
Oh, boy.
it's like 4 inches, and I guess the idea is that your ween's bigger than it.
Yeah.
So when the time is to bust, like there's no cleanup.
yeah.
So I was gonna do that.
Oh.
I was gonna do that, but I pinched my pennies. Like I'll be back to get it for sure because I'm due.
It's still on the brain.
It's
Yeah.
great having it in the shower at all times, but like the water has kind of like
Yeah.
killed the latex a little bit. You know what I mean?
A little
What's
rusty.
have you ever tried that egg thing?
Never.
Yeah, I've tried those.
Are they any good?
They're weird.
Yeah, like
There we
It
go.
was like a European thing. Like I remember like in Europe, like you could just get them at like stores.
yes, yeah.
So like I remember
Do you just
like,
wrap it around like a stress ball around your
I think
dong?
we just bought. I bought like the band.
Oh, okay,
Done.
okay.
It's like, hey guys, on me. Get a good tug in tonight. You
That's
know what
great.
I mean? And they have different kinds and stuff. I didn't really feel a difference.
That's what I mean. Like a fleshlight is great,
yeah.
but like I give the best hand job I've ever felt.
Yeah.
So like sometimes like when I want to make love to
A
myself,
lot to live up
sometimes
to.
I'll give that time.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just like, man, I'm bored. Right? Let's just crank one out and keep going with our day.
I met 2 people that work at the Fleshlight Factory. That's when we played Austin.
Oh my lord.
And they were like, "Oh yeah, I'll send you I'll send you whatever you want."
Oh.
And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then like, I don't know what was going on with that day. We played 2 shows in Austin. Maybe I was being rushed or something like that. So like the conversation was like a little. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
So my brain just kind of shut off, and like they were like, "Yeah, I'll give you a sample. I'll bring like a sample
Oh
tomorrow." I
my
was like,
lord.
"For all of us? Like one for all of us? You're expecting us all to use the same one?" And the guy's like, "No, dude. Like I'll bring you guys all fleshlights." And I was like, "Oh, okay. 'cause that would be weird."
Great.
I remember when I was living at home, I had the whole basement. The basement was my bedroom, and I used to keep it in like my side drawer. And after Ethan Page's wedding, the ceremony wasn't far from my house, so within like the 5 hours between the ceremony and the reception, we all came back to my house and watched wrestling. There was like a ton of workers,
Yeah.
and so of course the fleshlight gets brought up. So it's like, it's in my side table, just grab it, right? It's clean. Like I'm not a fucking animal. I've cleaned it. So
Yeah.
Mike Rollins grabs it and he's like laughing at it, right? We're all just laughing because it's funny. He's holding my masturbator,
Yeah.
right? And then he starts putting his fingers in it, looking for a laugh, and everybody
Oh,
is just
man.
like,
Yeah, it's like too much.
yeah, the laugh didn't go. So he stayed dedicated and like kept doing it, and the laugh never came.
Yeah.
No matter how far.
Even
you
I
went
was
with
like,
it.
Mike, put it away.
Yes,
You're embarrassing
enough.
me.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's enough. It's enough.
My girlfriend now.
Hacker, can you? I should have asked you this before. Can you tell the story of when you got sued?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's so you won't get in trouble or anything.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't even care.
It's you've heard this before?
No. I know that there was like some sort of issue.
Yeah.
We
Like-
talked about that.
Well, like
before.
they Every Time I Die was recently getting sued for like injuries during shows and stuff like that, and then like your story is nuts.
Mine, like, I feel like my story is the one we all get warned about, and it never happens.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Yeah, basically it's like a nightmare. Like it actually really happened
Yeah.
to you.
So I was wrestling a Danger Boy Derek Wild years ago, and we were running a program, and it ended with us having a ladder match. And like the building we were in was kind of your typical, like, I think it was a Moose Lodge. That's actually what it was.
Yeah.
So we came out on one side. There was a curtain. The ring was in the middle of the building, and then on the other side there was a stage, and that's where the hard cam would sit and whatnot.
Yep.
But for theatrics, we put the ladder on the stage the entire show.
Gotcha.
So like you
could see it.
Yeah. So for the match, we'd have to go outside, get the ladder, bring it in.
Yep.
Okay. And like, mind you, there's probably 50 people here.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, but we didn't care. We were
But it's
working.
time.
Yeah, we were working hard. We
It's
were
time a
working
ladder
hard.
match.
It's time to go.
So we're wrestling outside. If I remember correctly, it was to get the ladder. And Derek Wild picked me up kind of in a DDT position, like a front face lock.
Yep.
And as wrestlers, we just give our body to each other. And he kind of grabbed a single underhook of my arm and just kind of tossed me, and I went with him. And I landed in whoever was sitting in the front row. I literally landed in their lap, and we took the slowest, like, fall backwards
Yeah, like
ever.
in the chair, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
said?
yeah. Like, we got caught by the person's knees behind us. It
Yeah.
was super slow. But immediately I kind of panicked because I was like, shit, I'm on top of somebody.
Yes.
It was this guy. I was like, hey, are you okay, man? He's like, yeah, go kick his ass. As
Yeah.
soon as he said that, I was like, oh,
Perfect.
fucking great. And that's a typical wrestling fan. They're just happy to be involved or
Yeah.
whatnot. So we went on to the match. It was all done. Never heard anything about it. And it's like 6 months later.
It was that long? It was like 6 months
It was
later?
a long time. It was a long time. I was on a cruise with my girlfriend. We came back. I pull in. Like, I'm still living with my parents. I'm excited to see them. As soon as I walk in, like, my dad doesn't say, like, how's the trip? He was like, we have an issue.
Oh.
And
We found,
like my dad,
we found your fleshlight.
yeah. My dad's like a silly goose with me, like me too. So like I could tell. Like,
Yeah, there's
was
something
up.
serious,
It was a
yeah.
death or something.
Ugh.
And I was like, "What happened?" He's like, "We were delivered papers from a lawyer. You're getting sued." So I'm like racking my brain. I was like, "From what?"
Yeah.
Like I can't think of anything. And like I didn't even know it was wrestling. So I was like, "What did
Yeah,
I do in
exactly.
real life that
Yeah.
fucked me up?" And then I found out what it was, and it was just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So it was. We got sued. It was myself, Derek Wild, the promoter, and the venue. They were coming
the
after,
venue too?
They were coming after all of us for $25,000, and
What a specific number.
$25,000. Yeah.
I mean, not to throw anybody under the bus, but didn't you say, wasn't it a lot because didn't the promoter not get insurance for the show? That's
Yeah.
what
There was
fucked
no
everything up.
insurance, and like that's usually what would cover you.
Yeah.
So like it was just a lot of like, how does it even get this far? How do you run? Because this wasn't his first show in that venue either.
Yeah.
I was like, how is he running consistent wrestling shows
With
without
no insurance, yeah.
But so the funny thing is, maybe I shouldn't have said who was all in the lawsuit, but we're too far now. So we went to small claims court, and when you get sued as the defendant, you have to put in a defense. It's basically just write on a piece of paper, I'm not guilty.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's all a defense is. And if you
Yeah.
don't do that, you're admitting guilt. So I was too poor to afford a lawyer,
Yeah.
right? Looking back, I don't know why my parents didn't help me out, but like it all worked out. It was maybe like them just giving me a lesson. But so I just called around to like 50 lawyers because they'd all give you 30 minutes for free.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So I got like 16 hours of free fucking things from like random
Pretty smart,
lawyers.
yeah, very smart.
So I put up a defense and whatnot, and a lot of the lawyers were saying like, this won't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like it's a frivolous lawsuit.
Gotcha.
So I put up my defense. The promoter gave his defense. Derek Wild, he showed up. He didn't have anything.
Mhm.
And the venue, whoever they were going to send, they didn't even show up.
Yep.
So I was like, this is great. I'm going to put in my defense. The promoter's going to put his defense in. They're going to go after the other two.
Yep.
And so we get there.
Just throwing Derek.
Basically. But it happened, right? Like,
Of course.
It fucking happened. So we get there, and the judge goes, well, if Derek Wild, like, he's ill-prepared, so let's set this back so he can get prepared.
Ugh.
So it's just like, whatever. Like, it was a day off work and whatnot, but whatever. It gives him the chance.
Yeah.
Right? It would have been nice. If I was in his situation, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
So I think it was like 6 months later, because nothing's quick. It's just weighing on you. We came back, and now Derek Wild didn't even show up, so it's just me and Marsh.
Yeah.
So we're like, this is fucking great, right? Like, we're definitely going to
Yeah.
fucking get here. So now we're in this small room, no bigger than this studio. There's a judge. There's me, Derek Wild, the promoter, and the guy that's suing us and his lawyer, and we're sitting shoulder to shoulder, and the guy that's
Oh, I
suing me
forgot
was
about this
right
part.
beside me. We're in this room for 3 hours. Doesn't even look at me. He looks at the wall, straight ahead the
How
entire time.
for 3 hours?
For 3
How
hours.
weird is that?
And he's fine, by the way. He was saying he fucked up his back and like his life has changed and whatnot. Yet we have his kid who used to do ring crew saying he's totally lying to you. He's totally fine, but we could never get proof of it.
He was just trying to get out of work or something.
Yeah. So it was bullshit, and we always knew. But then, the promoter had a lawyer, and he ended up. It was a girl, and I was in the midst of thinking about countersuing him because I was like, "How do you not have insurance for a thing, right? To run a wrestling show?" So I was going to countersue him. But the day we got there, we had been working good together, and he said, "Here's my lawyer. I know you can't afford one. Until it turns to me versus you, it's ours. She's our lawyer."
Yeah.
So he helped me out, and then we ended up just agreeing on payout for, it was something like 24 months for like a couple $100 a month.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, still being like a young broke wrestler, a couple $100 a month.
It
sucks.
sucked. But like I just looked at it as paying a due.
Yeah.
It's a great fucking story to have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it lives on.
Like I didn't enjoy the process, but looking back, it was a good time.
Yeah.
Like I take pride in being the one guy that got sued.
Yeah.
You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like,
legit. Yeah.
It's funny, like anytime I've ever been to a PWG show, I've broken a chair.
Really?
So, and it's always a slow fall.
Yeah.
So as you're talking about that, like I just imagine I'm always like I sit down and the next thing you know I'm just like and then I'm going sideways. I'm like, oh, it's going.
Yeah.
And then I just end up on everybody, and it's just like, there it is. All right.
Yeah.
Well, hand me another chair, please.
Yeah, exactly. Like
And like on that fall, like it's just like when we were getting sued, it was like, it seemed, I don't know if I should talk about this, but who cares? It seemed like one person was coming after us because they were trying to get money, and then the other person was actually injured, and like we felt bad about it, and then it ended up getting scrapped anyway. So but we like tried to take every precaution with that person because he's technically still a fan of the band. So it's like, hey man, you're staying loyal to us.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like it's pretty rad.
I just looked in my time hop today. Today or yesterday? And I used to be a big UWA hardcore fan. Yeah. And when Osiris came back with Pro Wrestling Abaddon or something, he contacted me, and at that time he was like my Vince McMahon. Yeah. Because I wanted to wrestle for them for so long, but I was too young. That was shitty. I'm happy it didn't happen. But when he contacted me to come back for Abaddon, he gave me this big idea of what to do.
Wait, hang on 1 second here. Is Abaddon? I think I tried telling you about this before, and I didn't know how to explain it.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Okay. That's I don't know if you might have been in the car. Kev, you might have been. I might have told this to you or Puff. I can't remember, but like, UWA Hardcore was it was like basically like Toronto,
PWG.
right? PWG back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, but they brought over
way crazy production.
Yeah.
Ultimate Dragon was a regular.
Who else? I remember they did the Motor City Machine Guns.
It was Motor City Machine Guns versus Ultimo and Liger.
Yeah, like
monthly. It was like crazy names.
Yeah,
Jesus.
So it was like a big deal. And then it was the two brothers that ran it, right?
John and Joe.
Yep. And then it closed down. And then the one brother tried to start something else again.
Yeah.
Can you please explain?
It was just what it sounded like to me, because like I feel like John, with my conversations with him, he'll listen to this. I'm sure
they're not the Iron Sheik guys, right?
No.
That's the Megan boys.
Yeah.
John.
Well, to start it, like John got real religious, didn't he?
I don't know.
Oh shit! You were telling me about this.
Yes.
I don't know. It sounds like it could have. My conversation with him.
Yes.
I remember him saying like I'd have visions of you wrestling on the stone tablets. He was making it sound like he believed in Star Wars and Jedis and stuff. So like
Carter Mason was like the main dude.
Yes.
Mike Rollins
That's
did
where
some
I was
stuff.
hearing about.
But regardless, we kind of had a falling out, and it was I stopped replying to his emails just because they were a little wild, and I realized I wasn't as on board on this as I wanted to be, and it was kind of an upset because I was so looking forward to working with him.
Well, yes, you were expecting UWA Hardcore.
Yeah. It was very character based, and the character he had in mind for me, I just didn't see it at all. Yeah. Now looking back, it's kind of what I'm doing.
Go full circle.
But so we had a podcast once, and my buddy Alessandro Del Bruno, we were both like the biggest fans of it, and we're best friends, and we both had basically the exact same experience. And so we started talking about it on my podcast, and then I got an email from him. I think it was 2 years ago today, and it was like, "You better stop talking, leave my name out of your mouth publicly and privately, or I'm already going forward in getting a lawyer and stuff and taking this to the next level. And I remember I just responded, it's like, hey man, you can sue me, but like I'd love for you to come on my podcast. Like I got so much, and I never heard anything. So today's like the 2-year anniversary of being threatened to get sued.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was called Abaddon?
Pro Wrestling Abaddon.
They never ran a show, did they?
I think they ran 1 or 2. We saw the first one, but like the whole thing was everyone was being repackaged almost as like heavy character based,
Yeah.
and it was neat and like out of the box character.
Heavy is an understatement.
Yeah,
Like, is it still on YouTube? The stuff that
it might be. Yeah,
So I remember Mike Rollins showed me some stuff. Like it's
crazy.
the one like Carter Mason like comes out. He's in a room and he comes out of a box and there's all these psychedelic lights everywhere and it's like
It was he was trying to like reinvent wrestling. Like his idea.
Yeah, I mean,
was
it really
there.
has nothing to do with wrestling.
Yeah, and then but like I remember when we went to go see the first show, it was just a wrestling show.
Yeah.
Like there was
That's
no
okay. Now that's
there
what I
was
was
no
wondering.
character.
Because these YouTube videos were so out there. I'm wondering what the show was like.
It was
Is
no
this a regular
it was
wrestling
no
show?
character. Zero. Like less than normal, right? And I don't know what happened, so it stopped. But John, if you're listening, I don't hate you. You can sue me, but just come on my podcast.
Please come on my podcast.
That's cool.
No, okay. Sorry, I like just thought of a bunch of random stories to ask you about before you got in here.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones was House of Hardcore in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys do an 8-man?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, 8-man. Like Jimmy Corderas was involved. Like I think hands down, that might be the hottest. I'm talking temperature wise, hottest show I've ever watched.
Absolutely.
Team Tremendous.
in my life.
Yes.
Yeah, you were there.
That one?
Yeah.
That
You
was
guys,
disgusting.
you guys did the 8-man, and Matt Stryker was in it.
Yeah.
And when he said something to you like at the end of the match where he was like, I remember you said you felt kind of out of place, like
Yeah, I felt
because he kind of took charge as far as it was basically like Matt Stryker and then a bunch of like local guys.
Yeah.
But it's I mean when I say local guys,
It
it's
was like Tommy Dreamer's local guys, and then it was like me and Paige and RJ.
yeah. So like, and Stryker's trying to put something, and you could tell like he kind of didn't know who you were,
Yeah.
so you felt like kind of out of place.
And I don't look like your average wrestler. I get it.
Yeah.
I do get it.
Okay, and then like after the match or something, he was like, because you guys all got great reactions.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, you guys aren't just local guys. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you're fucking awesome. And he said like after the match, he was like, hey man, like why didn't you tell me you were over?
Yeah,
You could have
yeah,
done more.
yeah.
And you were like, first, I would never say that.
Never.
Like, how do you say that? Like, I think I should do a little more, man. I'm pretty over
Yeah.
around these parts.
Because if I was to say that, I'd come out to crickets
yeah,
for
you
sure.
would have jinxed yourself
Right, yeah.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like I feel like that a lot. Like I feel like I get the interpretation that I'm a ham bone, and I don't argue it because there is some kind of like I relish the fact of I know I can deliver out there.
Yeah.
So like I'll let them be. I'd rather have that them
Yeah.
going like, "Hey man, you're pretty good," than being like, "Hey dude, I don't know if you heard, but I'm all right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fucking pretty good at
And
this."
then you go blow a spot or something.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of like the worst that when we're on tour, like you'll play through a place and then a guy will come up to you and they kind of always have the same look.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll come up and be like, "Yeah, we've played here before," and you're like, "Cool,
Yeah.
yeah." There was like we had a bunch of people here when when we played here.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, cool, yeah. Yeah, I think you toured. We toured with this other band that you guys toured with. Blah blah. It's like, oh, I don't ever entertain the fact
No,
of
never.
like, hey, what band are you in, man?
Yeah,
Can
because
I-
that's what
Because
they
you know
want.
that's what they're going. Yeah.
yeah.
I hate when people do stuff like that because they want you to ask them something.
Yeah.
It's like it just drives me nuts.
I'm the worst. Like if I see any kind of self-congratulatory things on Facebook or like if you're having a baby or something, I'll absolutely send my best. But like if there's any kind of humble bragging, anything like that, I do not feed into it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it takes everything in me
Yeah.
to be like to encourage that.
Yeah, it's hard.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. And in
Well,
wrestling, it's like the most popular thing.
Oh yeah,
to do.
self-sucking.
Yeah, oh, it's the worst.
I'm trying to think.
Everyone's missing ribs.
Oh, oh, it's yeah.
Everyone can get down there.
Oh yeah, the old Marilyn Manson.
Yeah. Let's do. Want to do some horror movie talk?
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
I wish there was a better segue there, but
Nope,
I just
that's
wanted to
great.
get into it somehow.
Oh wait, no. Let's go back to this real quick.
Yeah.
Just to get it out of the way.
Mhm.
When Sammy was doing the hacker gimmick in NXT,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
what was going on? Like
I have no idea.
Did you have it? You had the gimmick obviously before?
See, I had the gimmick before him, but my gimmick's a blatant ripoff of a guy.
yeah.
So, like, I don't know if it's parallel thinking. It's not the most out-of-the-box gimmick to think
course.
of, right? And, like, we've been on shows, and, like, if he wanted to steal it from me, I didn't care. I don't take things like
Yeah.
that. Like, and if he was to succeed with it, I'm confident that I could think of something creatively to do.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, hey, it's nice to know if that would have been me using the same gimmick. like there's a chance I would have made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like I remember hearing Aiden English. He was essentially doing RJ's gimmick.
Yeah.
Oh
too.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like we never knew for sure, but it was kind of flattering to be like, hey,
Of
maybe
course.
they got the idea from
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
But
like I'm not a big believer in coincidence,
Mhm.
so like I almost kind of believe pretty much that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, like Sammy's like hacker gimmick. I mean, yeah, essentially, pretty much.
he was doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
He was way cooler.
Yeah.
Right? Like but like he's what I wanted to be. So really I could look up to him. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I said, the hacker was a wrestler in Canada for years. He
Yeah.
retired. I loved him. But he said, why don't you just be the hacker? I messaged him. He was like, yeah, do it. So I'm a blatant ripoff.
Oh,
Yeah.
So like if a
you're
guy's going to
you're
rip me off,
Yeah.
like, I was like, oh, it's fair game, man.
Yeah,
Like,
what can I say?
Yeah.
That's going back to like our wrestling talk pre
Yep.
the when we hit the space bar on this computer. That's like one thing that I always thought was really funny about wrestling too, is like stealing of moves,
Mhm.
where it's like everything's been done,
Yeah.
Nothing's new.
invented.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and it's so funny to me when you see a guy trying to protect his move, and it's like the most standard move.
Yep.
Like, oh, the power bomb's mine.
Well, have fun.
I
with it.
remember like when I went with you on a card,
Mhm.
and there was like there was like a pre-show talk, and the guy goes, and nobody does power bomb. Power bomb's this guy's,
Mhm.
and then the match happens, and the guy doesn't even throw that great of a power bomb.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the
was
greatest power bomb of all time.
Yeah, I was like, damn, I was expecting that. I was expecting the house to go down, and I don't want to put these two dudes on blast.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say their names, but we both know them, or we all know them. But I was like sitting behind the merch with them, and one of the guys, is a very big man, just yells out like, "That was terrible!" like that, and I was like, like it was awesome.
Well, if I do like a smaller show, and like we have that meeting and someone's being like really stern on like no pile driver's my finish,
Yeah,
I will make a point. I don't want to say that, but if it fits my narrative, I'll be like, he said pile driver. Canadian Destroyer's up for grabs.
Yeah.
Really, it's just the
Yeah,
fanciest
yeah,
of
different
pile drivers.
version.
And the amount of times I've done shit like that, and they don't even know because they're not watching.
yeah,
Like I remember when I first started working for C4, like one of my big moves is like the running cannonball in the
Yeah.
corner, and I stole it from Nariki Doi and Steen,
yeah.
Kevin Steen. And I remember going up to Kevin one day and be like, "Hey man, I kind of do this like cannonball. I know you do it. Would it be okay if I do it?" And he's just like, "You shouldn't have even asked. Just do it. If it gets over, it's yours."
There you go.
And I was
Yeah.
just like, "Noted."
Yeah,
Like,
that's,
like,
yeah, that's
yeah.
Kevin Owens, by the way,
Yeah.
saying that. So
Yeah, and then he told me that, and he's like, "By all means, man. Like I just do it." He's like, "If you're making it into something, make it into something bigger than mine."
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Bucks say the same thing all the time. Guys always come up to him and say, like, "Hey, I know like the super kick is your thing," and they're like, "We don't give a fuck."
No.
like you throw as
And-
many as you want.
And if you make it your own, like the Rock's finish was a fucking elbow drop,
Yes,
but he just made it his own.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just
yeah,
That's exactly what I was like. Like everything is context.
yes.
And like at this point in time, guitar riffs,
Mhm.
every guitar riff's been done.
Yeah.
So like when I'm writing music, like a kid will come up to me and be like, that's like the same riff as blah blah
Okay.
blah, and I'll just be like, dude, AC/DC wrote the same fucking riff for 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
They were just ripping their own music off,
Yeah.
like over and over again, and it's like, sorry, dude.
That's
you know what I
super
mean?
cool, yeah.
There's like 1 million riffs, and they've all been written.
Yep.
And I'm just doing it in a different context.
Try to put my own spin.
Yeah,
on it.
like I'm holding a note for 1 second longer.
yeah, it's true.
Sorry, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of how like with I said this the other day about like I'm starting to realize that like wrestling is like everything is a pathway to get somewhere. So like the context of like if you're chaining with a guy, it's just pathways. Whether you go left, there's a path. There's a right. There's a path. And there's different paths you can go.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and
It's
then
true.
like when there's like you're getting heat worked on you, there's different pathways
Mhm.
where you can sell a certain way. It's all just this. So it depends if you either go left or you go right or straight ahead or
Yeah.
up or down. Like it's all context of how it's happening,
That's a super interesting way of looking at
Yeah.
it because you're right.
and that's like just it. So like when you go in, it's just like okay, like when I'm doing this thing, what pathway am I going to take to do this power bomb?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So like, if I have the guy in the corner, I can buckle bomb him. You know what I mean? It's still a power bomb.
Yep.
It doesn't fucking matter.
No.
You know, like, and I'm kind of like starting to realize that like, especially with music, it's like we have 5 different dudes. So like, if I'm doing that note, that guitar riff, that is exactly the same thing as this other band's, and I'm not oblivious to it. I don't know. I'm just writing.
Yeah.
our bass player might be walking through it, not like the original song. Our singer might be hitting different notes than the singer. You know what I mean?
cool.
Might go
The
somewhere
cadence
else.
is different.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. Like, you could Irish whip me 500 times, but we could do 500 different things every
Absolutely.
single time. And it doesn't mean that we're doing like an Irish whip into a lariat because Stan Hansen did that. But if it happened, it happens.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
What do you guys think? Because this kind of drives me insane. When people are like, I think the word art is thrown around far too much. Like, do I consider myself an artist? I don't think so. I don't think so.
It's a stretch.
Right? Like, and when people are like wrestling is art, blah, blah, it's a blank canvas. Okay, just because it's called a canvas doesn't mean. And like, my whole thing is like, if you're going to do something like the first ladder match, that was a piece of art. Right? Like, fucking, when you do something for the first time that's like revolutionary, I believe that's a piece of art.
Yeah.
But like, I try to have piece of art in wrestling, but so much has been done. They're good matches. But like I always say, like the first Big Mac was a piece of art.
Yeah.
If we go down the street and get a Big Mac right now, it's not a piece of art anymore. It's just like a production line of.
Ended a long time ago.
Just because. So I'm gonna just put it this way, like with like writing, I'll be on my 10th record on the next record, right? So I've written 9 full lengths. So that's 12 songs a record. I think that's like what the balance is, or something like that. On our set, we can only play 21 songs. Like, if we're headlining, we play 21 songs. If we're not playing headlining, we're doing 15 songs. If we're opening a show, we're playing 12 songs. So then you have to literally cut down what songs are worth it. Like, what are these people going to want to see out of these things? So, like, that's 90 songs. If you think Vincent Van Gogh was just hitting fucking pay dirt on every single fucking painting, no. Like, Starry Nights was, like, a thing that happened, but he probably went through 25 of them
absolutely.
to get to that point.
It's like a hot girl taking a selfie.
Yeah.
Like, look at the 300 other ones that don't get uploaded first.
And I think that's it. Like, so I think that, like, if you looked back at your career, it's like, okay, like, oh, there's Starry Night. There's whatever the fucking daisies are.
Yeah.
There's the self-portrait. You know what I mean? But in that context, you had 30 other matches in there. 40 other matches that just, like, were just matches.
Yep.
And you're getting to that point.
And nothing's wrong with just having a match.
Not
like, I think it's so pretentious
if you're wrestling
to be
enough,
like,
it's going to happen.
Yeah, I just find it so pretentious just to be like, oh, I'm an artist in the ring. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Easy.
You know
Easy, buddy.
You know what I mean? We're play fighting in our underwear. Let's drop the ego a little bit.
And that's like, I do feel, I mean, obviously I'm at that point in time where, like, I criticize myself a lot. Like, when we wrestled, like, last weekend, like, there was one little miscommunication between me and Blackwood.
Yeah.
And, like, I was, like, beating myself up about it.
Yeah.
Like, as I'm going through motions, I'm just like, fucking hell, man. Like, I want that one back. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But then, like, everything that we did after that was perfectly fine.
Exactly.
Everything we did before that was fine. And then I, like, went downstairs, and then, like, you have been wrestling forever. So, like, when you're just like, oh, man, I was happy with that.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm not going to beat myself up.
And, like, a thing I've always, like, it's hard to do. I hate all my matches.
Yeah.
The ones I like, I make sure not. I don't watch any of my matches. The ones I do like, I'll make sure not to watch them because then I'll definitely hate them. But, like, I've learned to realize, like, I'm a perfectionist and I'm not as good as I want to believe I am. So I can beat myself up about everything all the time. But if the crowd's happy and the promoter's happy, we've done our job.
Yes.
Right? And I've been able to be like, okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like, me and him were just talking about that the other day. Like, I'm a big proponent on watching yourself. I think it helps a lot with, like, the learning process.
Yep.
But I mean, it's actually just recently happened to me, like, this past year. Like, I've had some really good matches, and then I go back and watch it, and I'm like, fuck, I wish I wouldn't have watched that because it wasn't what it felt like.
My
you know
personal hell is my best of DVD playing on loop.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Because, like, so I'll watch myself and I'll be like, how are these people, my friends, letting me get away with this horse shit? You know, so it's just like, and I remember hearing once Flair said, like, he doesn't watch his wrestling. So I was like, yeah, I'm on the same level as Flair. Yeah, I won't do it
either.
That's like when I listen to my records, like, I'll listen to a record, and, like, now it's like, when it first comes out, you're just stoked because it's done. So, like, you're listening to it, and the gratification is just like, man, I know how much hard work I put into this. And then, like, 7-8 months of, like, playing it live, and then realizing, like, just like wrestling, where, like, you play it live and you realize, like, man, the breakdown is so much better slower. Like, this part, like, we play it just a couple BPMs faster live.
Yeah.
Should have been fucking
It's
recorded
like a comic working on one of his bits.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, you can't put it out there. Like, don't make a special on it until it's breathed all the air it needs, you know, baked.
It's funny you say that too, because Judah Friedlander just put out
America, the greatest country in the world.
Yeah, and I like the way they did it, where like he did a month at the Comedy Cellar, and it's like they put the date, and it's the same jokes. He's using the same jokes almost every single night, and that motherfucker had rebuttals to every single country.
Really?
So like when he'd be like, okay, where are you from? And then like someone would be like Italy, and then he would just have like
like that.
He would just have Italy.
I haven't watched it yet. I keep hearing great things.
It's awesome, and I mean not that I wasn't like I was a fan of his before, but I think like the world champion stuff kind of like it just gets boring after a while.
I agree.
It's just like, okay, man, we get it. Like,
I just thought he was a big mark for the longest time, and I kind of canceled him out.
Yeah, you're doing an hour of just saying you're the greatest at this thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically like going to a bar and just like ripping on your friends.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is good.
It's good, but it'll dry up quick.
Of course.
Yeah.
This one, they document the entire month and they put the date there.
That's awesome.
And he is just on fire for a fucking month. And it's like, it's really good. And the fact that he has like stats to go with, like actual factual stats to that country that downplay the United States.
Oh, so it's not like, just bullshit. There's some
he'd say something
research.
about Denmark, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, you guys are actually the country most noted for having the healthiest people." Blah blah blah. And then he's like, "We have Big Macs," or you know what I mean? Like he'd say something, and then like you'd be like, "Holy shit!"
I'll
like
check that shit
he
out.
just pulled that out of his ass. But he just did his homework, and it's. I mean, he slices the crowd up in every aspect possible.
I love, like, some people don't like talking about it, but like just about in every facet of anything, I love hearing about the process. Mm-hmm. So seeing like documenting the process of like taking something and like building it and making it into like perfect.
Yeah. Like
a joke would be like that's amazing. I actually went to a stand-up show last night down the street from my house. It was in a board game cafe.
Awesome.
There was 11 people in the crowd. And it was a fucking blast.
That's awesome.
Like,
I love hearing that.
Like, because my girlfriend, I watch a ton of stand-up comedy. She hates it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so we went, and she just went for the board games.
Yeah.
We didn't know. We should have thought about it, but like when the stand-up started, like the board games kind of go away.
Yeah, especially when there's only 11 people there.
Yeah, so it was like, you could tell, like, there was that moment of her just being like, oh, here we go. I haven't seen her laugh like that.
That's awesome.
That's
like,
great.
It was awesome. Like,
yeah.
And it was like literally like this. It seemed
Yeah.
like just a couple buddies having a conversation, but one person was standing on a skid. That was the stage, like 4-inch elevator. It was fucking blast.
I love hearing that the comics got over though.
Oh my god! And like they were saying, like the crowd was alive for it as much as we could.
Yeah.
So like, and I'm a big proponent of being like, I'd rather wrestle in front of a loud, small crowd than a big, quiet one.
I'm the same way.
Right? Like, so 11 loud people over 100 dead people.
Yeah.
I'll take it every day.
Yeah,
and I felt like
exactly.
they were like looking in a Polaroid. This is embarrassing.
Yeah.
But to live it, it was great.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
no,
they probably weren't expecting much.
And they like
really
admitted
fun.
they were like, okay, I'm gonna try to work on some new stuff. And I was like, hey, I get it. When I go do a fair show, that's when I work on my new shit. Because if it fails, it's okay.
Yeah,
you know, this is the show.
Yeah.
This is the time to try shit, and nothing failed.
Yeah.
Which is it's smart to like look at it that way.
Yeah.
Like to me, like living the dream in wrestling, I've only got to do it a couple times. Is like basically like pretty sure like what the WWE loop does was like, you know, you work a house show, you work a string of house shows with somebody, you're essentially having the same match every night, but it's like, okay, this didn't really work tomorrow because we're in a different town, let's switch this up.
Yeah.
And then it ends, you know, either you work on Monday Night Raw at the end of the loop or a pay-per-view, like whatever it is. Like that's, you know, whereas opposed to us, we're just having almost kind of like cold matches like
every week.
All the time. Which I was on a show with an indie show and Foley was there just hanging out, and he said this. He's like, yeah, it's tough. You know, you guys are having cold matches all the time, as opposed to like an angle and a storyline and working the same people. Like, it's just it's so much easier. Like, I put this over all the time. One of my favorites was I worked Scott Steiner 2 nights in a row. It was so cool. Like,
awesome.
We did the same match both nights. He loved it. It was like, fuck, man, this is like, it was like this is the dream. You know what I mean?
That's sick.
I remember like when Nigel McGuinness was doing his first TNA run. He was like, yeah, he said we did an overseas tour. He worked Kurt Angle every night on the house shows, and then they did the pay-per-view match at the end of the loop. And he's like, that's what it's supposed to be.
That's the dream.
Yeah, that's the dream. That's what it's supposed to be.
When I hear things like that, it's almost like that's when I kind of take a step back and be like, oh, what we are doing as an independent wrestler, Wrestling Cold, it's a little more difficult then we realize it is.
100%.
Right? Like, you come out in front of a crowd most of the time that has no idea who you are.
Exactly.
And you have to win them over.
That's what Foley said.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, when you think about it like that, like, I don't want to get a big head or anything, but it's just like, all right, like, there is some kind of magic into what we do.
Yeah.
And going to, like, I've only felt like a pro wrestler very few times, sorry. And
times.
one of them was at your show with catering.
Yeah.
Lunch and dinner. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I was like literally, and I didn't have a wristband.
Yeah.
So like every time I'd make it, I'd just be like, I'm about to get pulled out. Like
Any second now.
yeah. Like I remember years ago, me and Del Bruno wrestled. We did a run-in for a company. We'd wrestled for them before, but like this one we were like 17. We looked like we were 13, and we loved the Briscoes. So like we had on like just like black high tops.
Say we love the Briscoes.
Love the Briscoes. We believe we were. All together, we were like 225 pounds.
Fuck yeah.
But, like,
I still mark out.
They're unreal.
But we were wearing, we just had to do a run-in, so we wore like camel shorts and black t-shirts, right? All right, and like we'd listen to "Gimme Back My Bullets" from Leonard Skinner, like on loop all the time. And I remember, so we did our run-in. We came back and like the catering, somebody just brought out pizza for the boys. We went to get pizza, and one of the staff was like,
Ooh.
"Yo, wrestlers only." We had literally just come back, and we were like, "Noted, we get it."
All right, I know my place.
Yep.
It was fun.
Love
like,
the Briscoes.
I tried to talk about that. Like the promoter like hit me up and was like the guy who promoted the Christmas show. He was like, "Yo, should we do catering like just once? Like, do you want to have the wrestlers involved?" I was like, "Abso-fucking-lutely. Spend the money. Like, you have no idea. That's gonna go miles."
Yeah.
You know.
Everybody put the catering over. I did like. I actually meant to message all because I watched the whole show like the week after, and like I meant to message all you guys. Like that 4-way was fucking awesome.
It wasn't our best, but it was all right.
No, it was
all right.
really. If you like, I know you don't watch your shit. Like I hate saying this wasn't a knock, but yeah, you know, we've kind of the crowd was different because they weren't used to a wrestling show. Watching the whole show, like most of the matches, I could pick like oh, the crowd's being really quiet here because I think they could have done this differently or something like that. Your guys was the only match where I'm like, I don't know why they're not with you guys right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because you guys were going. I'm telling you, it was really, really good.
I hate blaming, like, a lot of the times it's almost foolproof that the crowd took part of the match away.
Yeah.
Like, it was a big deal. But I always, like, I'm always like, no, I'm a worker. I work them. If I don't get them by the end of it, it's on us.
Yes.
And I try to believe that as much as I can. And one of the only times that I've just been like, man, the crowd really wasn't into it was recently. And it was when me and Tyson worked at that college. And we came back, and you're like, you guys fucking, like, you just made me feel great, because it's like, nobody wants to have a bad match with Tyson. And
exactly.
it was just, you could hear
it was
drop.
not. It was not a bad match. Me and Mike worked at, because I think I said that to you guys, because I felt the same way. Me and Mike did a tag match earlier in the night, and I was like, same thing, I hate saying that. I was like, if they're not into it, that's our fault.
Yes.
But when we came back, I was like, dude, that crowd's just really weird.
I gave them everything.
Yeah, like literally, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel pretty good. That's why I wanted to tell you guys that too, because I watched your whole match. It was not bad by any fucking means,
you told me that, because I was like, Jesus.
When you guys were doing a street fight, you're fucking suplexing each other on the stage, and they were like, whoa, hey, woof.
Because, like, the worst is, like, what I felt on.
Yeah.
And, like, you get nothing in return, and it was just like, man, am I that shit? And I had it with the best wrestler in Canada.
Yeah.
And then, like, we came back, and you just said that to us, and I was like, oh, like, I needed that.
Because even, like, and I'm saying you guys did the big stuff, like suplexes on the stage, but even all your, like, I'm a proponent on little things, even all your little stuff was tight and everything, so I didn't want you guys to feel like shit.
Yeah.
Because it was not shit.
I appreciate it.
Like I said, I know you never go back and watch it, but, like, both of those times was very, very good.
Thank you.
More movies?
Oh, wait.
I have to actually crowbar something in there, too, after you're done.
One of my favorite things about you on social media is it's like when you'll put up, like, a tweet or a Facebook post, like, directly after, like, Wrestle Kingdom or something, and you'll just be like, I can't wait to wrestle this weekend, and just do all of Okada and Omega spots. Straightforward.
Yeah.
Just like, or like another one you put up was like, come watch me wrestle this weekend and watch me work holds and tell a story. It's the exact opposite. I like just blatantly admitting it, like, I can't wait to do all that stuff those guys just did in that huge pay-per-view.
Absolutely.
I remember there was
this crowd isn't going to know the difference.
I think all of us were there. It was definitely a Smash show or something. But there was, like, I remember, like, the Lucha Bros did that, like, spot where, like, Pentagon's basing, he, like, props Phoenix up onto his shoulders, and Phoenix does a moonsault after.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm talking, like, they did it at Bola, and then, like, 3 or 4 days after that, in Canada, someone was doing that. Like, we saw it like that.
Yep.
Like, how do they know that happened,
Yep.
and then it just got back, and someone did it on a show, and I don't remember who it was, but I know it was definitely like in Canada at a Smash show or something like that. It was like, God damn it,
Dude, I remember Brody Lee or Luke Harper telling me, like, it was after Ric Flair's retirement match at WrestleMania. Shawn Michaels with the "I'm sorry, I love you" super kick. Like, bro, this was when Brody's working.
That's art, by the way. That's art.
Yes, exactly.
That's art.
So, like, yeah, this example of, like, Brody Lee was working a lot of indies at this time. It was shortly before he got signed. And he like, I was joking, like, oh, everyone's probably doing that in the indies. And he looked at me dead serious, and he was like, you have no idea how many times I've seen that.
Oh, I totally believe
like,
that.
he's like,
Crazy.
that's not art.
No,
Like,
yeah.
on all those indies.
Exactly. The first time it's done, you gotta like. There's
At
so many
WrestleMania for Ric Flair's retirement match, yes.
Like, there's so many times I'll watch wrestling and, like, I'm not an emotional guy at all. And, like, I'll feel emotions start bubbling. And I'll be like, this is it. Like, this is why I love wrestling. This is art.
Yeah.
But, like, you can't, like, that doesn't happen every night.
No.
Yeah, it's hard to recreate an indie show that, like, is barely being recorded. Nobody else is ever going to see it besides the people in the audience.
Yeah,
Like,
that's my favorite when I work an indie show and they're like, oh, make sure to work the hard cam. And I'll be like, I've never seen a DVD sold at this place ever.
I do it
I'm
all
not
the
working
time.
the hard cam.
I do the same thing.
I'm working the 8 people in the crowd.
Yeah.
Right?
See that full side of people? That's where all my attention's going to be towards, not the hard game.
Never. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Austin didn't work the hard cam and he did pretty fucking well for himself.
Are you ready for this? I'm gonna crowbar this.
Yep.
Because I've had a couple $1 million ideas in my life.
Oh, yeah.
I say I don't have millions of dollars because someone stole them from me.
Yeah, like Elevator.
Like Elevator, the movie about an elevator that just fucks people up. But the other one, did I talk about the ice cream nachos?
Yeah.
On the show?
Yes.
So I've talked about ice cream nachos. This
I
one,
love that Hacker knew that, too.
I love the idea of repackaging things, and one that I want to repackage is start my own business where I sell board games, but BORED. Like, because you only play them when you're bored.
It's true.
You don't just
That-
pick,
yeah.
hey guys, hey, after the podcast, let's fucking jam a board game.
No, yeah, it's true.
I can't
It's like
wait.
when all your buddies are over and it's like, man, I have to do something because I invited everyone.
Yeah.
Headbands? Anyone?
Yeah, and that's literally it. So it's just like, okay, well, we've watched wrestling for a while.
Uh-huh.
The pizza's half eaten. Well, we'll bust out Jeopardy. Let's see how this one goes. It's like
Straight
a bunch
up
of
board
Neanderthals.
games.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start board games, and it's just like games you play when you're bored, and there's no brain to them. It's just like, yep, orange piece needs to be on orange spot. Great.
It's a good idea.
Roll the dice. Let's go.
Board games and Alpha Drain.
Yeah.
Two smash hits.
Yeah.
This podcast.
I'm a thousandaire.
I like it.
I'm a thousandaire.
Yeah, board games. That's an Andy Williams original. My first ever $1 million idea was a car stereo radio
Oh, yeah.
that would detachable face that is your cell phone.
That's
So-
a good idea.
And it would. This is. I'm saying this is probably. I came up with that idea when face like the detachable faces had first came
Yeah.
out, and then like cell phones were kind of like only your rich
On the
friends would
brink,
have them.
yeah.
That's a good idea, dude.
And I was like, now it's hands free, right? It literally takes care of everything.
Yeah,
It
you
just
won't
goes
lose your
in.
phone.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
like-
right there because it has to go in you. No
Yeah.
one's gonna rob your car. Everything is figured out, and I had it. That was like my idea. Like if Alpine and car radio stereos, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and AT&T got involved with each other
It's a
and
legit good
did
idea.
it would have been insane.
No more aux cord. You just
Yeah.
put the whole thing there.
Yeah, just right there, boom, and it's there.
Your phone
I mean,
rings.
now there's like a million ways. There's Bluetooth and stuff like that. So like, it's a little outdated.
Yeah, a little bit. But it could come back.
In 2002. It would
Yeah.
have been a
I
killer.
mean, I wouldn't be here, guys.
Up
Sorry.
until, like,
we
a
would
year
have been
ago.
friends right now.
Up until like a year ago, I was still using the cassette tape with the aux
Oh, yeah,
cord
yeah.
that comes out, right? And
Yeah.
like,
Fuck yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it was awesome.
It would have been like Elon Musk and then Andy Williams, like in the same sentence. Just like, he's going to Mars. Yeah, what invention am I going to come out with next?
Quick story. In 1999, when I went to wrestling school, moved to Cincinnati. So me and my best friend, we're broke as fuck, just going to wrestling school, waiting on tables. The one nice thing we had was the used car that I bought had a CD player in it.
Sick.
So like, I mean, in 99, that was like a big deal.
Yep.
It's like the one thing we had. But like, you know, we're 19 years old. We're dumb as fuck. We didn't. Of course, we had a cheap apartment, not in the nicest part of town. Never locked the doors on our car. The one morning, like, you know, we're fucking broke, going to the gym. We go and sit in the car, and it's just missing, and there's wires hanging out, and we just both like, we just got out of our shitty apartment. We just looked at each other like, fuck, like, man. That
I
sucks.
remember we stayed with you at the time. I
Oh, yeah.
told this story before. we stayed with you at the time,
Yeah.
and there was like
Remember Jordan called me 30 times.
you had like 4 George Foreman grills
Classic.
in there, not clean.
No,
Just and there's
nothing was clean.
There's like grease everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I think we like. Did you tell me the story, or did we find a grilled like a chicken breast under the table?
Tiny said the same thing when he came to
Yeah.
visit. There was
We
like
found like a chicken breast like under their like coffee table. or
hard as
something
a
like that.
rock. Ate
Yeah.
a lot of chicken back in the
Yeah.
day.
I mean there was so
hilarious.
much just like that. I remember you woke up. I mean now it's for me like to see you just constantly eating is like a normal thing. But at that time I was just like, this guy just ate like 3 fucking chicken breasts, and like it was wild.
Our when the CD player got stolen, like we were just so like this
You
is
just
how
put a chicken breast. in.
our fucking our like recovery from that was like we both had Walkmans at the time,
Right on.
like a cassette Walkman.
Yeah.
So we would literally drive the car. We would have separate Walkmans on, and like sometimes we would like nudge each other, like, "Yo, put on like 103.3 is a good song." We would switch, and then I remember like one time we went to work, and like this girl was like, "I saw you guys driving. Were you guys wearing headphones?" We were just like, "Oh yeah,
Guilty.
yeah." And then like say my best friend Tiny came to visit us, and then like years later he's like, "Yeah, remember when you guys used to you have to drive your car and listen to headphones at the same time?" I was like, "Those were pretty dark times. I
Damn.
never thought about it."
Recently, when I wrestled for AIW, my dad pulled a fast one on me, and he's like, "Hey,
This is a good
hey,
story.
can I borrow your Jeep?" And I was like, "Sure." And I was like, "Wait, no, I gotta go like wrestle in like Cleveland." It's like, "Yeah, it's all right. The Hyundai will get there." He has like a 2008 Hyundai Elantra that's like he uses for work. So he also has a Nissan like fucking something another, like
Yeah.
some fast car that like midlife crisis car.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna get the Nissan for this trip. Like, I'm gonna roll up to AIW. They're gonna be like, oh, fucking
baller.
big baller musician.
Yeah,
guy.
this guy.
Like, yeah, rolls up in a convertible. You know what I mean?
Dangly earring.
Yeah, I have a dangly earring on, cool sunglasses,
Yeah, of course.
good pump. You know, I got a real good pump
tank
on,
top, yeah.
tan. So I get to the house and there's no key. There's just a key to the Elantra, and I'm like, fuck. Man. Like, okay, I don't even know if this thing's gonna make it. So here we go. The Jeep's gone. So I get in, and then like the air conditioning's broken.
Oh, it was summertime, right?
Yeah, it's like midsummer.
Classic.
Like air conditioning is gone. So now I have to drive with the windows down, which now
Just
negates
Ace Venturing it to cool off.
negates music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so
And
loud.
The car, when you go 65, it just starts going brrrr, like there's a noise somewhere where he claims, yeah, they looked at it, they can't find it. You know what I mean?
Don't worry
about
about
it. Send money, you know. So, I remember just texting him, and I was like, "You motherfucker! I can't
burned me
fucking believe this.
so hard.
That is the worst trade in the history of fucking trades. Now I gotta roll up to AIW wrestling. Don't you understand that this is Cleveland's
People think
biggest
you're a big deal.
wrestling
I
promotion?
have a fucking image to uphold here.
I gotta roll up in an Elantra.
After a horrible 3-4 hour drive.
I did the old like park 3 blocks.
Oh,
down,
yeah, and walk
you know,
in.
so no one
Nobody
sees.
sees you.
I remember I had to pick up. It was me and Del Bruno, and we drove to. We had a show in like Vaughan, which is north of Toronto, and we had to pick up Josh
Is it by
Alexander. I think it might be, to be honest.
Cool.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
You know what? It was Bolton. Now that I think about
Yeah.
it, and we picked up Josh Alexander, and I used to drive a GMC Sonoma truck,
Yeah.
and like it was a piece of shit. And Del Bruno's beside me in like shotgun, and there's like 2 seats in the back made for the midgets of midgets, like
Yeah.
the smallest of people.
Oh yeah, and Josh.
Yeah, and we're gonna shove Josh. And I remember I pull up to
Get in
Josh
there, Josh.
Alexander's house, and he opens the door, and like he's seen my truck before.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not getting in there. It's like, why? What's the fucking deal? He's like, get out of your fucking truck. And I get out, and he's like, look at your tires, and it was just wire. Like we had nothing left, and he's like, I'm not getting in there. I was like, well, this is the only vehicle here right now.
Yeah,
so
like-
we're going.
Uh-huh. Your tires were just shot.
It literally looked like a NASCAR tire. There was no tread. Like somebody could spit on the road, and we would have been doing
Terrifying.
barrel rolls.
We played in Singapore, and like, so like when you do Southeast Asia, your expectations of like you're renting gear, you don't know what they have.
Yeah.
So like you just on that stuff, you just have to just like we've done shows where it's just like, okay, show up, this is what we got.
Make the best of it.
Yeah, here we are. Like every time a guy's here, and that's if this is what they're used to, we're gonna put on a great show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like we kind of have that like, it's 100%, even when like it doesn't seem like we can go 100%.
I love that.
That's what we do.
I love that.
So like
punk rock.
I remember we showed up and it was called like Monster Fest or something. And I remember like all the information was crazy looking. Like it was like Monster Festival or something like that, and it was like 10 bands, and we're in Singapore, and the promoter's name is Bone Crusher. That's all it said was
Amazing.
Bone Crusher. And
Amazing.
Like, what the guy turned the
Singapore?
corner. Oh yeah. The guy that turned the corner was like an Asian squints from Sandlot.
Sandlot.
And we were like, are
Yeah.
you Bone Crusher? He's like, yeah, I'm Bone Crusher. And we were just like,
It's probably a giant in Singapore.
interesting. Yeah. So we get up there, and there's like, if you're a musician and you're listening to this, like Marshall Valve State 100-watt solid state head, which is like the practice amp of practice amps.
Okay.
Through like a mini cabinet, through like a Hartke bass thing. It's like literally startup, but it's like, you know what? Like to these guys, this is all they have.
Yep.
So who cares? Like we're gonna make it happen. We sound check. Our songs are there. You
Yep.
can hear it. You can understand what it is. It doesn't sound that bad. Who gives a shit? Like these kids are gonna get fucking
I love it.
crushed.
Treat it
right?
like WrestleMania.
So we're on tour, and this, I don't want to like. We were on tour with the band at the time, and the band is like extremely heavy. We were on tour with Acacia Strain, okay, and just some of our greatest friends is this band. Like we think we toured the world with them. Like
Jesus.
we actually toured every part of the earth with Acacia Strain. And they had a guitar player at the time who like he shows up, and I'm like in the dressing room, and like their sound check like was supposed to be over like 40 minutes ago, and I still keep hearing things, and I go up there, and their guitar player's like, I can't fucking use this shit. What the fuck? Blah, blah, blah. I can't. What the fuck? How am I supposed to make this happen? Blah, blah, blah. And I go, dude, where's the backup? Like, oh, like, let's grab the backup. And I'm just pulling that card, like, oh, we'll just get the backup amp. Where's the backup amp? And I'm like looking around, and I
It
just
doesn't
look.
exist.
I go, dude, put your fucking guitar down. This is what we have. Make it happen.
Yeah,
dude. You know what I
absolutely.
mean? And it was like that. And like this guy just continually like, I've never, and I'm sure both of you guys probably had conversations with like workers where you're just like, guy, just stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where
I
it's
know what
like,
you mean.
it's not happening.
You're
Relax.
getting upset over the impossible.
You're
Yes,
injured
yes, that's it.
all the
That's-
time or whatever it is. It's like, maybe this isn't for you.
Yeah.
And I remember like we did like another tour with them somewhere in Europe, and the guy was upstairs literally crying.
Oh.
And he's just like crying about this. He's always got these problems. And it was the first time in my life I actually had this conversation. It was like, dude, touring's not for you, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, give it up.
Yep.
That's it. It's just not for you.
This is gonna happen.
And I mean, he was just filling in for Acacia Strain, but I was just like, this is a definitive point in your life where you know this is not for you.
Yeah.
Just, that's it.
One
And
of
then-
my like biggest fears in life is just being difficult with
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
For
you're
people
just,
to think of you that way.
yeah, because you're just like a hassle on everybody else, and just like, oh, that's the worst idea. Like I never want to be like,
that guy.
yeah, where it's just like, oh Christ, he's coming. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Oh,
oh,
he's gonna be here.
Yeah.
yeah, like, oh,
Yeah, like you try not to care what other people think, but nobody wants to be that fucking guy.
no,
Yeah.
no, yeah, exactly.
That sucks.
Yeah, and I think the guy only did like 2 tours with the Acacia Strain, or 3 tours with the Acacia Strain, and we just happened to be on all 3 of them.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
exactly.
And like every day, it was just like, I'm
shit,
done.
sir.
I'm
good.
done. Like, this is it. Like, today's my last show. It's like, and I remember just having that conversation. It's
You
like,
might have he might have needed you there
Yeah,
to
yeah,
tell
for
him
sure.
though.
Probably.
Like he needed that
yeah,
voice just to be like,
Yeah.
you know what, dude?
it's not for you.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah.
You don't want to admit it to yourself, but when somebody else can point it out, it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, thank God.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
God.
yeah. And that happens, like, I think, like, a lot of times, man, with, like, different walks of life where I see a guy just continually complaining, and then you kind of have to be like, then why are you here?
Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
Well, like
You know?
this is kind of a strange parallel, but like Justin Gaethje and Eddie Alvarez just fought,
Yeah, yeah.
and Justin Gaethje was undefeated, and he said he lost that fight, and he said like I was
That
relieved.
fight was fucking awesome.
Yeah, but he said
Yeah.
like I was relieved. I got that monkey off my back of the
Yeah, yeah.
loss, right?
Oh,
It's just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I know a guy, Josh Hill. He's an MMA fighter, and he was undefeated for like 10-0, and he lost. He lost in the Ultimate
I
Fighter.
remember him, yeah.
So
Blue
he-
hair.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
So it didn't count because it's like,
It doesn't count on your record.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he was like, it was so nice to get that off my back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's so much stress I don't have.
I
to
wish
deal
that
with
happened with Ronda. I wish that
Yeah.
I wish that was what
Yeah.
to segue into MMA now. We were supposed to get into horror, but
She's
like with Ronda, it's just
also
like,
on such a bigger, higher platform though
She
too.
and she handled it probably the worst. Out
Oh,
of
yeah.
Yeah, but
everybody ever.
at the same time, McGregor handled
But
it well
that's-
at a high platform.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I loved McGregor's, like, how I love McGregor.
Me too.
I think he's awesome. I think
I'm
he's
on the
good for the
bandwagon.
sport, and it's like, I don't think it's a bandwagon. I think it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, he lost, and he said, okay, like, we need to do this again.
Yeah.
And Nate Diaz was actually being the fucking gentleman and said, okay, let's do it at 155. He goes, no.
I gotta
wanna beat
do
you
it.
at 170.
I
And then
almost enjoy Connor more as he loses.
Yeah.
Like he's just
He's so cool with it.
Yeah.
And like, and the Floyd Mayweather thing, he didn't make
no excuses.
No excuses.
Yeah.
He just was like, yeah, that's Floyd Mayweather.
The only thing he said was like, I wish Floyd would have knocked me out for his fans to
Of
have
course.
that.
Oh,
like
really?
that's
I
what he
didn't hear him
said.
say that.
The ref
Yeah.
stopped and he was like, I would have appreciated if Floyd could have finished it. But
Well,
he was
even
like,
for
that's
him.
not on Floyd. That's the ref.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen? There's he has like a movie.
I watched it.
You did? I'm gonna order it tonight.
It's fantastic.
Is it?
It's
Okay.
weird though because
Is
like
it a
It's on-
documentary?
it follows him from being it's documentary, but it basically follows him from like his first couple fights to getting to the UFC. But you can
Oh,
tell
I
like
thought I went to. Laura just watched one and followed all the way to Mayweather.
it does, but it's like you can tell they were like putting in a lot of time and hours up until the Chad Mendez fight.
Yep.
And then it was like he skyrocketed and they were like, this was supposed to kind of be the conclusion. So it goes in like, and then he fought Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
You know, like that's it.
Yeah.
But like
You did
it-
pretty good.
Yeah. It follows him constantly for
They
a
probably just
couple
added that
fights.
in there, yeah.
And then it was like, yeah, he just went on another fucking realm. And they
I
were
think
like,
I think
I'm
that's
gonna-
fucking awesome. They didn't expect
I'm gonna
that.
say
Yes.
this to talk about MMA and how much I follow MMA, and like I've always followed MMA.
yeah.
That Chad Mendez fight, like he is so lucky. Like Conor McGregor, like people don't understand. If you just started following Conor McGregor, like that was the fight that was the most dangerous.
Yep.
For him.
He was the wrestler.
I mean, that dude, if he had a full camp,
Yeah,
that guy
yeah.
came in with what 12 days.
It was
notice?
it was something
2
insane.
weeks
He
or
just
something
blew
like
up. That was the only
and
thing.
that
Yeah.
was it. He was gonna eat Conor McGregor alive.
Yeah.
He did for a little bit.
Yeah.
The best, I'll never forget him being on the ground and like Connor's getting the shit kicked out of him, and
Yeah.
Connor's like laughing and trash talking him because he just like
Yeah.
knows he's like
He's gonna
putting in
blow
those
up.
body shots, and
Yeah.
he's like, this next round's mine.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
It was really weird. I followed that fight driving home from a show, like overnight, like a long 6-hour drive or something. And I was just like MMA fighting. I was just following it on Twitter.
Yeah.
It was actually really exciting. Like,
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. They were just saying like, Connor's getting taken down. He's
Yeah.
getting dominated. I was like, fuck. And then all of a sudden it was just like McGregor with a big. I was like, what the? It was just like, it was nuts. It was almost
Yeah.
like kinda,
Whenever I miss UFC, I always follow MMA fighting or just Ariel
Yeah.
Helwani, and it's just like that is just as good.
It was really
as
exciting.
watching
Yeah.
sometimes.
It was actually really
I'll just
cool.
hit refresh nonstop on my feed,
That's right, just-
and,
yep.
and it's just like like at your show at the Christmas show. That was the Gaethje Alvarez fight, I believe. What fight was? No, that was Ponzinibbio Perry.
Yes, yes.
That's what I was following, and it was just like
Yeah.
I was just going through
man.
Twitter, and I was loving it.
I wish I watched that fight. I hate Mike Perry.
Do you see? I love
I
him.
hate him.
I love
I
how
hate
his
him.
girlfriend's his cornerman.
Yeah.
Like
I just
Oh,
like
it's
really?
totally easy to hate
Oh,
him. Though.
that's
yeah,
a weird move.
I
Yeah.
just can't like get into him, and it's like, it's funny because like through watching UFC, they put so much money and time and effort into those like one punchers, like Houston Alexander.
love them.
Yeah.
And it's cool because they're steamrolling dudes, but there's a wall.
There's
It's
always
it's
holes in their
coming.
game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's a wall, and it's fun. Like that's, I think like why I love the tragedy that is Luke Rockhold.
I hate that fucker.
But like it's fun to watch him and
Oh.
follow him because he's so cocky and he's so good.
Yeah.
He's one of the like if he had all the ducks in a row,
Mhm.
he could be the greatest of all time.
Absolutely.
But he is every
Piece of
single
shit.
fight. It's like he didn't take this seriously at all.
Well, like
Is he like his own worst enemy, pretty much?
Yes,
Okay.
I mean that is he.
I think he has so much natural ability, and everybody tells him like exactly what you said. He comes in like I'm gonna dust through this guy,
Yeah.
and like David Branch was making work out of Luke Rockhold.
Yeah.
They make it seem like Luke walked through him.
No.
He was getting pieced the fuck out.
Yeah, that first round.
Oh
he was
my
boxing
lord!
his fucking head
Yeah,
off.
he literally couldn't fall down because Dave Branch kept hitting him back up.
I like Dave Branch. I like the way he is. Like he kind of has a different mind. Like,
Yeah.
he's a martial artist.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's not
Absolutely.
like a guy that got into martial artists. Like he's a martial artist, and I was like, man, once he gets on the ground, like this guy doesn't even know what David Branch is saying, and then he just eats David Branch alive on the ground.
That's the worst.
God damn it.
I hate Luke. Like I always say, like I could really pick apart Jesse on this too, because I always say like either get jacked or get tanned. You're not allowed to have both.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
leave some for the little guy, right? And it's just like Luke Rockhold is jacked, he's tan, he's sexy,
He's
as
good
shit.
looking, yeah.
He's only, like, he's so tall and lean, he dates Selena Gomez
Yeah.
every other week. It was like, leave some for the rest of us.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to have it all.
Fuck
Yeah.
you, man. That's great.
So let's get into horror movies.
Let's go.
We'll get back
I'm
to
actually,
MMA. in
I'm
a
actually
bit.
hoping like horror movies segue into tug time. So
Yeah, I don't want to glance
Yeah,
over
but I, mean,
time.
I have to
Tug
admit,
time
that
rules.
I have to admit, I probably jerked off to more horror movies than I have any other movie.
Naturally.
Pound for pound.
Naturally.
Well, because
Yeah.
your number one is Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah,
Right.
The
I'll
punk
jerk
rock
off.
chick.
Which I was like way off. Like Ed Bates on Twitter
Yeah.
said that she didn't have bush, and then he showed me a picture and she didn't have bush. I thought she had bush,
Oh.
but
Wow.
she was completely.
Because that was
shaven.
the 80s, right?
Oh,
80s
yeah.
is Bush hard.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm surprised. Maybe
Yeah,
she was like a
believe it or
trendsetter.
not, like early '90s was bush heavy
Yeah.
too.
Well,
But every once in a while you'd get shaved.
see, I've only ever experienced shaved.
Yeah.
I'm into bush now. I wasn't for the longest time.
Dude.
My girlfriend, I'm like, what do I have to do for you just to let it go for a bit? And
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
Like, and she's the same generation as me, so she's just like, no.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like, come on. It's
Just
like
a little bit.
It's like a
Double.
threesome. You're involved, but it's like a different girl
Spice
now.
it up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little spice. I remember you put over. I've never seen The Fly with Jeff Goldblum, and you just watched. Was
It's
it for the
amazing.
first time?
It was like
you
a
watched
year ago. I
Yeah.
watched, it was I'm
You're
just
saying
a
how
horror
much it
movie
holds
called
up.
The Fly.
Yeah.
I was just like, no.
Yes.
And I've seen like The Simpsons did a Treehouse of Horrors.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's like they kind of like made
Mock
fun
it.
of it, but
Yeah.
like I got the idea of it, and
Yeah.
I was like, this is gonna be shit.
Yeah.
And then it came on Netflix like
It's
a year
great.
ago, and I watched it. It's so gory and gross
It's
and
unreal.
fantastic.
I've just seen pictures and
Dude,
stuff.
Oh
that-
my
that
God.
last-
I've seen like the arm wrestling scene. I've seen some stuff.
That last scene when the guys like mixed with the dog.
Yes.
Like it scared the shit out of me.
Dude,
like,
what-
I still get chills thinking about that.
When the girl gives birth to the fly larva,
Yeah.
like nothing grosses me out. And
Yeah.
there, I was just like, oh my! It was like watching Jackass when they were
Yeah.
drinking like horse semen.
Yeah.
I was just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Like, oh, the practical effects on it and stuff. It's so good.
And then what? They came
And
out.
it's Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
See, I don't like Jeff Goldblum.
Really?
I love him in The Fly.
I've learned to love Jeff Goldblum.
I saw him in an airport once. He's like 8 feet tall.
Really?
He's huge.
Have you seen the new Thor? I don't know if you're a comic.
I haven't. I haven't.
Well, I basically like anything Jeff Goldblum does these days. Like he's doing commercials and stuff. He's RJ City. It's like
Oh,
they're
really?
the same person. Yeah, it's the same thing. But then they came out with The Fly 2.
Yeah.
but that was
Eric
with
Stoltz.
Eric Stoltz. Yeah, to replace Jeff Goldblum with Eric Stoltz. Quentin Tarantino's a big Eric Stoltz guy. He always uses Eric
Andy
Stoltz.
Williams
and
is a
stuff.
big one. Mask was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid.
What was it?
Mask. He played like Rocky Dennis with
Oh,
Cher.
really?
Tug Time, Cher.
Rocky Dennis, Tug
yeah,
Time.
Rocky Dennis. Great Sam Elliott movie. He plays like a biker deadbeat like boyfriend.
It's just called Mask.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you ever like. Okay, when you see movies, you can tell it's the same producer.
Oh, yeah,
because
it
there's
has, like,
some of
that-
the same actors in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like this is like it has to be like right around like the guy who did Roadhouse had to have something to do with Mask
Gotcha.
because like like
Same
in-
sets.
yeah, well in Roadhouse the guy the bear falls on the big fat guy.
Yeah.
Okay, that guy's like his best friend.
Yeah.
In like Mask.
Yeah.
And like Sam Elliott's in Mask.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you what, like Sam Elliott, like if it was, let's say that came out in I'm gonna just guess 1986. If it was 1986, and Sam Elliott 1986 whipped his dick out, I would think. That would take me about a minute to go. I wouldn't suck that thing.
It's like
Yeah.
most like women over the age of 35 like love Sam Elliott.
Oh, yeah.
like big
He
time.
is man.
Yeah, I agree.
Like when in my head, I'm just like that because he kind of looked like Magnum TA. I think that's why like I
That's
always
when the duster was really in style.
yeah. I'm rocking one right now.
Loves the duster.
Like Magnum TA never was like a big. I never really cared about Magnum TA, but I always was like I knew how special he was.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was just because he like. You could always see his dick in his pants.
Mm-hmm.
Always, no matter what pair of
You
pants.
knew it
he's
was
wearing,
going
Yeah,
on.
they
you
didn't
see
wear
his
too
dick.
tights in the 80s.
No.
I have like 4 pairs. I have like a
Yeah.
girdle.
Yeah.
Anything that's fucking. They were just like, fuck it.
Yeah. So like,
One layer.
Yeah, they have white weens, and then they pour water on themselves.
Yeah,
and go
exactly.
out.
So it's see through.
and I knew he was like a different cut from like Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Like a different kind of cool.
He had like the Luke Rockhold body.
Yeah.
It's like the
And
lean, muscular.
He looked like Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
So I remember like thinking like, man, this guy probably fucks. Like 86, Andy Williams 9. Like this guy fucks.
This guy fucks.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is watching old not Freebirds, Von Erichs.
Mm-hmm.
Like Von Erichs going to the ring, and that's when they were just like in a stadium, and they're like
Girls
on the
are
way to
literally throwing.
Did you ever see like
Yeah.
legit Kerry Von Erich just like deep dish making out with girls?
love that.
Unbelievable.
like tonguing them.
Oh
It's
my
just
god,
like,
unbelievable.
what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Unbelievable.
So cool.
If a girl threw themselves at me while I was I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like I would literally be like,
Like think this is a rib or something?
but I may like, I'd be like, yo, this match is over. Like I'm not
Yeah.
continuing.
Yeah.
Like we're done here. Like come back with me.
I gotta go.
Yeah. Like, I would not know how to handle myself. And like every spot, I'd just like kip up and just like look at her and be like, is this still on?
Yeah, making sure she's still there.
This is cool, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, horror movies, The Fly, Fly 2. We got into Eric Stoltz. We talked about dicks.
Well, I was gonna get into like we talked about the Chucky movies, and now to
I love it.
segue the two is like I've said it on here before, but Jennifer Tilly is big in like the end of the Chucky movies, like,
Yeah.
and
I thought you were going to talk about Brad Dourif, the voice of Chucky.
well,
Voice of sex.
my big one is like the '90s. There's a movie called The Getaway, and fucking it's like the idea of tug time is just when you were a kid or whatever age, and you're watching a movie and like something just catches you where you're like, holy fuck, man.
Yeah,
And
that's like, it's almost like the first boner.
yeah.
Like the first sexual
Like,
boner,
yeah.
not like a pee boner.
No,
Like there's a
absolutely.
scene where like a dude just turns a corner and Jennifer Tilly is riding I always want to say Billy Madison, but Bill Madsen? The guy that Quentin Tarantino uses him all the time.
Oh, I know.
Michael Madsen.
Michael Madsen.
There you go,
yeah.
yeah.
Jennifer Tilly's like and it's just like I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And it's like, yeah, that's my big one.
Mine's not a horror movie, and I hate to say that because I'm a big horror movie fan. But the first time I ever saw tits on screen
Yeah.
was Starship Troopers, so I always go back to that
Oh
too.
yeah.
Holy-
Yeah, I just turned 28.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know.
Not saying I thought you were older or younger. I just never knew your age.
Yeah,
Was it,
Starship Troopers is fucking awesome.
Casper Van Dien, come on now.
Yeah.
When I saw it too, like I didn't know like it's like what would you say? Like it's kind of like tongue in cheek or something maybe?
Oh yeah,
It's-
looking back, it definitely.
Yeah,
is.
like, I didn't
I
know-
took
Yeah,
it
it's a
serious as a
parody.
kid.
Yeah, me too. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my
They
god,
made
this
it
is
as
crazy.
like kind of like a parody to like the old sci-fi movie.
Yeah,
it's almost it's like
the,
it's like overly gory.
yeah,
and, like,
the mother fucking bug is like a vagina with a wiener that comes out and sucks
Pretty
your
much,
brain and
yeah,
stuff. Like
pretty
I haven't
much
seen
that.
it in forever, but I remember like looking back, there's a lot of sexual innuendo
Yeah.
and stuff. It's like
Oh, yeah.
Alien.
You got CVD, Carrie Russell.
Carrie
right?
Russell.
That's
Yeah.
the boobs, right? Yeah.
Yes,
I was trying to
curly
figure
hair.
out.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember
Yeah.
who it was.
I'm only Casper Van Dien from now on is just CVD.
There's
There's RVD, CVD.
CVD.
Yeah.
JVCD or whatever.
Yeah.
Van Damme.
We're talking about our CVD here.
I think that's like as a lifelong pervert, that's why I think I've always like enjoyed horror movies because there's always nudity.
Always.
Yeah.
Right? Like either like every fucking horror movie, there's somebody topless. Like it's great.
That's-
Sleepaway Camp.
Oh my! I'll say I tugged it to that. That got me so like I didn't know why.
Yeah.
Curiosity boner, but I was just
Yeah.
like something's going
Curiosity
here.
boner.
I remember like Sleepaway Camp 2 has some of the best fucking one-liners of all
yeah.
time.
I think those
Like,
are the only two I saw.
the punk
Yeah,
dude
You don't need to anymore.
says the fucking punk dude, like she comes up to him and she goes, he's spray painting a tent. I was like,
He's a badass.
he's such a badass. He needs to do graffiti. He's just spray paint a
nylon.
tent in the middle of a forest. You know where you're getting pointed at. I'm pretty sure what he spray paints is pretty fucking awesome. I can't remember what it says.
El
but-
Barto.
Yeah,
Or like a dick.
it says something really cool, and then he goes, "Party all night, teenage wasteland," and then runs away.
That's cool.
I'd buy that T-shirt.
Yeah,
exactly.
I almost made that T-shirt.
100%.
Yeah.
That's fucking badass.
It used to be my. Remember when you like the first when social media was like either Friendster, Makeout Club, whatever it was. You could put like a little tagline.
Oh yeah, of course.
My tagline was "Party all night, teenage wasteland."
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Was it Makeout Club?
yeah. You never won a.
No. That
you
was
were you were at wrestling school. Then.
I was real broke, no
Yeah,
internet.
yeah. You were looking at dudes in underwear.
Pretty much. Shit. I just had something I was going to rewind. Oh, there's did you ever listen to the Jericho podcast? And he has Eli Roth on.
I never miss them.
And
They're
they-
so good.
Yeah,
So
though, because the
good.
one
I
that,
hate Eli Roth.
See,
That's-
I don't mind.
I like him.
I don't mind them.
like that's
Like I like Bear Jew.
yeah.
That's
Eli
it.
Roth,
Awesome.
but his movies do nothing.
I
for
seem
me.
to like a lot of horror movies. People don't.
Yeah.
Like I love all of Rob Zombie shit.
Yeah.
I love it.
See, okay, here's the thing, and I gotta get shit on about this. Like, House of a Thousand Corpses, I
I
was like,
didn't like.
let's get this guy out of here.
It's not as good as people want to make you believe.
Yeah,
It's
but then the
really
second
not
one's
good.
awesome.
Yeah.
Devil's
'Cause he
Rejects
just-
is amazing.
all he's doing is just ripping off every movie and
Yeah.
putting it in one movie.
See,
But
but
then
I almost think of it like I think of it as more of because he's such a fan. I think it's more of an homage.
yeah, but why are you going to do that for your first movie?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I
see what
mean?
you're saying.
Like, if Devil's Rejects came out first, I'd be like, I'm sold.
Yeah,
every fucking
this
movie
fucking rules.
this guy is
It's
ever
like
done.
his last one, 31 or whatever.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
waited for like 4 years. I kept hearing rumors. I finally watched it. If it wasn't Rob Zombie, I wouldn't say I like it as much, but it was like, I've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
like,
like Running
I
Man.
think
It's
you've
like a-
made this movie
It's like a
before.
horror movie Running Man. But
Yeah.
I remember it was getting such bad reviews, and then Crazy Steve was actually like, dude, it's like a horror version of Running Man. I was like, that sounds awesome.
That's it exactly.
Yeah, it's great.
That's it exactly.
Fuck yeah.
And I just
Um,
I love like the look of his movies. It's all like dirty, gritty,
Yeah.
like sweaty, that like southern look. Like
Yeah,
that's why I
yeah,
like
sort of a southern
that's
thing
why I
in there.
like Texas Chainsaw Massacre too.
Yeah.
It just has that look.
We talk
Yeah.
about it all the time when it's like, I think him and I we like movies where everything is a character.
Yeah.
Everything is a
Yeah, I
character.
That's cool.
I like
No
strong
matter
characters.
what, everything is a character.
That's
like,
cool.
The rooms are a character. The things in the room are a character. The characters are characters. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
everything has a place for it, where it's not just a hospital room.
Yeah.
And I don't mind his Halloweens. Like, I was definitely like one of those guys. Like, I thought the first one was really good.
I like the first one. The
liked
second
it.
one, not so
Second
much.
one's a little weird.
Yeah.
But like I remember like watching the first one, and I remember people like shitting on it. And I was like, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was a good movie.
Yeah. Like maybe we don't need to remake everything,
Of
Yeah.
course.
right? And I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Like if it's that great, like it's only 30 years old. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not that old. It's still in like
To touch
everyone
it.
talks about it, but like
Like and that, I think like if say like a movie like that, I remember like thinking like before it came out, I was like, how Donald Pleasance was such a good character
Mhm.
that like he's not alive.
yeah.
So who are you gonna get? And then they got Martin or not. They got the dude
Rob
from
Zombie, Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork
Yeah.
Orange. What's his
Sam
name?
Loomis is I can't think of his real name.
My God, this is gonna kill me.
He's,
I'll get
he's
it.
really good at these.
I'll get it. But he's in Doomsday, the guy that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that movie? Did you see Doomsday?
No, I know I've seen the trailer a million fucking times. I've
you
never
guys
seen it.
both gotta watch Doomsday.
Is it that good?
It's awesome.
Fuck
I
yeah.
love it. If you listen to this and you hate it, fuck you. Yeah, like I just getting back to that. It's like classic movies, like where like classic movies that I liked growing up. Like when I see them getting like remade, it's like the reasons why I like those movies are like me being a nerd. So like
Yep.
it's like when I was a kid, I remember like seeing like Crispin Glover in like one of the Friday the 13th, and you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, it's fucking Marty McFly, or you know what I mean?
That's
Like,
cool, yeah.
or he's the guy from like On the River's Edge.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
stuff like that, and like I would see it and I would think that, and then like they remake them, and it's like,
I see why they remake them though, because like Danny McBride is coming out with the Halloween remake now.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what reviews it gets. I'm gonna see.
That's
it.
like
Yeah,
me
of
too.
course.
So,
and
you
it doesn't
know what I mean?
stale the original to me at all.
No, because
like-
I try to watch them as two different movies.
Yeah, and like I'm a big Ninja Turtles fan, and when they remade Ninja Turtles with Michael Bay, everyone's like, "This is gonna be shit."
Yeah.
And like, it wasn't my favorite, but like he's gonna show it to a new audience. That's
Yeah.
why he's doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it just gives me the opportunity to watch a new Ninja Turtles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I grew
It's a
up
good way
like
to look
that,
at it.
like worshiping Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
I watched
right?
all the original cartoons. I was like reading the comic
best.
book when I was a kid. The only thing that I want out of a Ninja Turtles movie is like go more to the comic book.
Because the comic book's real
Dark.
dark,
It's
isn't it?
dark and gory.
Yeah.
and,
It's
like,
great.
It's awesome, and like just someone just do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like even if it's like an animated
Yeah,
version
absolutely.
of it,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that should be done.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and I think like original stories. We always talk about the G.I. Joe movie, where like the G.I. Joe movies.
Oh,
But I'm talking about the original.
Oh, the cartoon movie.
Is
Oh my
fucking
god.
amazing. I mean, that was like the first time I was ever invested in a movie. Like, and it was
Like an
because
animated movie.
it was in general. I mean, I was
Oh.
probably, you got to think that like when that movie came, I'm 40, so like when that movie came out, I was probably like 12.
yeah, it's true.
Do you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
didn't give a fuck about movies at that time. I knew that shit was scary. I remember, like, I tell that story all the time about seeing Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yeah.
My parents went to bowling, and I was just home alone. My sister was upstairs, like, doing something. And I watched that movie, and like, every time Tinkerbell, like, would, like, burn that fucking thing and poke his head with the thing. You know what I'm
Oh,
talking
shit.
about?
It's not-
What's his
it's
name?
not Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
Crop Chop Top.
Yeah,
Crop
that's
Chop.
it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chop
yeah,
Top.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like every
fucking
time
awesome.
he would do that, I was
It's
like,
so
and then he
weird.
would eat
So
the skin off.
Oh
of it,
yeah.
and I just
What
be
a-
like,
what a
this is
gimmick.
fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, but I didn't like. There was the
Chainsaw
only emotion
battle.
I was just like, this is kind of scary.
Yeah.
But then like 2 seconds later, like Rhonda Shear's big tits would be
Yeah.
like right there, and I'd be like, oh
USA
God,
up
of course
all
it's
night.
that.
Yeah.
You know.
They
Then I find educating Nina and my dad's thing, and then I start my tug adventure.
Oh yeah.
My lifelong tug adventure
remember when
started because of that.
I found my dad was hiding the Showgirls VHS, and I remember I thought it was porn, so I watched it, and I like to this day I enjoy that movie.
really?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
There's
I'm gonna,
there's certain tug memories that I have,
Oh,
and I get a soft spot for certain movies.
I think that's what it is.
We'll
There
call
you
that
go.
a hard spot.
Yeah, but like,
It's not a soft
have you
spot.
ever seen? I've talked about this on my podcast before. On the TV edit of that movie, when she goes and kicks the shit out of the pop star that
Yeah.
Yeah.
rapes her friend,
Yep.
you can find it on YouTube. But there's a TV edit,
Oh, boy.
and because she like gives him like an axe kick
Yeah.
in a cheetah print skirt,
Uh-huh.
and her like clam is just hanging out.
Really?
Right.
Yeah.
And in the TV edit, they literally take like I can't remember what color it is, but it's like MS Paint.
Uh-huh.
Covered. It's the fakest thing I've ever seen, and
That's
they
great.
block it out. And it's like, unless you're looking for it, you don't even know it's there. So now that it's there, you're like, what the is
fuck?
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
now you're looking for it. I'm
Gina
rewinding.
Gershon.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Fuck. I can't believe we
She-
never
to
brought her
this
up
day.
before.
Just tug everything.
Oh my
I think I actually almost followed her on Twitter like recently.
She's
but
still
it's,
a fox.
It's all politics. And I was like,
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm all set.
Boner
But
killer.
I'm trying to think the first. Well, speaking of which, I think it's called Bound. It's a lesbian scene with her and Jennifer
Oh yeah.
Tilly.
Yes.
Whew.
Yeah.
Oh.
She was in. I think she's in Face Off.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, she's in Face Off.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of she's in Showgirls. I'm trying to think of the first time I ever saw her. I don't know what she's just really hot.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, she
Unbelievable.
reminds me of Gina Carano. Maybe it's just
there you
because
go.
they.
No, yeah,
but,
dark
like,
hair, like-
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
there was a point in time like when every time I die started getting just a little bit of success, I was like, I bet you I could date her. Like
wait,
Gina.
Which one, Gina Gershon?
No,
Carano?
Carano, because she was like, I think it was right around the time me and Barnett started becoming friends.
Oh yeah.
And
I
was
gotta
like,
get in.
amazing. I might be in the same area as her.
It's like I was. What's the fuck?
There's no
Oh,
fucking
she
chance.
did Deadpool.
Yeah.
She was in Deadpool, and
Yeah.
it's like
Oh,
I remember seeing that. I was like, yeah, but I remember just like
Stunner.
being happy for her too that she's doing good because it's like she was. What's the word I'm looking for? She was so like ahead of her time.
Oh yeah, she was
You know what I
running
mean?
like 5 years before.
Yeah, but when it wasn't a thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, so it's just such a bummer that like, and then she had that like her basically her last one was she had that crazy fight with Cyborg.
You just got pieced up.
Well, man, like that, it's so weird. Like the stoppage of that fight, it was like you're like, oh, there was only like 2 seconds left, but dude, those
You
2
could-
seconds, like she had been getting
And at
hammered
that
on.
point in time, I mean, it sucks because, I mean, regardless of what Cyborg's done in her life, meaning injectables,
Yeah.
anything like that, like Gina, at that time she was married to Evangelista Santos,
Mhm.
which is the original
Cyborg.
Yeah.
That dude fought 205, and there's footage of her doing lunges with him.
Yeah, on the back.
That's insane.
And I think they,
for that fight.
I think it was that fight they showed.
Yeah.
that in,
That's
like, the
insane.
She's doing lunges across the fucking cage
with her husband.
with her husband
Yeah.
on his back. Like, she was a different cut of human.
Ugh.
Like, in general, she would have whooped my ass.
Oh, yeah,
at
absolutely.
240 as easily as she whooped Gina Carano's ass at 145.
There's that picture Rogan talks about it. And it's like her holding Gina's face, and she's got like nail polish on. And
Yeah.
her fist is just like inches away, and it's just like it's such a weird thing because
Oh,
like
man. Yeah, like
it's
the
a
two-
feminine
two
picture,
worlds.
yeah, but it's just like so violent.
I mean, there's just like, that's the thing with Cyborg. Like, I want this, just, we're kind of bouncing all over, but
Yes, right.
I want, like, I really want Holly Holm to win that
Me
fight.
too.
Because I really like Holly Holm. And
Yeah.
I said on the last podcast, like, I hate when fighters talk about God. Like, God, if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't have the power to do this. It's
Yep.
like, no, man, you, like, don't fucking undercut yourself.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Whatever the fuck you believe in, because you're the person putting the hard work in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? So, for a while, I kind of didn't like Holly. But now, I just love the fact of how humble she is.
She's the ultimate baby face.
And she is,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
she seriously is Hogan in the, in the 80s. Like, she's everything that is good.
I felt so bad for Holly because she beat Ronda, and she had a couple months of like, she never got the spotlight. It was Ronda lost, not Holly
Oh, yeah,
won,
yeah, of
course.
and then Misha beat her, and it was
Yeah.
like she never got the like respect I feel like she should have in
Oh,
that time.
100%.
And then she kind of went on that losing streak. So
Hopefully
I really hope.
Hopefully she beats Cyborg. Yeah,
Yeah, I really hope she pulls
due.
it off.
I'm rewinding here, but like, let's talk about that first Ninja Turtles movie that came out.
Mhm.
It was like perfect. Like
Which one?
the very first one that came out.
Honestly, I
Like,
love all three.
Oh yeah,
I never
Shredder. You're talking about
no, that's the second
That's
one.
second, yeah.
The
the
first
one
one,
with what Eddie Reyes Jr. as one of the
Corey Feldman was Donatello. I
Yep.
think. Yeah.
Eddie Reyes Jr. was played. He was one of the. I think he played like all the action scenes in the actual.
Oh, really?
Ninja Turtles thing.
Oh, really? It was one
And-
dude.
Yeah, and
Oh,
Eddie
fuck.
Reyes Jr. was one of the guys that fought for Chuck Norris's like thing.
Yeah.
Like, Chuck
Oh,
Norris had
really?
his own MMA thing, and it was like Michael Venom Page was in it. Like all those dudes
Shit.
were in it, but Eddie.
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
Eddie Reyes Jr. and Eddie Reyes Sr. was like a famous like kickboxer too. But
Oh.
Eddie Reyes Jr. you'll know from the Sidekick movies.
Oh yeah.
It was the kid from the Sidekick.
Yeah.
From
Gotcha.
Sidekick
Gotcha.
with Chuck Norris.
People are refer to it all the time. I don't know, like at least in the States. Like I went to go see the Ninja Turtles movie with my dad, and it was like you had to wait in a huge line. It was like really hard to get to.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
I have
fucking
friends
awesome.
that have like pictures with Ninja Turtles from that time because they would do like tours,
Ugh.
Oh, really?
and you could go.
They did
meet 'em.
concerts at one time.
Dude, they
Oh
did
yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
escapades.
Hey, I gotta make that money.
It's hilarious.
It's-
Cobb's Coliseum, right? Is that in Hamilton?
That's Hamilton.
I saw Jethro Tull there. Just,
Yeah.
yeah, when I was a
Shit.
kid, I saw Jethro Tull there.
I never saw Turtles in Time. That was the third one.
That's when they go to like ancient
Yeah,
Shanghai.
I
and
never
stuff.
saw that
I
one.
love it.
Really?
I haven't seen it in years, but I remember watching it as a kid. It may be
it might be
one of my
terrible,
favorites.
But as a kid, you liked it. Oh, really?
yeah. Like
Fuck yeah.
it, first off, you're watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Exactly. So relax. that
yeah,
they're going through time.
Yeah, and I just remember loving it. Like it holds true. It's not like the quality goes down at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know.
we were on Warp Tour, and one of the main sponsors was the newest first Ninja Turtles movie, the one where they do the fucking down the snow.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that scene or whatever. And I remember like whatever show, I don't remember what place it was, but like they basically gave us like a showing of it 2 weeks before it came out.
Yeah.
So we all got to do it, and they like Warp Tour rented out rented out like a theater, like the local theater.
That's cool.
They had
That is
buses
cool.
That, like, it was walkable, so we just all walked. Like literally, like 300 people walked to this like thing.
Yeah.
It was like about a mile and a half away. We all walked, and we went in there, and you go on the thing, and like I remember like I loved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I didn't finish
like
it.
growing up, and
It's not
like,
great.
but I didn't get an honest watch.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I didn't get until I got home. I remember it came out, and then I watched it.
Yeah.
Like actually at my house, and I mean it's a dog shit movie.
Yeah.
But like the criticism that these people on this tour were giving the movie.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I remember walking out, and I remember this. It was that front porch step kid that like was he basically an acoustic guy, and he was like prowling on chicks or whatever like that.
Yeah.
And he was prowling on like underage girls or whatever like that.
Right on.
And he's a little fat fuck, and I remember him like I was sitting there, and Kate Truscott, literally one of my favorite people in the world. She's the person that does.
She pretty much runs
She's
Warped
in
Tour.
charge of like marketing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like all the sponsors go to her. So she's the one that literally like got this sponsorship. She's the person that talked, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles into being a sponsor for Warp Tour.
That's a sweet connection.
She put her hard work into this thing, and like,
And everybody's shitting all over it.
but there's like 300 people, and she knew how much I loved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so she waited in the hallway for me to come out, and she goes, "Well, what did you think?" And I was like, whatever, it wasn't that bad. People were like laughing the entire time and stuff like that. And I hear this little fat fuck go,
Oh.
he goes, I mean, there's like a button in it that literally says like, it's like the most stupid thing. It just said, well, it's like on and off, like detonation
Oh yeah, of
or
course.
something like that.
Yeah.
And he was like, I mean, there was like this one scene and blah, blah, blah. And I go, you're watching a fucking
Yeah.
movie called Teenage
Yeah.
Mutant Ninja Turtles. How the fuck do you like, you're expecting reality out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like,
exactly.
get the fuck out of here.
there's a
Like,
hokey
said
button.
something like
And
that.
it's not for us.
Yeah.
It's for
It's
like
for
younger
kids.
kids. You
and
know,
the
like
kid, like, I remember the kid, like, just putting his head down, like, walking out.
Yeah.
It was
Well, the
just
funny thing is, like you said,
fucking-
like,
you're
all-
criticizing a movie called Teenage
Exactly.
Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're not watching the grapes of fucking wrath. You know what I mean? Like,
And all these people are coming from Warp Tour. They're all they all create art too. You
Yep,
know what I
there
mean?
you
It's
go.
just like, yeah, how could you create shit too, and like, how could you shit all over somebody putting themselves out there, like making something? You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's not, everyone. It's like when you say it sucks, that's not a fact. It's just your opinion. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I'm
my
sure there's-
real biggest criticism with it, and it's just with a lot of things, it's just like it's too much CGI.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
It's just like my brain hurts.
Me too.
Yeah.
And it's just like that takes me out of it
it's
almost
like-
no matter how good it's going to be, especially knowing how good the costumes were in the 80s, like
Yeah.
the practical costumes.
Yeah, it
It's
really
like
just-
I can only imagine how great they'd be 30 years later.
Now, do you think like like, you know, because I was about to say, like, yeah, I'd rather watch that.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think, like, we just feel that? Do you think, like, kids?
Because it's nostalgia.
Nostalgia
Yeah, do you
is
think-
rose-colored
Do you think, like,
glasses.
yeah, do you think, like, kids, like CGI and
100%.
stuff? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I love like that was the one thing that they didn't put in the first one. Like I want to see, like I always say it wrong, like Yosaki Yojimbo. Like I want to see a rabbit kick some ass.
Oh yeah.
I want to see.
I think it's in one of them. I can't remember
Yeah?
which one. Yeah, because they
Yeah.
come into the sewer and then
Yeah.
I
Who was
can't
the
remember
first
which
one?
one.
There was, like, the gator
There was
from, like,
Rocksteady and Bebop.
Yeah.
There was
they were in the new one, weren't they? Right? 'Cause-
yeah.
Yeah, Seamus was one of them.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah. And then, well, because they had Toka and Razor
Yep.
in the
Yeah.
second one.
And I think, like to me, like again, all those characters, I want to see them all come to life. And in the first one, like the original one that we were talking about
Yep.
before, like Elias Koteas playing Casey Jones
Oh yeah.
is like amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's the fact that he has hair in that, like he has amazing
He's
hair.
bald as
and
shit
then
now.
literally
Oh,
3
yeah,
years
that's right.
later,
Yeah.
he just had a cul-de-sac on his head.
what
Forgot
movie
about
is he in? I just watched it. Oh, Harold and Kumar's Christmas movie.
Yes, yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like the mob boss, and he's got
Yeah.
like the best Hogan skullet ever.
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's just like that was Casey Jones.
Yeah. Yeah.
That same thing. Whenever I see that guy, I was like, "That's Casey Jones."
Yeah,
from
that
the
guy was a
first-
heartthrob, and now
But
he
he,
looked like
like-
a grandfather.
But he looked awesome,
Oh,
like as
amazing.
Casey Jones. And
Fuck
then like
yeah.
they had Casey Jones in the newest one. And
I
it
can't
was
even
like,
remember who it was.
exactly. It's just like
Oh, yeah, I
the
don't know.
fact that like someone was putting time in at that time to make the characters look rugged. Like Casey Jones isn't supposed to be a heartthrob.
Yeah.
Like
No.
that. He's supposed to be a heartthrob, kind of like Johnny Depp is a heartthrob.
Yeah, rough
You know?
around the edges.
Yeah.
The best was like in that first one. He's like, there's like muggers. I think when he debuts, he saves April O'Neil.
Yep.
He's literally taking like a goalie stick and like whapping dudes across
Yeah.
their face.
Yeah.
Because the second one they took away their weapons. Because it
That's
was like
right.
a kid's thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
literally, it's like Donatello just like smashing people with
That's
a stick,
right.
and like,
Yeah.
yeah, they took away. It was like, yeah,
Which sucks.
I still love in the originals how like I can't remember if it's the first or second movie. Raph spends an insane amount of time with a top hat and trench coat on, just
Yeah.
walking around New York. Just
Yeah.
No
like,
one-
nobody cares.
But the thing is, I think because they're saying you're watching a movie called Teenage Mutant
Oh,
Ninja Turtles.
exactly.
Yeah, like I love that kind of shit. It's
And, like-
that reminds me of it's like I'm actually watching a comic book right now.
Yeah.
This
Yes.
is fucking cool.
That was like one of my favorite like father-son moments when I was a kid. Is this like one day I was up at like 8 a.m. and my dad like would like if I was up that early, like, and mind you, I'm a person that's like I'm usually up at like 9:30.
Yeah.
So like with that time, I remember being up really early. It was like a Saturday, definitely a Saturday, and like kung fu movies would come on at
Awesome.
like noon. So like I knew that like noon, like I'd be around with my cousin Tony or my cousin Kathy. Like they would come over and then we would watch kung fu movies for a couple
the best.
hours. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
awesome.
the best.
So I remember being up early. My dad makes me like some sort of like shitty breakfast, probably like an egg sandwich or something like that. And I remember like sitting down and like him kind of being lost. Like me and my dad, I think my dad really didn't know how to be a dad until I like could actually make my own decisions.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean,
a
like
little bit
yeah,
grown
dads are kind of figuring things out, and like
Oh yeah.
he was still partying.
The older you get, you realize that too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like I remember like sitting there, and my dad was probably just flabbergasted. Like, what do I do with this kid? Like,
Yep.
he's sitting next to me right now.
Yeah.
Why is he so close? Why is he here? Fuck. And I remember
How
him
do
like
I-
flipping through the channels and then going like, ugh, I guess we'll watch this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it was like the first day it aired.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
And we watched it, like, I think it was the pilot. And me and my dad
the
watched
cartoon?
it. My dad, yeah. And my
Okay.
dad was like making fun of it at first. Like, he's like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then we watched it. And then he was just like,
Sick.
this is awesome. Like,
That's pretty
instantly
cool.
was like, this is awesome. And then every Saturday, it was like up
That was your thing.
watching, yeah, Teenage Mutant
I
Ninja
remember
Turtles with
me
my dad.
like I always watched wrestling with my dad and my brother, but I remember many times he loved Tales from the Crypt.
Nice.
And I remember
One of
watching
my
Tales from the
all-time
Crypt with
favorites.
him. Like he still loves it to this day.
It's perfect.
And
I
the,
wanna go
the
back and
opening
watch it.
entrance when they go in the haunted
Yeah.
house
Yeah.
and then he pops out of the coffin.
Yeah.
Like my dad was a legit Undertaker for years too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? So it was just like I always made that connection. Like he came out of a casket. Like
Yeah,
I
my
just
dad's an
loved it.
Undertaker.
I was
Yeah.
terrified of it. Like my family, we're not touchy feely at all. And I
Uh-huh.
used to like. I remember like I'd hide in my dad's arm when that happened and
Yeah, yeah.
stuff. And it's just like, yeah, I love that shit.
That's
We'd
fucking awesome.
always rent horror
If they
movies.
put Tales from the Crypt on Netflix, I'm rewatching the whole thing.
There are so many
100%.
stars. They
Yeah.
got their
Oh, yeah,
star.
Well, like Dan Aykroyd's in one.
Demi
and, like,
Moore,
Yeah.
like crazy shit.
Yeah.
George Clooney.
Yep. Yeah,
I
exactly.
remember,
Like,
like, you know, There are some bad ones. I remember watching it. I
Yes.
was like, that was really boring.
But
But
even
there's
the
some
bad
really
ones are
good
good.
ones.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
The
Because
bad
it was
ones
always
weren't,
tongue in cheek too.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was always like that.
The one, fuck, what was the one?
They did that Masters of Horror thing.
Mhm.
That was really cool. And the like, to bring this back to Every Time I Die, I remember like we did a call. We had a video for the song New Black, and it was filmed it in Hollywood and like rented this house, and like there was like everyone was like a character in it and stuff like that. And I remember we did like an actual like call for actors, and these twins showed up, and they were two redheaded twins, and they were cool, and it was like weird because like we're the band, so like all these people are like, oh, they're the special ones, and then I'm like looking at these people like they're like real actors, like
Yeah.
showing up
Yeah,
here, like,
yeah.
this is insane. you
Yeah.
know? So you'd be at catering, and you're sitting there, and then like these two like twins like coming up, and they're like talking to me, and they're like, I'm like, oh, like, are you guys like fans of the band or something? And they're like, no, we're like actors, like we act, and like
This is what we
we
do.
saw this, and we decided to come be in it. Like, weird.
That's awesome.
And I remember like going home watching Master of Horrors, and one of those twins was like the bad. She was like the heel in one of the Master of Horrors things. And I
That's
was like,
so
this is so
sweet.
cool. She was also the groupie that Johnny Cash bones in Walk the Line.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, which was really cool, and nude scene. So I did.
Really?
I did get.
I'll be
tug-
doing it.
Some
I
real,
got tug time
some real life
out
time.
of the Master of Horror from a girl I
God
met
damn.
at,
God damn.
which is
Can
really
I-
creepy
can I-
sounding.
I'm gonna kind of wrap this around too, because I go through many, I guess you call it fetishes,
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
just like things
Yeah.
you're in your porn styles,
it's a real
right?
thing.
And like,
Yeah, it's
I'm
a
into-
tug adventure.
yes, exactly. When
Yeah,
you
it's a
explore
walk
for
of
so
the world.
long, right?
It's a
Like
walk
I
of
was
the
into
world.
just massages for a while,
which is
right?
great.
Just massages, right? Like
Yeah.
because I don't like them.
Yeah.
But like the intimacy of it. But
Yeah.
now, like I've been into it for a while now. It's cot porn, and like not like hotel cot.
Cock.
CAUGHT.
You're in a
Oh.
So,
you are
like-
in a wormhole.
Yeah, I know. So like now I'm into like a guy banging a hooker or the sister and the wife walks in. And I don't
Yeah.
like the banging. I like the confrontation.
Yeah.
Like I'll be stroking it and then when mom comes in, that's when I'm like, ah!
Yeah,
like
this
that
is
does
great.
it for me now. But
Sorry.
one of my absolute favorite things and why I got into August Ames is I think everybody has this, but I like when I find a porn star or an amateur, I prefer amateur, that looks like somebody I know. I don't
yeah.
even have to think they're
Oh,
good
yeah.
looking.
You're not,
Just-
you're not alone on that
Dude.
one.
And August Ames looks like my best friend's ex-girlfriend. I know that's sick,
That is-
but
Yeah.
they're broken up now.
Yeah.
They're broken up.
Yeah.
He's engaged, but like that was the initial like.
There's a
oh my-
connection there.
and her name was Amy, August Ames, you know, and I was just like, whoa.
Dude, Fake Taxi, the UK
I
Fake
love it.
Taxi,
He
is like
keeps with us. I haven't.
And
seen
he
it
gets
yet.
his ass licked, everyone,
Yeah.
and God bless him.
yeah.
Right? We got
it's
to bring the
wild 'cause
rim
he-
job back to
He
fucking
gets
popularity.
so into it,
Mm.
like so into it. So like, I remember like discovering it a couple months ago.
I
and
feel like
then-
this podcast is finally back on track.
Yeah.
guys were there.
we because I remember like finding a couple things, and I'm into like real life, like it's like what's like vivid porn is cool,
Mhm.
but like
You know
I'm-
it's produced. They're
I'm-
getting paid to
yes,
like
I'm never in that world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like I kind of got into like Jules Jordan stuff for a while.
Yeah.
And he's an old hardcore kid. So like every once in a while, if Jules Jordan knew you were playing like Hollywood or you were playing like LA, a box would just show up from Jules Jordan.
get out of here.
Yeah, he used to be in this band. I think his band was called Atlas Shrugged.
That's awesome.
Was the band he was in, and a lot of like older hardcore dudes like know him, and it's pretty rad. Like
That's
like, 'cause
cool.
There's just like Jules Jordan. We used to like tour with Atlas Shrugged. Blah blah blah. Like I think that was the name of his band. But like every once in a while, like early on, like a box of like DVDs would just show
Unreal.
up at a show, and it'd be like
Just
from
porn
Jules
DVDs.
Jordan.
That's
Yeah,
fucking
the best.
yeah.
Yeah, the fake taxi guy makes them like lick the muffler every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Like,
But like I like the
Bring
the
it back.
ability to think of like different body sizes, and I've never been like that's kind of like my thing is I don't have like a choice type of person that
Yeah.
I'm into. It's like I see people who are like heavy and go like, oh man, she's like really attractive.
absolutely.
I see, every walk of race, and I'm like, man, that's, she's really hot. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. I just don't have a type.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like the fact that Fake Taxi, that guy is just
He's
down
all
for
over the
anything.
board.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I get the same boner I get from like a heavy girl that I get from like a girl you can tell is like an actress. I mean, they're all actresses.
Oh yeah.
But like, you
But
know what I'm
that
saying?
believability goes a long
Yeah,
way.
it's like, oh, she's got fake boobs, a 6-pack, the biggest butt I've ever seen. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Is
Fake
wearing
lips.
a ton of makeup.
Yeah.
Like, she's not just waiting there for a taxi.
No, never.
Yeah.
Like, and if she was, she'd be getting an Uber.
Yeah. And then there's like an older kind of like woman in like an overcoat.
Yep.
Holding up like a briefcase. And like, she's an actor.
Yeah.
But like, she's so much more believable, and I get way more into those than I do the other ones.
I think most people do.
Yeah.
I porn stars are great, but like the realism
Yeah.
of like real people banging when you're not supposed to be watching it. I think that's like the best part. And it's like, okay, like I look like an average guy. Like I can relate to this fucker.
Yeah,
Not,
of course.
You know what I mean? Not James Dean
Are
over
you,
here.
Now, because
Perfectly
I feel like,
shaved, perfectly tan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Justin.
Yeah, like this guy can't relate.
Yeah, we know what you're talking about, bud. Like, there's like a new phenomenon now of like the cam couple banging. I can't get into it.
I can, absolutely.
I can't do it.
No
I'll
problem.
tell you why.
I can't get into it. I think I'm in there.
Not a not a
but
problem.
like, I don't like the fact that like the footage is like grainy and sometimes stops, and it's only one angle.
Yeah.
It's like, it's really weird, and then they're always stopping to like read the like,
Yeah,
screen.
and they you hear the like the
ding.
noise when somebody tipped them, and
Yeah.
they're all like,
Yeah.
or I'll
Like,
continue.
I kind of hate that.
And the one angle blows.
I get it, but
I mean, some of the girls are like really hot.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like, it just always seems so like, well, we're here. Just put this here.
well, I think what got me into it is like years ago with my high school girlfriend
Yeah.
when we had like dial up. I had the idea, it was like, why don't we just go in a chat room and just bang?
Yeah.
Right? So yet again.
You're ahead of the curve.
Yeah, yet again.
Yeah.
And I remember we found one fat. Why am I telling this?
No.
Why, I was saying, like, we found like this one guy and he was already stroking it, right?
Yeah,
So it's
like,
just like,
good.
he's the guy. What do you want us to do, bud? And it was
Yeah.
just like, this guy directed it. We never put our face in it.
Yeah.
Right? Thank God, so you can never fucking find
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Right? And yeah, it was just like, and like, we only did it once and it was a blast. So now when I see that, I was like, I get it.
That's
Yeah,
I get it.
I've been there.
Yeah, I get
I've been there. Was like chat roulette?
Chat roulette,
That
yeah.
used to weird me out so
Yeah.
hard.
Well, it's always just tugging.
I don't
Like
It's just
90%.
I
of
don't
it
even
was-
know what we used because, like, I remember we had this
Dial
idea.
up.
She took a taxi to go home to get her webcam. Like, this was like an
Man.
event.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean,
we had this idea. And
I mean, it's a
and
big
we were
deal.
both into it. And, like, literally, I remember it took us like 3 hours to just, like, get a video just, like, loading. Like, it took forever because, like, I think we were legitimately on dial up. But when we got
well,
it, we're just like,
that dude who was tugging, like you're saying, like all the waiting time. Imagine how excited he was.
That's what I mean.
Once things got
So
rolling.
that's what I mean. I was like,
Yeah.
I'll be like this guy's Great White Buffalo today.
Yeah,
and just
Well,
like,
that was the funny thing.
Change his world.
We always talk about porn that you find in the woods,
oh, I'm so happy you're bringing this up.
right?
Oh, everybody.
That's where I found it.
Yes.
Everybody.
Okay.
Like, I don't know who's doing it.
It's always
Well,
that.
because you couldn't keep it at your house, so you would,
Yeah.
you
I
would
guess,
hide it in
yeah.
the woods.
So like there was always porn, and like it was funny. Like the dudes that like our bass player, the dudes that like grew up with him.
Yeah.
They always called it presents from heaven
That's hilarious.
because they just
We
like would
we
show up
That's
well, they
hilarious.
we would drive by a group of like kids
playing like hockey in the street.
yeah, and then they would yell "gift from above," and they would just whip porno mags and like DVDs at them and then drive away.
That's so good. Like, I'm gonna just start uploading like fisting gifs onto a jump drive and just throwing it into
Yeah.
preschools or
Yeah.
something. Like, whatever. Just like I have to pay it forward.
Yeah, but that was like when I was a kid, it was just always porno in a thing, and I was more interested. Like the porn was cool. Like you'd like look and be like, okay, that's what a girl looks like.
Yeah.
Awesome. But then the ads in the back were like the craziest things. It's like, oh my god, that's a wiener in a butthole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Right.
you're seeing anal for the first time, and you're like, holy shit. And then you see a girl, and you're like, I know her from that one video
Yeah.
that my dad has in his. But like, she's hot. Who is this girl? And then you're finding like different ads, and then you see her actually in an ad where it says her
Oh.
name, and you're like,
I know you.
now I know her. Now I can pinpoint that woman and see her nude and do things.
I remember when I first started watching porn, like I figured it out, and I'd do that like thing where it's like I'd block out half the screen with my hand because I didn't want to see the guy's
the dude?
fucking wang on it.
Yeah.
And now I'm at the point where, like, I love lesbians, but like I need a
I
big
need
veiny,
something.
girthy one,
Yeah.
pummeling you
I know.
for me to finish it.
Well,
Like, it's not gay at all.
I always look at it this way, right? Like lesbian porn, I can't relate to because
There you go.
I'm not a girl.
Yeah.
But when
There
you
you go.
watch a porno where it's like a guy and a girl,
Mhm.
it's like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I have sex like that.
Yeah,
You know what I
I know a lot of dudes that feel that way. Lesbian
Yeah.
form, just saying.
It's cool.
Cutting the mustard.
Like it's like the foreplay of it.
Yeah,
But like then I'm going on black.com or something and like
Yeah, yeah,
figuring
yeah.
out because I want to see someone get pummeled.
Yeah, yeah.
I need some punishment.
Yeah.
So back to horror movies.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of porn talk.
It's tug talk.
Have you?
You're not watching porn if you're not tugging.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Have you seen anything good lately, horror wise?
Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head, honestly.
I keep saying I want to watch. It's like a Christmas horror movie that came out this year. I think it's called Better Watch Out. We haven't watched.
I
it
saw
yet,
it on box. I never watched it.
We haven't watched it yet either.
I watched Krampus for the first time, actually.
Krampus
Really?
rules.
Krampus was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like a lot of those.
Yeah,
Like, they made a lot of.
And I
shitty
think
ones.
I saw like all the like sequels, and they like get more budget.
Yeah.
So I was turned off of it, and
But
then
that big one they made for the theater was cool.
yeah, it was
very-
great. Like, have you guys ever
The
seen
cast is the most
Oh, it's
like
It's
amazing.
fantastic. Cast.
That's
it
when
makes
I.
no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw the, I think that's like
David
I said
Koechner's
the
in it
same
and
thing.
stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just like
Adam
it's
Scott.
fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Have you guys ever seen the Wrong Turn movies?
Oh,
I saw the
first
first
is
one.
awesome.
First one's-
It's made like down the street from my house. That might
For
be a
real?
little bit. It's Grimsby, I heard.
What's
Okay.
what's her name? Elijah Dushku.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very
Yeah.
hot.
But yeah, and
Yes.
then like they have like 12 of them, and like
Yeah, there's a
by
lot.
the 12th one, it's like Nazis in Germany and stuff.
How
I
many?
was like,
How many
yeah.
have you seen?
I think I've seen 4.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Right,
The
and it's the same
Kickboxer-
fucking movie.
The Kickboxer movies, by the newest one, which I think is like 8,
Yeah,
or
Yeah.
7 or 8. Tung Po talks. He's a businessman.
Yeah, I've had someone explain to me the whole like it gets real weird.
Yeah,
I think
he's
Tong Po dies in one, and then he's
yeah,
just back.
he's
and
back.
then
Just- yeah.
and he's a businessman.
That's
And he's just talking and cracking jokes. He does his one-liners.
Yeah.
I watched like the newest one and missed everything in between.
they're like contractually we have to have you.
yeah, you're
So
Tung Po.
yeah.
we don't have Van Damme anymore, so we need you.
yeah.
It was
Get CVD.
I don't know why I always remember from the first Wrong Turn was because it's about like Hicks,
Yeah.
and she goes.
Is CVD in the wrong turn movie?
He might be in a sequel. He's not in the.
I think he's in 1 or 2, dude.
Really?
I think Casper Van Dien might be in one of the
You might be right.
one of the wrong turn movies.
Like I
one
brought
of
it
the
up, like
first
I
3.
watched it yesterday, but
Because
it's
that's
been a
the
minute.
first
Yeah.
one. There's like a good-looking dude, and like he
Yeah.
goes up to a truck of Hicks to like ask him for like
Yeah.
directions or something. They're like, well, "Why don't you go comb your hair 12 more times?"
Yes.
Then he's just like, "Okay," then he leaves.
It's like, have you seen Tucker and Dale versus Evil?
Fuck. I heard it's
Amazing.
It's amazing.
I
amazing.
always try to start it at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
and but like I know like what I was like I
What
don't
is
know
it?
why I
It's
haven't
got the
watched
pirate
it.
dude from Dodgeball. in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Him and those there was a bit there where they kept making movies together, and they're like fantastic kept together.
I've like no one's ever said anything bad about that movie.
It's hilarious.
I
It's
heard-
basically Wrong Turn with comedy.
Yeah.
Like it's so good.
like what I've seen of it was fucking awesome.
Have you guys ever seen sorry to keep jumping around.
No,
But Cube?
you've talked
Cube.
about that.
Cube.
Yeah, you've
It's basically
Cube.
Cube.
Oh, Cube.
Yeah.
With,
he told me about it, and I started it.
J-Lo.
No.
No, Cube is.
I know
it's
which one you're thinking of.
You've seen it because you told me about this. I started.
They're
it, I was
basically
like,
stuck in a
it's
Rubik's
super
Cube.
sci-fi.
Yeah.
I started. I was like, this is fucking weird.
Yeah,
Wait, explain
the
more.
acting's terrible. These people just wake up and they're essentially in a Rubik's Cube,
Yeah.
and they're trying to find their way out. So, like, they go into every room looks identical, but
No, I
some
don't-
rooms kill
Maybe
you.
I
Never
could have
saw that
swore
one.
you.
It's
told
like
me
low
about it.
budget. We might have talked about it once, actually.
You know what? I'm sorry.
I think
You
because
were the
I'm a
one who
big
told me
Cube
about it.
proponent.
Yes, you were the one that I think. Yes, I think you told me about it. My bad.
Some of the acting's terrible.
I've tried it. Like I started it late, and I was like, this is really out there.
Yeah, it doesn't give you a lot of backstory or anything.
Yeah.
like some
Which I
sci-fi
don't mind.
I'm not into at all. I love Cube
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
I will give it a shot.
It's low budget. It's Canadian. Maybe that's like the charm of it.
Yeah,
But like.
yeah, isn't it weird when you like turn something on and you go, oh, this is Canadian.
You
can tell in like 2 minutes.
instantly.
Yeah, it's really very strange.
Instantly.
I don't know if it's the film they use or something, but
Like,
like
everything, like even high budget Canadian made content
Uh-huh.
is super low budget. Like I don't know what it is, but yeah, you can tell. And like
you are the one that told me about Cube. Okay.
yeah, it's really good. I love it.
But yeah, something just came out on Netflix. Is Canadian Netflix still different than?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
They just came out with like a Will Smith movie. and
Oh,
it's
yeah,
called
yeah.
Bright. It's super sci-fi. I like sci-fi, especially. I think like really good sci-fi is fucking amazing, like Blade Runner and shit.
Yep.
Like, and it's really good sci-fi.
I'm a huge sci-fi guy.
Yeah, if you like sci-fi, it's fucking awesome.
I only recently, when the last Alien came out, I was like, I've never seen an Alien. I gotta
really
catch up.
even
And
the first one's considered like a horror movie.
dude, I love them all.
Yeah.
Even the new one,
dude.
like it's a little fucking out there, and like
Yeah.
there's a line in there where they go, "I'll do the fingering," which essentially took me out of the whole fucking movie.
Gotcha.
I was like, how did this get fucking passed?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I'm big into them now.
I mean, Aliens, the second one, is maybe one of the
Unbelievable.
coolest movies ever made.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this! Look at this!
We're doing it.
This is the first.
Break the seal.
He usually pees about 4 times.
I mean, I gotta piss hard, but I was holding it. Go ahead.
I gotta like. I'm. It's either that or I go right here.
We'll probably all make rounds, so go
I'll
ahead.
be right back.
We'll handle it.
This is Andy, by the way. We've been talking for a while.
Did you literally watched every Alien movie?
Yeah. Leading up to what's
I
can't even think of what the
I
new
know
one is.
Prometheus. I think it's Alien Covenant.
Yeah, that's it.
But I actually never saw. I like Alien 3. A lot of people shit on it.
I like it too.
Where's like the weird planet and it's
Yep.
like all dudes. But I never saw the one after that. With
Like, it's
Sigourney
getting-
Weaver. Or not. Well, Sigourney Weaver's blah blah blah. Winona Ryder's in it.
Yeah, it gets like the further you get into it, the less it becomes about aliens, and the more it becomes about like religion.
Oh, I have heard that before.
But like, I don't know, it's kind of interesting because they connect it okay. It's a little far fetched, but like, I feel like I'm so into it. And I'm invested now. I'm just following along.
Oh, yeah.
you know, and
Hell
it's
yeah.
it's interesting. Like,
That's, yeah, I know. Like I've looked. There's like YouTube videos where it's like it's like the movie Prometheus explained, and like a lot of it's like
there's a ton of
religion-based.
shit, and like I'm an idiot. You have to spell things out for me.
Me too.
Right? Like,
Me too.
I'm not one of those guys that like. Well, some movies like I remember I watched. I'm a big Stanley Kubrick fan.
Yeah.
And I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I've never watched it.
I watched it once.
Uh-huh.
I hated it
Yep.
the entire time.
Yep.
I swear to God, I think about it multiple times every day. I watched it 5 years ago.
And you've only watched it that one
I've
time?
only watched it once, and I think about it all the time. I
Yeah.
don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just something like I'm a big Kubrick fan, so
Yeah.
I know there's a million meanings in it that's gone over my head.
Yes.
Right? But it's just something about it. I don't know what it is. It's interesting.
We're talking 2001 Space Odyssey.
Okay.
I know, like, I've heard the music. I mean, I should watch it. I feel like I have to.
Like, I remember I didn't enjoy it at all. It's long.
Yeah, but I think about it
I
all
saw
the
it when I was a kid. I did not like it.
No, I don't like
He
it
says
either.
the same thing, but he's like, I think about it all the time.
All the
Yeah.
time. All the time. I don't like. There's so many like. There's things I didn't catch on until afterwards, and I read about it, and it's
Yeah.
like, at the very beginning, it's like monkeys realize they can use tools and
I've heard
pick
of
things
this.
up as weapons and stuff. It's like that went right over my fucking head.
Like, that's, did you see, did you see the Neon Demon?
No.
Okay. It's like, I don't know. I'm funny about. I kind of like it. Now we're like, I like to say we're in amazing times right now because now they're kind of making movies where like they're so confusing. When you get out of the theater, you go online and
Yes.
it explains stuff to you.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool. Like, but sometimes it's too much for me.
I don't need to do homework. To figure out
Yeah,
a movie.
90% of the time, like we get in the car and like Laura goes right on her phone and starts like, "Oh, did you know this meant that?"
Yeah.
And blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah,
I
blah.
do it all the time too, but
It is cool, but
Mother
like
was like the mother was.
yeah, Mother's,
what you were telling me,
Yeah,
yeah.
Neon Demons like that too. Like you said, even like the Prometheus stuff. Like
Yeah.
I sometimes I get stuck in like a wormhole. Of, like where I'll watch like Prometheus explained, and then there's tons of other
Oh.
movies.
You know what?
The one the Ryan Gosling movie.
Drive.
Not Drive Rules, but that same director made another one with him where he's in Thailand. We talked about
Oh
it.
yeah, I never saw it.
I saw it.
Is that the place in between the pines
God.
or something? Is
I
it?
like that.
No, that movie.
I haven't watched that
fucking
one yet.
Oh,
It's great.
Is
It's
it
like
good?
2 movies in one.
Oh, really?
It's crazy. I can't think of it. Ryan Gosling's like in Thailand.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Only God Forgives, I think.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
God
But
Forgives.
like, yeah, I didn't even know. Like, I watched the YouTube. It was like, oh, that main character was supposed to be God, and I didn't even pick up on the fact that he pulls a sword out of his back, but you never even see it. Like, there's all kinds.
Oh,
of
wow.
heavy shit. Yeah, it's. I don't know. It's
you ever
it's
s-
very okay.
Have you ever seen Angel Heart with Mickey Rourke?
Dude,
Wait a minute.
tug time.
Oh, right? She
Wait.
had armpit hair and I still
Yes.
tugged it.
Wait, is this?
Ray Dong Chung. Right? Wasn't that it? That was her. Oh no, it
No, it's
Ray
the girl
Dong Chung.
from
Lisa
Cosby
Bonet.
Show.
Cosby
Lisa
Show.
Bonet.
Okay, quick. I actually heard I listened to a podcast and Joey Diaz randomly put this movie over.
Oh, yeah?
He put it over so hard.
It's Robert De Niro.
Yes.
Robert De Niro.
Louis
The fact
Cypher.
that like that chick got fired from the Cosby Show
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Mickey Rourke. And that guy went and his name is like Louis Cypher.
Louis Cypher. And then
Yeah,
at the end, he's like, didn't you notice I'm Lucifer?
Yeah.
like I don't know. It doesn't really hold up because I watched it. I was like,
Is it bad?
It's like, it was okay. Like I didn't really need
I
to
like
rush
it.
and watch that.
I
Like,
remember when
Joey Diaz made it sound like it was the best movie ever made.
I remember when The Wrestler came out, I was like, I'm on a Mickey Rourke kick, and I watched that, and I was just like blown away.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Did
fuck
you
yeah.
watch on that Mickey Rourke did this movie called Barfly.
No.
I've
Did
heard
you
of
see
it.
that one?
No.
It's awesome. Barfly is like him just being like a town drunk. It's fucked.
Really, eh?
Did you see? I love Mickey Rourke.
He's great.
Did you see Rumblefish?
Same thing. I've
He
heard of
plays
it.
the motorcycle
Yeah.
kid in that. It's awesome. So like Rumblefish, I always wanted to do this in some sort of context, like a video, like a music video where the whole movie's in black and white.
Yeah.
But anytime they're telling a story about something, there's a color in it. So like anytime the motorcycle kid, like who is played by Mickey Rourke, he's talking to Matt Dillon, who's his brother. He's talking about going to California, and he goes to California, and when he starts talking about California, they're like walking down the street.
Yeah.
And then like certain things in windows, like they walk past a pet store, and like all the fish are in color.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
It's-
sweet.
It's like Sin
It's
City almost. That's
A
what
little
I'm
bit.
picturing.
Yeah, it's Rumblefish is done. It's a CE, the dude that did The Outsiders, that wrote The Outsiders. It's S.E. Hinton
Okay.
is like the writer of it.
Yeah.
He wrote all those books. Rumblefish.
Rumblefish is like my new favorite
it.
word, by the way.
It's
I
awesome.
love that.
Dude,
That's
the
I remember the
movie's-
name. Hearing
yeah.
the name.
The
before.
movie's fucking awesome.
That's
it's
sweet.
beautiful, but it's like it's like one of those movies where like I definitely get this is gonna sound so whack, but I sometimes get really emotional about how things look.
Yeah.
Like just when things are really pretty.
Oh, I
and
get that.
and I
all.
just
I do, especially in the theater.
I start forgetting about the context of what I'm watching. It's just how pretty it is.
Yes.
So like Prometheus, I was gonna get back to that. Like
Mm.
Prometheus, like I'm such a fan of Ridley Scott and the world that he like makes.
Yep.
That I sometimes forget about the bulk of what the movie's about. And I remember like loving Prometheus, except for the scene when like they open up the bay door and the dude's like crushed, and then he turns into like this big like hulking monster
Yes.
that tries to fuck them up. Like you're fucking Ridley Scott. You don't have to put that cheap pop.
I see what you mean, yeah.
in your movie.
Yeah.
Like it was just kind of like a wasted scene.
Yeah, and it actually
For me-
takes away from it.
Yeah, and it was like it would have been awesome if they just kept the sci-fi element to it and not put this like we got to have some sort of creature in this. To
Yeah.
attack. It's like, dude, you have
Something
fucking
cool.
alien coming out of her fucking stomach.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need that, you know. Anyways, to get back to like Rumblefish is like one of those movies where like you just kind of get taken away and you're like, fuck, this is so
I love shit like that.
yeah.
You know, you were saying like about like how the alien movies got like real religious based after a while. The one that got carried away for me was like the first Matrix is awesome.
Yep.
And then the next two are obviously like different movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the third one, it's like, yeah, he's supposed to be like God or something.
I don't even know if I've ever made it through, honestly.
Dude, he like
Yeah.
he
All
dies and comes back to life, and they
The
don't
Matrix-
explain it. And it's
Yeah.
just like, what the
You know, the
fuck?
Matrix is all based on existential. It's all based on the theory of existentialism.
Yeah.
So like it basically is like a whole bunch of freeform thoughts of existentialism as to how you're supposed to think. So it's
Yeah.
it's basically like the handbook for existentialism.
Yeah.
Is basically what they were trying to accomplish.
I
with
get a
that.
lot of people, like religious people, got pissed off about it.
Of course.
I mean, the first,
and, like-
the first one's awesome.
Yo,
Yeah.
I remember leaving the theater.
game
like,
changer.
Rage Against the Machine kicks in during the credits. It was like,
Oh,
holy
it's
fuck!
amazing.
And he
Yeah.
flies
If you-
away. It was like, holy
If
fuck! The
you
movie was
just
awesome.
watch it as a fucking action movie,
Yeah.
that movie rocks.
That's
Oh
all
my
I ever
God.
watched
Three
it
of
as a
them
kid, yeah.
rock.
Well, it's like because you always forget, like there's certain, like I always say, like Chris Farley impersonations, like you hear him so often, and then you go back and watch the stuff. It's like, dude, he was so good, and then like, but it kind of ruins it. People doing all the impersonations.
Yes, absolutely.
Same thing with the Matrix thing. Like, you know, the Matrix, like leaning back with the bullets, like it got made fun of so many times, but you forgot how like game changing that was
Yeah.
when it
It's
came. It was
insane.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Insane.
Like when they just download guns and then
Oh,
they
yeah.
just go to the thing with millions of guns and fight everybody. It's
Yeah.
like fuck.
I used to love Morpheus's glasses without the fucking sides
Yeah.
to them. I was like, that's
Did you-
fucking
he,
cool as
he
shit.
wants those for his wrestling.
Did you ever see
tiny
It's a
little
very
cir-
chronic
tiny little
thing.
circle
Yeah.
glasses
Everything is chronic.
2 monocles.
with
did
no
you guys-
with no earpiece.
Christian Bale did that movie Equilibrium.
Yep. I used to
Ever see
love
that?
them. It was
I
like
never saw it.
I used to like it more than Matrix.
Yeah, it's like it's
Really?
a kung fu
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Basically a kung fu movie with guns.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So like
really
they're
cool.
doing
Christian
dude,
Bale?
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Really?
And then
It was
that
right around the same time too.
is that the one. That's the one with the emotions, right? They they have to take this pill every day. To
Yes, yep,
to
yep.
make them like not feel emotion. So like
Ah.
they're not happy. They're not.
It
sad,
might be on Netflix.
They're just living.
Really?
It might be on Canadian. I can picture the cover of it
Yeah.
so vividly right
It's
now.
him and it's Tyne Daly or
Christian Bale?
not Tyne Daly, Tay Diggs.
Oh, Tay Diggs.
And Tay Diggs is like the the guy that's like chasing after him, and he's kind of under suspicion that he's starting to feel emotions.
Yeah.
And there's this fucking samurai, like straight up just sword scene, but imagine instead of swords they have guns.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And they're just shooting at each other like
That's
that close. And,
Fucking
like,
awesome.
It's fucking
Ducking it.
awesome.
Yeah, that would have been like, I want to say like 99, 2000,
It was
2000.
very
Like
So it was
right in there.
Because I
Yeah.
remember Matrix was late 90s.
Yeah,
So it was, right,
it was
at the
right
same
in
time.
there.
I wonder if it got thrown away because of the Matrix.
Because I remember my buddy brought over that movie, and it was like nobody had heard about it, or they may have heard about it, but the Matrix was so much
They're like,
bigger.
"Oh,
and
it's
we were
like
like,
generic
oh, we like
Matrix."
Equilibrium. It was like our hipster moment.
Yeah,
like,
gotcha.
we like this movie.
Yeah, this
Well,
is
to
way
talk about
cooler.
hacking
Oh yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
Something you're super into.
Oh yeah, I'm totally into that.
Yeah.
You need me to search anything on Google?
Yeah.
I'm your guy.
I'm
So-
going to sneak a peek.
I just started
go for it,
reading the Sprawl trilogy, which is basically where cyberpunk came from.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and I think the guy's name is William Goodman, and he's the guy that wrote it. He's the guy that wrote like Johnny Mnemonic.
Oh no shit.
Yeah,
That's
so like
sweet.
the Sprawl trilogy is like it's all based in like this computer-based world, and it's like he won like a shit ton of he did Necromancer.
Neuromancer. Yeah.
Was like that's the big book out of the three.
Yep.
Or whatever. I just got them all. I just started reading them, and it's like pretty fucking awesome.
I'm happy you brought up Johnny Mnemonic too, because like,
I think that movie got buried in.
oh,
fucking
it totally
awesome.
did. But like, can we just like,
It's satirical. Like,
but just Keanu Reeves?
yeah.
Like, how
he's
awesome is that
amazing.
fucking guy?
I hate that people like shit on him. Those John Wick movies
They're like the best
They
action movies
literally
ever made.
should win Academy
Oh
Awards.
my lord.
They are so fucking good. The fact that they made a movie about a guy who is just getting the revenge for his dog.
And if you can't relate to that, like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like,
And
Jesus.
the world that they created, this like weird hitman based world where you can like go to a hotel that's like this like commonplace where there's no action. You're
Yeah.
not allowed to touch it. Even if the guy's right in front of you, you're just there.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's just
It's out of bounds.
neutral. You just go to your room, you do your thing. Everything's based on coins. Like whoever wrote that is fucking
It's
awesome.
unbelievable.
I want to see what other shit that guy wrote.
that one scene in John Wick, I think it's the first one, and it's like his dog just died, and he went to the spot where he went to the guy who knows who did it or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's just like getting the info, and then he takes the sledgehammer to the ground, and the music's playing, and it's him getting his weapons, and the guy's talking to his son, and he's like, "You
Yeah.
don't know what you've awakened. He's
Yeah.
gonna come, and he will not stop." And it's just like him getting his guns.
It's
and
like almost
Is that John Wick?
Yeah.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
talking about him being like the Grim Reaper.
yeah, exactly, and it's
Like-
just like him getting ready to fucking come kill
And
everyone.
that motherfucker is like 50
Mhm.
and doing shit that like I'm 40.
I
and,
know.
Like
Well, did you ever see the things? There's like a conspiracy theory that like he's God or something. Like he
Legitimately?
he hasn't aged.
No.
in like 20 years.
Since
Speed.
There's pictures.
Yeah.
Like he looks exactly the same.
and they like someone even went as far as they found like a guy in like the 1600s.
yes,
looks
yes,
exactly-
yes, yes.
If he is God, like let's say like obviously like I talk about not believing in anything. But like let's just
I'll
say
take a
for a
piece out of
second
that.
that like he is God and just in the year 1986 he was like
Bill and Ted.
I'm going to become an actor.
Yeah. Yeah,
Here we
this
go.
This is
I
what I'm
love
doing.
to think that like God
I've done
came
everything.
down and took over this man's body or whatever. Like that was the look he chose, and like he's not doing like. If you were to tell me like God was like a Stanley Kubrick and all his meanings are hidden,
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay. But I just love how Keanu Reeves is like, yeah, I'll just make some dope action movies. I'll be Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but I think me and you talked about this too. Like, and like they're gonna do another Bill and Ted. Like they
Amazing.
both signed on for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
They're just waiting for a script. I love the fact that he's like
Amazing.
he's totally into it.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
who's
Fucking
a
awesome.
fantastic human being?
Who's
I've
that?
never met him in my life. Is Alex Winter.
I hear
Is
he's
that,
like-
that's Bill.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Dude, I like that guy. Like makes movies.
Yeah.
He's like a fucking crazy philanthropist.
Yeah.
Like he does a lot of stuff for the world.
That's great.
Which is amazing. He did a documentary about. He did one of those documentaries
In the
like
dark web?
Blackfish or something like that. But he did it about dark web.
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
hearing about
okay.
this.
And just the fact that like no one has ever seen this movie that he was in. He like was the star of a movie called Freaked.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, and it is fucking awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he plays this guy. Fuck, if I could literally pull these names out, it would be fucking insane. So he plays like an actor.
Yeah.
And he gets sent to like Brazil
Mhm.
to like do this like job or whatever like that. When he gets there, Randy Quaid is
Hell
like
yeah.
this
Fantastic.
crazy circus owner who has these creatures who are like half something, half man. So like Benicio del Toro.
What?
Jeez, this
Yeah,
yeah, really.
Benicio del Toro plays like a half man, half dog in it.
That was his prep for Wolfman or whatever he
Yeah.
played later.
Yeah, I think that's the one. It's either he's either in Big Top Pee Wee as a half man, half dog, or he's in Freaked.
I'm
Benicio
hoping
del Toro?
it's Big Top Pee Wee.
He might
just
have
for
been.
the-
He might have been a Big Top Pee Wee. That sounds kind of.
He plays the wolf. He plays like the wolf boy in one of these movies. Then it's I can't think of his fucking name right now. Oh God, Bobcat Goldthwait plays like
Fantastic.
a hand sock that's a man, like
Keep
a
'em
man
coming.
that has like a
Keep
hand
'em
sock.
coming.
The movie's incredible.
What is it from like 2000s?
No, this is like
90s?
Bill and Ted, probably Bogus Journey. And
Oh.
then,
So
like,
none of
he
them
did,
were like Bobcat's the only one that
Yeah.
would really have a name
Kind of
for
a
himself
name.
at this time.
Randy Quaid. But
Yeah,
like,
Randy
Yeah,
Quaid.
yeah,
Yeah.
And Randy Quaid plays like this dude. The movie is fantastic. Brooke Shields is in it.
Jesus.
At the end, she's like the interviewer.
Just
She's,
as like a cameo?
interviewing. Yeah. And like when he goes,
Uncredited?
Ricky Coogan.
Ricky
the,
Coogan.
The character's name is Ricky Coogan.
Oh, okay.
Coogan.
Yeah. And they go
Great
there.
name.
He falls into like this like ooze, and then he becomes like half like monster, half like actor.
What?
And like he starts doing plays in Brazil at this like circus. And
I'm
people come to
finding
see
this
him.
movie.
Dude.
Freaked?
I'm telling you right now, if you're listening to it, Freaked.
I'm looking
The
it up.
movie is fucking awesome. It's like
great.
it's probably like late 90s in it, and it's satirical as hell.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Satirical.
Satirical is just like it's like a
It's
it's like an
In on the
embellished
joke?
story. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
like-
gotcha.
Yeah. So, yeah, you got to
Yeah,
see
with
it.
all these creatures
Ricky
and
Coogan,
stuff.
Yeah.
There's this like weird nerd that follows him around. Like, remember in what's the fucking movie where the kid keeps running up? Oh, it's fucking Freddy Got Fingered.
Oh,
where like the
fantastic
kid
movie.
keeps running up the thing and he falls like face first to the thing. And he's like bleeding.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, there's a kid in the movie that like follows the Ricky Coogan around and like. He just keeps getting fucked up, and then he ends up falling in the ooze and becomes like this huge beast, like
That's great.
but like a Punisher beast. Like
Oh,
the
sick.
kid's like a total Punisher, but then becomes like this big Punisher beast. And it's awesome. Freaked.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Was it Freddy Got Fingered? The scene when he fucking have you seen it before?
Oh.
Yeah, when he's
One of the best.
when he's going to like
It's my Bible.
is he leaving to go to college or he's moving he's like
He's
leaving
going to work at the cheese factory.
Okay, he's leaving home to go work at the cheese factory.
The
like,
cheese
'cause
sandwich factory.
He's like moving away, and like his
Yeah.
parents are all proud of him. It's like this big moment. Then and there's like an old woman. There's like, get the fuck out of the way. And then he drives off.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
It just catches you out of nowhere. It's so good.
Tom Greenman is a national treasure.
It's-
It's
I
been
mean,
you guys
hiding
are
for a
lucky.
while.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Who is it? Rory Fox that I went to wrestling school with. He actually still like Instagrams me. Like we used to love the Tom Green show because saying we're broke, barely had cable, so like
Yep.
the Tom Green show was like our bond, and like he still sends me clips from like the Tom Green show. Like I completely forgot about
That show was a game changer for a lot of things in
It's
itself. Yeah.
The fact that he went to YouTube is a game changer.
Right? Yeah.
That was like a huge one. No
Yeah.
one ever like says it. There's like YouTube shows, probably because he was the guy that was like, I'm gonna just do this here.
The fact that he nailed down Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
Like what
He's
the?
insane.
He's,
That might have been when I thought I could probably get Gina. Carano.
that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like
Like, I was
everyone's
like-
ego was like, all right.
This
Yeah.
is attainable. Like I'm
I
like
think I'm getting there.
I'm like a J-list celebrity at this point in time. Like there's like weather guys, then me,
Yeah.
and then like other. You know what I mean? Like I think I could get
That whole
Gina
little,
Carano.
like-
So she'll probably date me to turn
Yeah.
some heads.
That whole like time when it was like Freddie Got Fingered, Stealing Harvard, Road Trip. Like I
Oh,
love
yeah.
all those.
They're
movies.
great. They're
Oh,
brainless.
Road Trip
They're
really
so
caught me by
good.
surprise. It was really
Oh,
good,
it's
man.
so
Yeah.
good.
Actually, I remember I watched Stealing Harvard like way late, and I was like, oh, I didn't know this was like good.
Yeah.
Like, it was actually
Like the one scene they break into the guy's house. I can't remember what it is.
And his balls are out.
No, but like he just starts heating up a brick of cheese in the microwave.
Oh yeah.
Like mid break-in.
Is that the one though where he like the old man's balls are out?
Yes, yeah, it
Right.
is Stealing Harvard.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it? I thought it was Road Trip is when the old dude has a boner.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he starts knocking
And the
stuff
French
over.
toast scene like made me laugh like a fucking little kid.
What was the French
He,
toast scene?
the guy orders the nerd guy.
Yeah.
Orders French toast without powdered sugar.
Yeah.
So he sends it back, and the guy like licks the powdered sugars off, throws the toast in the catches it in his sweatpants. and then gives it back.
He doesn't go like, oh yeah, sure, no problem, man. And then he goes to the back. It's just like a random scene.
Yeah.
That's not even an
That
important character.
actor though
Is it Artie Lang?
It's Artie Lang.
Is it? Okay.
Is it? Okay, I thought it was
Which
somebody.
I watched Dirty Work the other day.
Dirty Work's phenomenal.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
I remember me and my buddy rented it from a video store, like almost like just like this movie's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Like whatever. And like literally the cover is like Norm Macdonald like just putting his sunglasses down. It's so shit. And then we were in love with it.
Norm
Norm Macdonald is
Bob Saget directed it.
Yeah.
Like it's so good. Man.
I want God to come back as Norm Macdonald. That's what I'm looking for.
Did you listen to his? You got to listen to his book on tape.
I've heard it's fantastic.
Because he
I
does
listen
it.
to his
He
podcast
reads
or
it?
show, whatever
And
it is.
Dude, I remember Keith was listening to it in the van when we were on tour, and it gets into something, and then I would fall asleep, nod off. I would wake up, and he would still be on the same story.
Great.
An hour later, just talking about that, and no one knows if anything is real. There's shit in it that he's talking about, and he's using he's I don't want to put this guy's name in here, so we're just gonna call him this. And then the
And he just
name
goes
is just
off.
Mr. Pennyweight. You know what I mean? Something like that. And he just keeps talking about things, and no one knows if it's real or if it's just him ribbing everybody.
I've said that before. When podcasts really started taking off, where everybody could have them.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys had the same thing. I got asked to be on a podcast literally daily.
Oh,
Everyone
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And I remember talking with a couple buddies. It's because it would always be the same questions and whatnot.
Yes.
And just I had
Where'd
a
you go to
group of
wrestling
buddies.
school?
Yeah, and be why don't we just talk shit on each other and just cause all this drama that doesn't exist
Yeah.
just for great content. So people are always talking. Let's just bullshit everything. Don't listen because don't get your feelings hurt. It's all bullshit.
Yeah. I feel like we never consciously talked about this, but this podcast obviously is gonna be wrestling heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's a wrestler and I'm trying to get into this. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be wrestling heavy. And the thing is this is probably gonna a wrestling purist if there is even a wrestling purist that listens to this.
Yeah.
Like
They've checked out
the
a lot of
fact that the fact that
talk.
yeah, the fact that we kind of don't have that barrier of kayfabe and that and shoot
Yep.
it just doesn't this is life. You're
Oh,
listening
absolutely.
that's what you're listening to is life. And this is how it is. And it just in our world of wrestling, that was one thing that when I sent you that text, I sent you a message that was just hey, it's weird that we're not friends in real life.
Dude, literally that message made my day.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be friends, friendlier.
Yeah.
And
I wanted to be
literally,
friends.
I wanted to be way closer, and then I got a text from you, and it was this feels so good.
Well, it's I think
I wanted to be closer.
Yeah, but I said this to Kevin earlier, and I realized I never sent a text message. Is because I think you and I you instantly sent me a text, and then we just started firing off, right there.
Yep.
And the one thing that I wanted to say was it feels good to not be brothers and just be friends.
Yes, yeah.
And that's a
That's
real
an
world
awesome
thing
way,
where
yeah.
you're in a locker room and it's this is a brother. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's cool to say that,
Mhm.
but once I leave the locker room, we're not talking.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's cool. I'm happy when I see you, and it's great, and I love hearing your stories. But when I leave the locker room,
That's it.
you don't think of me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We're not friends.
Yeah.
So and I would always tell people, I was man, I was me and Hacker have this weird thing. Every time I talk to him, I kind of get that Step Brothers moment.
We gel
You know what
pretty
I mean?
good.
Where it's kind of I'll say something that is just terrible. Not I'm talking matches. Oh
Yeah.
God, that match was awesome, and you're yo, that match was awesome, and it was terrible. You know what I mean? And I think we both have this love of things that are just very bad, and I feel I get along with a lot of people that understand that. Where I can watch something and go I'm laughing on the inside,
Yes.
but also being I'm even though it was terrible, I'm 10 right now.
Yeah.
This feels awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm 40.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling 10 years old right now. This is fucking
Well,
great.
I just love silliness.
Yeah.
I love inappropriateness. I love I will say if my phone ever gets hacked, some of the things I've said to my idiot friends to
Yeah.
make them laugh.
Will just bury
Take them.
me.
Oh my God! They're not gonna kill me. They're gonna string it out for years. It's the worst. And when I just find people that kind of have that same sense of fucking humor and silliness and just understand nothing's serious here.
Yeah.
I don't say it's all just to make people laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
I'm
that
not
was
saying
like-
that I'm way more like I'm honest about everything.
You're not a negative guy.
No.
Like you're by far one of those people where it's like, if I was in a wrestling locker room and someone was like, "Man, fucking Hacker's an asshole," I'd just be like, "Dude, this guy sucks."
You
Like,
don't get it.
it's-
Like that's exactly what I was saying. It's like a lot of the times you can always kind of pinpoint a person when they just don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
So like if
Oh, yeah,
something's
yeah.
happening and that
don't
person's-
get it or they get it is
he's
like
just
such
kinda
a
sitting
strong
there like-
term.
and you get that stern face, like you're out. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like you're on the outside.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. And you could be talking about anything. It's just like the guy's not getting it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that happened with wrestling. It happened like when we talked about doing that like Christmas show thing, and I think we talked about it a lot. Is like we wanted everybody that just got it.
Yeah.
Where
yeah.
it's like,
and that's definitely what it felt like in the
Yeah.
back. Like
Good.
it was.
and it's like
Good,
not
good,
like
good.
like no criticism. It's just like go out there, have fun, and like do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah,
You know what I
we're
mean?
here to
Like,
have fun.
And like I'd never met Brody.
yeah.
Right, and like we were working the next day after the Christmas show, and it's just like immediately, like everybody was on the same vibe that day.
Yeah.
Good.
Like there's nobody like Josh Barnett was the only guy I was worried about, and that's just because that was like my inner mark.
Yeah, because it's
course.
just
yeah,
Barnett.
yeah, But like everybody else, it was just like we're all here. If we're here, we know we're all here for a reason. We're all like on the same level. You know what I mean? It
Yeah,
just
yeah.
was like it was just dudes hanging out, and we
Yeah.
had to do this wrestling
It's
thing.
what, like
Yeah.
when I say that, like like guys, like just go out there and just have fun. Like
Yeah.
there's a line there because there's guys who it's like, yeah, let's have fun. That doesn't mean let's go out there and fuck off and just like have a shit match and
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but like let's fucking work hard here. And everyone we booked was good.
Yeah.
Like let's go out there and work hard, but let's have fun too. Where it's not like I don't want people coming to the back and throwing chairs because
Yeah,
the spot got blown or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it was we wanted everybody on that level.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
and
saying?
that was exactly it. Where it's like, even if something funny did happen during a match, or like something did get botched, like you laugh.
oh yeah,
And it's
yeah.
just like whatever, you know what I mean? And it's like it's funny too because when I first started like working for Smash, like Tarek was a dude where I was like, me and him literally got thrown at each other immediately.
yeah.
You know, and like I remember him kind of like sandbagging me on my first choke
Choke
slam
slam.
of him, and I remember being really mad.
Mhm.
And I remember like saying something to him after, and he kind of just like blew it off, and I was like. Like instantly like angry at him and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I remember like then we literally had a year of just doing shit to each other. You
By
know?
the way, that choke slam, that sandbag choke slam, made it look way better.
Yeah,
It was like a-
way
It's
better.
like a deadlift choke.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. And I think this isn't to shit on him. That I think it was just timing.
Yeah,
I'll say,
I don't
yeah,
think
yeah,
it
for
was.
sure.
I
It
remember
wasn't a
it was
sandbag.
mistimed.
He
Yeah.
definitely didn't like purposely
No.
do that. So yeah, we did like a year, and I remember like always kind of being not scared of him, but like intimidated by him because it was like, man, I don't think this guy takes me seriously.
Yeah, yeah.
Blah blah. And his just I'm looking at character wise, like, man, he's going out there and he's saying some stuff like he probably believes this shit. Like blah blah blah. He's like calling me like a hack musician and
Yeah.
blah blah. Are you here?
Meanwhile, he was probably one of your biggest fans. Like he's totally into your music.
Yeah,
It's great.
So then I remember I went to a Super Kick show that he was on, and I remember him like grabbing me, like pulling me upstairs, and he was like, "Hey man, I watched our match back, and like it was pretty good."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that was awesome." And then like from that day on, we had this like weird rapport where like I knew he was in. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yeah.
Like on that. So like then we started making the joke. We're like, I seen him everywhere.
Mhm.
And then it was just like, oh yeah, you're gonna be at my house later. Like yeah, yeah. Oh, we live together now. All right, you know. And like it's cool to like know when you go to like when I go to Smash, like I have my dudes.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
By the way, we haven't mentioned Frankie once on this podcast.
Oh, that's the first
That's
time
true.
we haven't.
And I know this is getting real late.
I was going to do a check. Kev, how you doing on time?
I'm good.
Okay, because Kev's got a big
Yeah.
dinner date
We're
coming
gonna
up later
do.
with his girl.
Let us talk Frankie, and then
Yes, please.
Are you hungry?
No, I'm always.
Do you
hungry.
like pizza?
Do you got to rush home?
No,
Okay, 'cause I
no,
have.
I don't work till next year.
I don't eat pizza as of January 1st.
We're gonna eat some pizza.
I think we're going to Rocco's
I
after
don't-
this.
We can. What about all you can eat pasta? It's
You
so-
really love
it's
it.
So
Oh,
good. We only went one
Well,
time.
Can we make this?
It's so good.
What do you have going on later?
Nothing.
Okay, so
I was
we
hoping we'd go
can
see a
make
movie
date on
after
this.
that.
Okay, let's go all you can eat pizza
Okay.
or pasta
Okay.
right now because it's on the way to AMC.
Yeah.
We'll see what movies are out at AMC.
Do you got time for a movie hacker?
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally.
And
I
then-
told my girlfriend, I was like, I don't want to be home.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's just like, I know.
That's great.
Don't worry.
Literally, my only thing is if we go see Jumanji, like Laura wants to go.
Oh, that's fine.
But like literally, my whole day is shit.
So then we go to Rocco's later, after the movie.
I love that's.
It's wood fire pizza and wood fire.
You don't have to tell
chicken
the place
wings.
called Rocco's. I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in.
It's nice.
Yeah,
It's
weird.
real nice.
Yeah.
Weird.
Okay.
You like a place called Rocco's,
Right?
So Frankie talk.
This is the best day
We
I've
gotta-
had in a long time.
We're
But
gonna
anyway,
talk
likewise.
about Frankie TM,
Oh, absolutely.
and like I think no one will know him better because you're a Canadian.
I mean, have you known him for a while?
I've known him for a while. I don't have like
Yeah, like
I don't
deep-
have a ton of stories. The one I know,
Laura has great fucking.
Yeah, Laura's
Frankie
known him for a
stories.
while.
like I've seen him at a fucking ton of shows.
Oh, okay.
What, do you
But-
remember your first interaction with him?
No, because I remember
So
I
you
avoided
didn't- you
him for
didn't-
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I gotta say, so you didn't know when he was like skinny backyard.
No,
and then he
no.
turned into a ginormous monster.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
No, we were wrestling at the same time, but we weren't crossing paths at all. I
Gotcha.
remember like I did a couple squared circle shows when he was a regular there, and I remember like just being. I had never said hi to him, and I'm the worst with hellos and goodbyes. By the way, like I won't say goodbye. I will today, but at a wrestling show, you know, like I probably kayfabed you.
That's fine.
Yeah, I always do. I'll always do. I'm fucking out of
I
there.
do. You always
Irish
keep,
goodbye.
keep your train of thought, but like yeah, you're real big on the like no goodbyes. Just get out. Which
Get the fuck out of there.
dude. You don't have to go around and say goodbye to everybody.
No.
Like hellos, yes, I get it, but like goodbyes, like it's not.
I
it's
try to
not
make a
important.
point of saying bye to the promoter because I'm trying to get that pay window quickly, and bye to the
Yeah.
guy I worked.
Yeah.
But if I don't see
Or
him
like-
on my way out,
Exactly, and then the people you pass on the way out.
yes,
Like, that's
exactly.
it, man.
It's an old school like thing we do just to appease each other when really we don't even care.
Yeah, I remember doing it once. I was a WWE extra, and it was like we did like pay per view, Raw, SmackDown. SmackDown's done. Everyone's going home, and like this was right around the holidays. They're all going home for the holidays.
Yep.
I was trying to say goodbye to everybody. They did not give a fuck. They were so ready to go home for the holidays.
Like the only reason we do it is because it's just like it's this old code. But like I've never gotten pissed at anyone for
No,
not saying
like,
goodbye.
yeah.
I
no.
don't even know
Yeah,
if you did.
exactly. Like the
Like if I
hellos-
see you in the room and we never like say hello to each other, like maybe there's something there, but that's also 50% me too.
Exactly.
Right? So like there's
Exactly.
no heat there.
So that's the thing, when he was like, "Man, that motherfucker hasn't said hello to me." So then go say hello
Go-
to them.
Yeah,
What the
exactly.
fuck?
And it's 99.9% of the time, it's not because he thinks he's better than you. It's awkward just to go up to someone
Yes.
you've never met, like while they're talking with people. Like sometimes you gotta wait for your opportunity, and it's never there.
yeah,
So it
you don't
doesn't
want to bug them when they're
Yeah.
talking or whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I remember Frankie, like seeing him, and like just being terrified of him. He
Yeah.
had this deep fucking voice. So I just like didn't say hi to him.
Yeah.
Ever.
So you just
Like
wrote-
honestly,
you just wrote
the
him off.
first time I met, like it must have been C4, and like I said hi to him, and he gives you that hug with like the 3-second delay
Yeah.
in it, where he literally like
gives you a real
embraces
hug.
you.
Feels nice,
Cody
though.
Diener gives real hugs.
Yes,
too.
yeah, and I remember he said something. He's like, in his fucking voice, he was like, "I watched your match last month, and it was fucking great." And I was just like,
Wow.
"Yeah, yeah."
Yeah.
Like I was just like, "This is like I don't know how to react."
Uh huh.
The one story, I'll say it's hearsay,
Yeah.
but I remember I wasn't even there, but it's a great story, so I'll say it. It may have been Frankie, it may not have been. Let's just put it that way. They were in was it Nunavut or something? No, they were in Timmins.
Uh-huh.
So they did a show and they were staying in the hotel.
I think I already know.
Laura
where the
might-
story- I
might
think I
have
know
known.
where the story's going.
And there was like a boardroom, and like there was a company doing some kind of
Yes.
presentation, and it was in the hotel that everyone was staying at. So Frankie came down in his underwear and needles hanging out of his shoulder,
Literally
and just
sitting
like
on his
walked
shoulder.
into the boardroom and like asked some random question, or might have just like walked through. Everybody stopped, and he just walked out like it was nothing.
Can you imagine that?
No. Like in wrestling, it's hilarious because
Yeah.
like we're in this fucking weird bubble.
Yeah.
That is like literally like, yo, somebody
Insane.
don't call the cops, call the like SWAT team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
like,
something wrong.
Every person in that boardroom still remembers that to
Oh
this
my
day.
God,
Gear
yeah.
and team.
I explained this last week. So like when we're down there, we're like calling the matches. Remember, like after we had wrestled, it was like, okay, everybody quiet.
Yeah.
And then you look at the context of an interview, and it's Frankie with his contacts in, black shit all over his face, looking the way he looks,
Yeah.
and then just Tyson in his sweats talking to him. And then they got up and just walked. It wasn't even like there was no heated talk.
No.
It was just them communicating. This is a promo in wrestling. And then Frankie just gets up and walks away.
Yeah.
And like,
snake on his head like a turban.
yeah,
Normal
when you
dude.
watch
Yeah.
it, like when wrestling fans watch that, they're going to go like, yeah, this is a cool promo. This guy's talking, blah, blah, blah. If my father saw that, he'd be like, what the fuck is going on in there?
It's funny you bring that up too, because I went out at the Christmas show. I went out to watch Tim Thatcher and Josh Barnett.
Yeah.
And I knew they were gonna do like a catch as catch can style match, right? And it wasn't all wrestling fans, so they were already reacting a little different.
Yeah.
So with this, I knew it was gonna be interesting, but I just wanted to go watch it.
Yeah.
So I went out and I'm watching it, and RJ City comes up beside me. We don't say anything to each other, and like they're grappling, like literally grappling into like. The person that doesn't follow wrestling or mixed martial arts, it looks like humping. I get the joke.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of a lull in the crowd, and RJ looks at me and he's like, "Man, when you're really outside of the bubble, this looks so fucking weird."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yes, you are completely right."
Yeah.
Like to us, it's just like, yeah, I get what they're doing, but like the random person, somebody walks in, they're like, "What is this bullshit?"
Little throwback was I saw Integrity in not Lackawanna,
Bolton.
Lockport.
Mm-hmm.
Integrity played Lockport like when I was like still in high school, and it was
Kenzie's.
just after it was just after Ken Shamrock and Hoist Gracie had their super fight where they just laid on top of each other.
Yeah.
And they were playing it at the fucking venue.
Yeah.
I mean, this was when UFC was not a thing.
Yeah.
And like I remember I had already seen the fight. I remember all I wanted to see was because I think they did 2 rounds. At the start of the second round, Shamrock catches him with a good punch, and then they go back
Pulls him down,
and like that's all I want to see. And like I mean, so this fight is on for I think it was like a half an hour or something of just 2. Yeah, and I remember like everyone just being like, "Who are these 2 guys fucking each other?"
Yeah,
like, what is
all
this?
it looks like?
Because they just look like they're just laying on top of each other.
All it looks like.
Yeah. Outside the bubble, exactly.
It's true.
Yeah. That's like it's just like context wise. Like imagine like when all the gimmicks were in WWE at that time, like TL Hooper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Everyone
like
had a shoot job.
Yeah, like that's it.
And
They're bringing it, they're bringing
the
it straight to
goon.
the ring. Yeah.
IRS.
Like my dad watching that would be like, "What is this?"
I know, talking to a lot of people, that's actually where they lost it.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's just too cartoony.
Yeah.
But I was so into it at the time, like looking back, I still watch it. It's like, yeah, it's wrestling. He's TL Hooper, of course.
Yeah.
It's funny.
He's a plumber.
Yeah.
I just thought of this today. I remember like me and my best friend who went to wrestling school together. We were always wrestling fans together. And I remember there was like a time in the 90s where like I tried to think I was too cool for wrestling and I was growing up and getting out of it. And I remember telling him that like because we sat next to each other in class. And I told he like, almost came out of his chair. He was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But like he had to be kind of quiet because class was starting. And I was like, "Yeah, man, it's just because like we've been saying it's not very good lately." And he was like getting so heated, but he couldn't say anything because the class was starting. And then I remember like 2 weeks later, he told me like Mr. Perfect came back, and then I was right back into wrestling. Like that's all it took.
I remember like I was a big Garth Brooks fan growing up. And then in high school, I found out.
So many people can say that.
And then in high school, I found out like country music was not cool. Yeah. And I remember doing like a questionnaire for something. I can't remember. It was like grade 9, like getting to know everybody. And they're like, "Who's your favorite musician?" And I wrote Exhibit, but I spelt it like an actual exhibit. And I was outed immediately. And they're like, "What's your favorite song?" And I was just like, The Thunder Rolls. Like I'm outed. Like I don't know one song. I hardly know his name. It was just like it was totally uncool to like him. So I was like, yeah, I don't fucking like him.
Yeah, that's so good.
That's fucking awesome. I remember like I had a Georgetown Hoyas was like I like wearing college stuff was cool for a little bit. And I think my mom bought me like a Georgetown Hoyas like sweater. And then
Georgetown was so sick when I was a kid.
Yeah, and then and they had like their image was like a bulldog, which I liked.
Right on.
I didn't know shit about basketball or college basketball.
Yeah.
And I had to write something about it. They had to write something that's your favorite, and I wrote about like I thought they were a football team, and I was like, oh yeah, like Georgetown Hoyas are a great football team. And obviously the teacher was like a fan. He was like, well, first off, I know they're a basketball team, not a football team. And I was like super embarrassed.
That reminds going back to the exact same day where I got outed. I remember like I guess it was like the emo phase that was really in, and this other girl who was a poser like me, the same question they said, "Who's your favorite band?" And at that time, there was a very like, it was called the Taste of Chaos tour.
Oh yeah,
right.
Oh, yeah,
and like I remember everyone talking about it. I had no fucking idea what it was. And on her favorite band, she wrote the Taste of Chaos, and all the friends were like, "That's a tour. That's not a band." So like we were like
so
together in like the yeah we're big fakes.
Yeah.
Should have been honest.
That's awesome. One thing I want to say, so I don't forget to say this, was like we said this before we started, but like because you did the hacker gimmick for a while, where you were doing the keyboard and the glasses.
Yes.
And then I remember like it was obvious like you were kind of like evolving out of it.
Yeah.
Like you still kind of came down with the glasses, but like you were wearing different gear, and like you were just turning into almost like really good wrestler guy.
Yeah.
And then like so now I think it's like, because how long you been wrestling for now?
15 years.
There it is. Like I think I know it's just like you said, now you're going through this transition year where like you're turning heel, you're trying to change a lot of things. Like I think it's fucking awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate
No,
that.
dude, it's huge,
Honestly.
man. And then like changing, like you
I
said,
think it sucks.
There we go.
changing your gear, changing your style, and then going like you said, like you're like, oh, this year's been tough. I've had some shit matches, but it's like, yeah, like you're trying to change things up.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a smash hit right away.
Yeah.
And and for you to keep things fresh, like I don't know, are you having like fun, like trying to like work on different shit?
I've definitely, like I always say, this has been my busiest year
Yeah.
as a dates. Like I've wrestled nonstop. It's also been my worst year in ring. I always joke about, but it's definitely been one of the
But
most
it's
fun.
busiest. That's
Creatively.
fucking great. Yes.
Oh my god, like
Because like you said, after 15 years, man, creatively is huge.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Not to like myself, like my goal in 2018 is I don't want to be Braxton Sutter, the babyface anymore.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Braxton Sutter, the guy who wears pants and he can throw a drop kick.
well,
whatever.
like that's how I was feeling. Like I don't mean to stroke my own ego, but just like Hacker Scotty O'Shea, the baby face.
Yes.
I almost had it down to a science.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
and it's just like I had enough practice with it, where it's like I could win over most crowds.
Yeah.
I could have good matches. Like I knew my formula for putting stuff together.
Yeah.
I could input anybody's shit in there. Like I just knew.
It says a lot.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, it
awesome.
was fun, but like no doubt, like if you noticed this past year, I was also like I put every match together around my control delete cannonball.
Yeah.
And then this year I'm just like, I'll do the move. I'm done putting my matches together.
Yeah.
Right. And like that alone was just like
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You're,
it's
basically-
totally
you're
different.
out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I'm
which
telling a
is
different story every
crucial
night
for,
now.
Like getting out of your comfort zone is crucial for
Yeah.
like, so many things.
It's just fun. Like I always I look at wrestling a lot like it's just the challenge, and like I like being challenged like that. Like I remember once I was wrestling Crazy Steve and the ring broke right before we
Yep.
went out.
Perfect.
And like I had a bunch of springboard shit.
Yeah.
And I remember him just being, I mean, Crazy Steve's half blind.
Yep. There
And
you go.
I remember him being like, yeah, no more springboard shit. And the first rope broke, so they put the second rope broke, so they
Switched
moved
them.
the first rope to it.
Yep.
And they were like, don't touch it. And like one of my falsies was like a moonsault off the second.
Yep.
And he's like, let's cut that out. And then I was like, yeah, maybe. And then when we got out there, I'm just playing with it. I was just like, it would feel so great if I could hit it though on a broken ring.
Yeah.
And I just did it. And like,
Fuck
like,
yeah.
like I like those little challenges. So like this year has been a lot of little challenges, which has been fun.
in a different way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I just think it's crucial, and I think you're gonna have a big year because I always say like in a locker room, like if you're there, I'm always like, where are you sitting? So like,
Yeah.
we can just sit because you get it and you understand wrestling and you have a creative mind. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
That's like the one
I
thing
appreciate
that
that.
every single person says about you is like, oh, he's the easiest person to put a match with.
that's another.
I try to be.
Like I
Which
was
is
saying,
like-
Yet again, I don't want to be difficult, right? It goes
Yeah.
back to
But
But
that.
it's not like that. I think
No, I know.
you're definitely downplaying yourself. So like I think that's like a surefire thing where like you don't going back to like how going into like a cold room. Matt Cross said it to me once, and like it was funny because how I talked to you about pathways. I used to look at like planning a thing like with writing a song.
Okay.
So it's a lot like that. Like everything has an intro. It has there's bridges, there's choruses, there's outros, there's breakdowns. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it's writing a song. And then Matt was like, that's really weird that you say that because that's how when people ask me that don't know about things, it's like, imagine 4 musicians going out there and saying like, all right, you do this cool bass thing, you do this cool guitar thing, you do this cool vocal thing, he does this cool drum thing. Let's write a song and then go literally instantly and play it to a crowd right there without practicing.
Wow.
Which is wild.
Yeah, it is
if
wild.
you think about
Yeah.
that,
Very
that's
true.
impro. Like it's what you do is like improvise. You know how to play the instrument,
Yeah.
but
That's so
do you-
crazy when you think about it like
Do you know
that.
how to put it together with? If you're a drummer and he's a trumpet player, how do you make that happen?
Blend this.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And like the cool thing is in real life is like you could get in a room like this, practice it, hear if it makes sense, keep writing a song,
Yeah.
Perfect
Songs
it.
aren't written in a day.
Yeah.
But like you know, you have weeks at a time, and then you go to a studio, you record it, then you get to take that and you get to go to a crowd, and like it's this like 3-month thing.
Yeah.
In legit a half an hour, you're writing a song, and then you have to literally entertain,
Yeah.
play the song
Perform
you
it.
literally just talked about in front of a crowd that's never heard the song before.
That's
and
so weird
make
when you
them
put it
go,
like that.
oh, that was a great song.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we just wrote it.
Or that was the song of the year.
Yeah.
Right?
We literally just wrote that when I was putting my boots on.
Like I'm sure you guys are the same. If I never tell anyone I'm a pro wrestler, you have to like get it out of me. But if it comes out, I'll entertain it for a second until I see where it
depending on the
goes.
situation.
Yeah, and like I love when people are like I'll be like, oh, I'm wrestling on Saturday, and they'll be like, oh, so are you like getting together with the guys like tonight to put it together?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
First off, like, I just wish I had that kind of time.
Yeah,
I'm not even
exactly.
insulted. Like, I just wish I had that kind of time.
wish
No,
it existed.
I'll see them like an hour before if I'm lucky. We'll put something together. It's more on the fly, and then we go out there and do it. And and if the crowd wants something different, chances are like we're not going to change everything. I'm not going to say like I go out there and everything's inaudible, but like we'll listen to the crowd and kind of go with the vibe they're giving us too. Like it's way simpler than the everyday fan thinks it is.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, yeah, we're gonna talk for a couple minutes. You do this, I do this. Let's go out there and do it. And if if we forget everything, just try to make it look like we're not fucking up constantly.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I remember a big one for me was like when I decided like how you're changing things up now. Like I changed things up when I was gonna say this too. Like because as far as creativity, like we have to remember, like we're in a good place. Like if you're in WWE or like a lot of places, like you're kind of told, in a way, you're told what to do. Like we can literally do whatever the fuck we want.
Anything.
You know what I mean? So like keep that in mind. Like with your heel stuff, it's like you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, that's like when I changed things up. I literally like to me, I was like thinking of all these things I had in my head, and I was like, I'm gonna do the exact opposite of all this stuff. Like people always told me I should wear wrestling tights. I have like decent legs, but I was like, no, I want to wear pants. You can put more designs on pants.
That's neat.
So I fucking went down to pants, and then like I wanted to do the studded belt. And I remember being taught they were like, oh, like certain boots and like belts or like, you know, you could hurt somebody wearing that stuff. I was like, fuck it, I want to wear like fucking look at what our truth wears.
Until I hurt somebody. He has like hula hoops on his belt half the time.
Buckles and fucking. I was like, I'm wearing this fucking belt. Like, and then like even and then the big thing was like matches, like because I was always such like generic babyface guy. It was like, here's your shine, here's your heat, here's your blah blah blah, and like. I wanted to start playing with all that stuff, and like I didn't want to chain wrestle. My big thing was like when I was a babyface, I didn't want to do hip tosses and arm drags because I always did the hip toss arm drag match. And you were one of my first matches when I switched over to pants. We had a singles and smash, and you like, I remember trying to like pitch to a lot of guys like, you know, like I don't want to lock up, like I'm gonna come, you know, I want you to come at me right away. I'm gonna get right on you. Like it just threw like their head just started spinning.
Yeah,
they had no, and like you really understood it. Like how to have these different like main event style matches almost, you know what I mean? We're like ding ding ding, like duck, okay, let's get right into it, bang bang bang. Like if I'm a babyface, I always like to have the heel get more aggressive with me first, and then I can turn it around.
Yeah.
But like you really got it. And then like I remember Laura laughed because like at the end of that match, I got a "Please come back" chant, and like it was like my debut because I was like a whole new wrestler. Like I was like I already wrestled there a whole bunch of
many times.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this guy's debut, he did a great job.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, yet again, like just creatively. Did I say that right?
Creatively.
Creatively. Like I can have like a generic good match nonstop, but I get bored of it after the second
I did it for 10
fucking
years,
match.
bro. I did it for 10 years.
Exactly. Like you'll never see me do a head scissors as a baby face.
Yep.
Like there's certain things like the hip toss arm drag. I hate doing the standoff. I hate doing like in a multi-man match doing a pyramid spot, although sometimes it's just necessary.
Yes.
You know, but like it's not even for the crowd. It's me selfishly being like, no, I have to switch it up to keep my sanity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
the point of that was like I was like I was saying before, if people are like, oh yeah, I don't know, man, fucking Hacker Scotty's an asshole. Like, well, that guy sucks.
Yeah.
Like that's the other one too. Is like, honestly, you are one of the easiest. I've always said that. I told Kevin, anybody that works here for the first time, I always say, dude, Hacker's the easiest person to work.
Thank you. I appreciate
but that's
that
the thing.
so much.
Same thing. If anyone ever says they had like difficulty working with you, or like, it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I've only wrestled that one time, and I remember on the way up, like Brody had just a terrible match the day before.
Yeah.
And he was like really like, I was like, dude, just you and Scotty go for it.
He said,
I'll just be the guy that you need me to be somewhere, I'll be there.
Like
you
Brody
just
said,
do your thing.
Brody said the same thing. He's like, once we got to talking, like ideas just pop up.
Yeah.
Like you're so
It
easy
was like
to put stuff
super
together.
easy. And
Well, thank you.
But that was like it. I was just like, essentially, it's just Brody's coming out party.
Yeah. Oh,
and like,
absolutely.
give me two things, I'm good. And then like, I'll catch your dive.
Yeah. No, you caught all
Promise.
the dive. All the dive.
both feet to the dome.
Yeah,
No,
right to my head.
I
But-
appreciate that because sometimes it's so like I love wrestling, but I realized I haven't like saying like Steve Austin's entire career was like 14 years.
Yeah.
Right. I've been doing it like in February, like from the moment I started taking bumps till now, it'll be 15 years. And like I know a lot of people will be like, wow, he hasn't fucking done anything, but I've been wrestling consistently for 15 years, and I take a lot of pride in that. And all I ever wanted to be, I became a pro wrestler to try to have the best matches and to wrestle.
Yeah.
Right. Like if I get to the WWE WrestleMania main event, that's a cherry on top. But like I became a wrestler to wrestle, so I've been like legitimately living the dream. As terrible as that sounds,
I'm
forever. You know what I mean? Like
That's good. Yeah.
I think it beats it beats other people up more than me. As long as I can consistently wrestle, that's what keeps me happy. I'll take that as
And
far
you're
as I
doing
can. Yeah, and like Smash, like I could just wrestle Smash and wrestle 6 times a month. You know what I mean? Like I'm so fortunate.
I say it on here all the time. Smash is such a godsend.
Yeah,
It's
like
unbelievable.
Like so, it's just I don't know. I get really self-conscious talking about how long I've been wrestling sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's just like,
dude,
I'm happy. I'm big on happiness.
You know what's funny was around the same time, like 12, 15 years, I used to get embarrassed telling people how long I've been wrestling for. Now I've come into my own, and I own it, but
put it to like
terms
like you just said it, like you were like Steve Austin's entire career was 14 years. You're at 15.
Yeah.
The Beatles had 9 years.
That's insane.
Every Time I Die's been a band for 20.
That's insane.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like they have me in everything except for duration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I have them over. I have one thing over the Beatles that I lasted longer. You know what I mean?
But like you're happy doing what you're doing.
For sure.
Right? Like I think a lot of people lose sight in that, and like if this is all I ever do, right? If this is as far as I get, I'm going to be fine with it because I'm legitimately happy doing what I'm doing. If it gets further, great. Yeah. Right? But, like, I just like wrestling.
It's
there was a question on the last podcast. Like, they were just like, what's a dream tour for you? And I was like, literally going on my first tour was a dream tour.
There you go.
Like, everything else after is just, everything, this right now, everything is like just a gift. You know what I mean? Yeah. I get to do cool shit.
Like, I know guys who are far more successful than me in pro wrestling, and they don't love wrestling anymore.
Yeah, they're fucking miserable.
Right? And it's like, that's my fucking... I've never hit that dark period where I've lost my love for it.
Yeah.
And I feel so fortunate with that. Like, just do what makes you happy. I used to kind of get bitter towards the guys that would just, like, come back and wrestle because their daughter has never seen them. They'd wrestle once a month. And I'd be like, what the fuck does it... Like, why are you even wasting your time? It's like, man, if it's keeping him happy, who am I to talk?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, and it's just like, I've learned that. I've learned to just do what makes you happy. That's the most important thing.
Dude.
Well, the thing, like, I was going to say this earlier was, like, it's, stop. Like, we were talking about, like, advice guys who just, like, why is this guy giving me advice? I didn't ask. Like, I just saw him have a shit match. Like, what the fuck? But it's like, yeah, dude, worry about yourself.
Yeah,
like,
that's
you know
all.
what I mean? Like, yeah.
And in wrestling, nobody worries about themselves.
No.
Yeah.
It's always
they're always
like,
either worried about other people stealing their moves or, like, give
he
this
didn't
guy
drive
advice.
far enough for this show. He doesn't really want it.
No, just fucking, like you said, enjoy it.
This is a crazy story that I was involved in. And it's crazy because I guess when you're, like, in a group of people, sensory overload hits in. So, like, there's a million stories going on, and, like, you just catch, like, one at a time.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? But sometimes you're in, like, a weird hyperbole. I guess everybody in this room should listen to this story because we're kind of all in different places in our careers and whatever like that. But this was crazy. Our old manager was friends with a dude that was in a giant country band. And it's like a Nashville, like one of the newer... I'm saying with new, it's like within
pop
the last,
country
like,
type.
Yeah, 20 years.
Yep.
If I said the name, you'd go, "Oh, I know them." I just don't want to say it just for the simple fact that this is really depressing.
Remind me afterwards because I'd love to know.
This is really depressing.
Mm-hmm.
So this dude is in an enormous band, one of the biggest bands in recent history, country, and he was friends, grew up with our old manager. The whole night we're hanging out. The dude's humble as fuck, like just the nicest guy in the fucking world, and like. But like when you're at that level and you have millions of dollars and stuff, you're coming down to a different level. So like he's at an Every Time I Die show where he's seeing like stage diving. He's seeing like shit he doesn't see at his level. Yeah. You know what I mean? He lives literally in this protective bubble, and he goes on stage when someone tells him to go on stage. He doesn't even write his own songs. A guy in Nashville writes those songs. That's how it is. Like, Kevin, you know how that is. Like writing beats for people or writing rhymes for people and stuff like that. Like, there's a whole weird world in music of like what you see isn't what is real. Yeah. Right? So like Britney Spears doesn't write her own music. Someone in Sweden writes her music, which is true. You know what I mean? Like Oops, I Did It Again. Like one of the dudes from At the Gates, which is like a metal band, played bass on that record.
No kidding.
Yeah. Like it's just crazy. And then it just gets handed to her and then she sings it and blah, blah, blah. And pop country. It's all written by old country dudes.
All of them.
In Nashville.
Yeah.
So this band that we're hanging out all night, and he's having the most cathartic moment of his life. He's seeing punk rock for like the first time, and he's seeing this like live thing, and we're like interacting with each other because we're best friends.
Yeah.
And we're hanging out with the other bands and like having a fun time. At like one point in time, I'm like singing into an empty mic stand, which was like a picture that got out like that.
I thought it was your mustache
my
tickler.
move.
Yeah, I've been doing that for years. You know what I mean? But he's seeing us just have fun.
Yeah.
And like, so later on that night, I mean, like, we're hanging. We go out and get food after. We go to a bar. We're hanging out in this taxi, and we're headed somewhere. He's sitting in the front seat. We're in the back seat. And this dude is more successful than anyone in the car by like leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
He's millions of dollars, and we're like talking to, and we're talking to the background, and everybody starts paying attention to what he's talking to the taxis, and he asks the taxi driver. He says, "Hey, are you happy being a taxi driver?" The taxi driver is like from somewhere else, and he's like, "Yeah, this gave me the opportunity to move my family here. I love this. You know, if it wasn't for taxi driving, I wouldn't have anything."
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, "I play guitar. I don't write music. I have a Playboy. I have a Playmate wife. I have a mansion in the hills. I have millions of dollars in my thing, and I'm just not happy. And I hate this. I hate this life." And literally, like, hearing that, and I was like, holy shit. So, like, I think I have, like, this respect for, like, when cool things do happen, like, I was emotional the entire day of that Christmas show.
Yeah.
But I also have had that feeling in front of, like, 200 people playing where, like, they're all on.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, when it comes to wrestling, like, everybody's whole goal, you think, is, like, the WWE. You know what I mean? So, like, but it made me super happy to hear you say that, because for me, like, getting into wrestling, like, I've loved wrestling since I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
So like, for me to wrestle in front of 100, like, how many people were at that show? 160 people.
Yeah.
With literally 3 people, I put at like a high level of friendship. Like, I think that, like, in wrestling, you're one of the guys that, like, I've definitely, like, gravitated towards.
Totally. I totally
That feeling is the coolest thing in the world.
Yep.
Like, that to me is like, so the fact that I get to do a podcast with 2 dudes that I look up to, and it's funny, like, one is like a young greenhorn, Kevin Bennett, who like just started wrestling
Buffalo's
3 months,
HBK.
Fresh in the
over there.
business.
but like, you know, 23, 24 years old.
Yeah.
And like, I look up to Kevin more than I look up to dudes that are my age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Jesse, I get the opportunity to do everything with him. Like, at this point in time, like, to drive around and stuff like that. Sometimes I'm on a show with him. Sometimes I'm not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's fucking awesome. I
That's
get to
it.
go on tour with my friends, and like, maybe sometimes we're playing in Germany in front of fucking 70 people in a fucking youth place, but like, all 70 people are like freaking out, and then like, we're all dreading it, and then you go back to the dressing room and like, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, 74 people like came to like Leipzig, Germany,
Came to see
to
us.
like see us on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And it was fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. And like, it's stuff like that like, just like that. And I always remember that story of that guy who literally has everything. So like, from all of us on the outside bubble, you're like, God damn, I wish I had
Yeah.
all that stuff. I literally would kill for that.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, he's like looking at a taxi driver going like, man, I wish I had this life.
Ask him about his life.
Like, I
You
don't
know?
want to keep dragging this on, but I love talking about this. It's I was always into wrestling from elementary school all through high school, so I was always known as a wrestler and whatnot. And now, like, I don't really keep in contact with a lot of high school friends, but
Yeah.
once in a while, I'll like come in, I'll connect with them, and they'll be like, "You still doing that wrestling thing?" And I'm almost like begrudgingly,
Oh,
like,
here we go.
yeah, like almost embarrassed. I think it's 10 times out of 10 now. Even the guys I didn't get along with, like,
Yeah.
enough times pass where we can at least talk, and they'll be like, "Man, that's so sweet. You're still
Yep.
chasing that
Yeah,
dream."
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like, it's a legitimate, honest, like, you can tell it's like they gave up on hockey,
Yep.
Yeah.
grade 12, or
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just they're just living that everyday life, and
Yeah, they
that's
bought
fine.
a house, they got a job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
kids.
absolutely fine. But you can tell
Exactly.
there's some kind of void in their life,
Yeah.
and it's just like, we've never let that become a void. We've
I don't know-
always chased it.
If
Yeah.
this seems familiar, someone said this, and it was like, hey man, we both started at the starting line together.
Mhm.
I decided to do this. I decided to chase my dream. You decided to be a banker.
Yeah.
And that's like it. So like, when you think about that, it's like everybody has the same start. So like, for anyone to look down at you for chasing your dream,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, yeah, for like the first 2 years, you probably thought I was a piece of shit because I'm like literally like living on a couch.
Yeah.
And like starving, and like, you know what I mean? Like, my meals are like, some days I don't eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? but I'm smiling the entire fucking time.
Oh yeah.
And you want to know something? You can have your banker job where you're fucking miserable, and you're going to that fucking job, and every day you have to talk to the same fucking people.
Yeah.
And then
that you don't
blah, blah,
like.
blah. Yeah, and it's like you can do that, and that's fucking fine. I'm never gonna do that.
But like I'm always even just like, even if this is all for naught, I don't get anywhere.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when I'm 80, I can be like, hey, at least I chased it.
You did.
At least I
It
tried.
doesn't
Imagine
fucking matter.
At least I
being
tried.
80 and thinking like, oh man, what if I would have tried?
That's what I mean.
That's,
You wanna
that to me, that's my worst.
This
fear.
is it.
That keeps me up at
This
night.
is also it too. You guys have to understand that, like, even if it's just $1, you made money doing it. That's successful.
Dude,
When you started with
that's so
nothing,
big. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no matter what, it's successful because at one point in time you made something out of it.
Mhm.
And regardless, I understand that, like, there's more to money
Yes.
than more than money. But, like, even $2 is a success.
Oh, absolutely.
In music, in fucking wrestling, in anything that you're doing that, like, you're chasing your dream or whatever like that, it's still a success.
It's a start.
when
you
I
didn't, like, you're not, like, literally living in a box right
No.
now because you're like, oh, I decided to be a wrestler, and you know.
when I bought my house, like that's when I started getting more serious. Like I have to actually like I got to be more serious with wrestling. I'm not gonna stop, but like I got to treat it more like
Yeah.
a business.
Yeah.
And like when I pay off some bills, like legitimate big boy bills
Yeah.
with money I made from wrestling, not
Yeah.
all of them,
Of
No,
course.
no,
but some of them.
But it's there.
You know, and it's just like, all right, this ain't so fucking bad, man. Like,
Yeah.
I literally look at weekends and I'm just like, I'm stoked to wrestle, but I'm also looking at it as income now.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
holy
you know what I
shit,
mean?
I'm actually gonna be able to
Yeah,
pay my
it's
cell
just-
phone bill with this
Yeah,
money.
and it's just like, all right, there's something here.
It's pretty cool.
I'm living my dream and I'm getting paid to do it. I would
Exactly.
pay to do it, in all honesty. I won't tell a promoter that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
like, you know.
I
it's
mean,
just-
I was at one point. You know, I think a lot of us
Exactly.
were.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
you lose money every fucking weekend and you justify it somehow in your head.
Yeah,
But it's
Yeah.
all to get to the point where it's like, all right, no.
Yeah. I remember,
doing
like,
this.
that. I always tell that story too. Is like the day I brought money home,
Oh,
and my dad
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
He literally thought I robbed something. He was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Well, you know, I just went on tour. I came back from tour. It's like money." He's like, "You've been on tour for like 6 years. Why the fuck
what
is there money
changed?
now?" You know what I mean? It was just like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
like didn't know what to tell him. Like, can you please just take what I owe you off of this?
Yeah.
And then he like took the money I owed him, and he was like, "Well, this is still yours." And then like I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like, and then didn't have a bank account. I didn't have a bank account until I was 32.
fucking
something like
awesome.
that.
That's hilarious.
And I just kept putting money under literally under my mattress.
Mattress?
Yeah.
And I had a box of it, and I remember I went to like Bank of America, and I had like something like, I think it was like $12,000 or something
Holy
like that. And I like walked in, and I was like, someone told me I need to put this in a bank.
You're a grown man.
Yeah, and
It was-
like the dude literally like put his head down and was like,
Are you
I
Tom
have,
Hanks
like-
from Castaway
I
right
have
now?
old women. Yeah, I have old women that come in here that are like this is terrible. Like, yeah, let's set you up. And then like, you know, now I have a bank account. And it was just
Hilarious.
Like that. Yeah, like just I remember like, well, I'm going to Europe, and I would just grab a chunk. Like I wouldn't even know how much.
Bunch of money.
I wouldn't even know how much it was. It was just like, okay, and
that's
just put it in my pocket.
$16 better get me through.
Just
Oh, they're all
going to
singles.
Europe. Yeah.
I think that's why though. Like I've said, like I think that's why. Well, I know that's why I gravitate towards you, like in a locker room, because like now especially, I say it on here all the time, like guys that are miserable and act like they don't want to be there. Like I just don't have fucking time for it.
And no one's making you.
No, exactly.
You can fucking leave.
It's Saturday night, man. There's
Yeah.
a million other things you can do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just like I gravitate myself towards people that want to be there, that have passion. Like you know, you still watch wrestling. We talk wrestling. Like it's, you know, if I say to a guy like, oh, you know, did you watch like Takeover last week or something? They're like, oh, I haven't watched wrestling in a while, man. Like
You
I
wanna
don't
know
think
something?
that sounds cool
That
or
blows
something.
my
It's
mind.
like
It's
fuck off, man.
bullshit because they do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My
They
90% of the
fucking
time
do.
they're lying, and it's just like I said, I enjoy being around people, and like, and you always show up to work. You always want to work too.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I don't understand. If you drove, if you took time out of your
Yeah.
day, if you're fucking lacing up your boots, like I'm always like, sometimes I'll be like, man, I'm lazy, and then by the time it's get to go, it's like, well, we're here, we might as well fucking do something.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. It's because, of course, it's easier to fucking take the night off.
Yeah.
But that's just not going to do anything for anybody. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I've noticed with me lately. Like I think I'm starting to get that reputation of like a lot of people think I'm like the older guy. And like I have a contract, so like I don't want to do anything.
Oh, yeah.
So like I don't know. I'm just trying to like, you know, I try to like talk to the guy to make him realize like, no man,
I'm here to
I
work.
want to work. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to just fucking walk through this. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I said, I mean, I just want you to realize, like, you know, you definitely are a guy that, I don't know, a lot of people should be inspired from, for sure.
Jeez, that feels so awkward. Thank you. Thank you.
Man.
I appreciate it.
No, it's very cool. Like, all the Young Buffalo guys and stuff, like, yeah, like, because, you know, to a lot of them, like, Smash Wrestling is where they're trying to get right now.
Yeah.
So, like, you know what I mean? They know you're one of the good dudes.
I want to shout out, like, this whole Buffalo Brotherhood thing, by the way, because, like,
We're
it is
trying, man.
it
We're
is
trying.
unbelievable.
We're trying.
Like, I love all the guys.
Yeah.
It's such a good group of dudes. They're all great. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like,
It's the only reason I'm trying to do things around here is because of that crew of guys. You know what I mean?
it's so
because I've done seminars before, and I'm just like, man, I don't want to be a wrestling trainer. This sucks.
Yes.
But like the guys around here are so fucking awesome.
it's so inspirational. Like, it's just like, Dan Garcia, I see him. I'm like, you're better than me already.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
We're wrestling for a year,
Yeah, I
you
know.
asshole.
Like, it's just like all the guys, and they're all good dudes. Like, they're all dudes I'd legitimately hang out with
Yeah.
outside of wrestling.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
fucking one of them.
I think that's a big thing for me too. Like it's like, you know, that's like if the fact that I can sit in a car with them for 4 hours
Yeah.
like, says a lot.
Like, I love the fact that Puff, literally half your age, you guys on social media, every day I see a picture.
I love
of you. Like, I love it. It's like
It's-
twins.
Yeah,
It's like
the
twins.
thing is though, it's like right now I'm gonna text Puff right now, and he's gonna meet us at the pasta place.
Love it.
Like, you know what I mean?
100%,
And he'll be with us all night because he just wants to be around fun.
He's
Yeah.
he's putting all of his effort into this.
Gratitude is definitely the attitude, and I feel like this group,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah,
Like,
and
I don't.
I try to install that in them too. You know what I mean? Because it's weird whenever you have like a community, even like an office job or whatever it is. It's just like, you know, like shit talking always turns into like a thing. You know what I mean?
that energy builds.
Yeah. So it's like I just try to make sure it's like, guys, we're all here doing this for the same fucking reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like let's all work. The big thing is working together.
And at
Even
the-
getting ESW and Smash to work together and the ring.
That's huge.
Yeah, Grapplers Anonymous. It's like this area there's a lot, man. We just got to make something of it.
And at the end of the day, it's scantily clad play fighting. Like, let's drop
Yeah.
the egos.
Yeah,
Like, nobody's a tough
exactly.
guy.
Yeah.
Like, let's just fucking, like, I always say that. Like, it's fake. It's just play fighting. Like,
Yeah.
just get over yourself.
Yeah, guys, Brett's gonna book you on the show in Buffalo. He's gonna tell you what to do.
Yeah.
That's it. You know,
Yeah.
you do what he tells you. And he's gonna pay you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Seb's gonna pay you to come up to Toronto and work his shows, and then you just do what he tells
Yep. That's it.
you. Pretty much.
It's easy.
This is our longest podcast we've ever done by
I know.
far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was easy though.
It was, yeah,
Kevin
absolutely.
Bennett's a good one.
easy.
Thanks, buddy.
Hey.
I feel like Kev. Can you come out to eat with us? Do you gotta go? Fuck.
Jeez.
I just like he's
I
been
know, I
sitting
feel
here
like-
for 4 hours. Like I gave you something.
I appreciate it, Kev. Thank you.
We might even do 2 parts. You can do 2 parts on this.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I think
Easily.
we should just do.
Yeah,
one
probably
big
just do
one.
one.
Big one. If you can listen to this whole thing, you're a dedicated fan.
It is weird because like not to stretch this out. I'm
Oh,
doing, I'm
let's
doing,
go
I'm
for
doing a
5.
run in here. I'm
He's
doing
got
a
a
run
run
in
in
here. We you like Bert Kreischer's podcast, don't
Yeah.
you? One time he was talking about he did like an 8-hour podcast. To me, I'm not listening to that.
Yeah.
Like maybe it is a good idea to split it up because like yeah, if he was saying I did like 2 4-parters or like
Yeah.
then I'd probably like just hearing it's an 8-hour podcast makes me not want to listen
Well,
to it.
yesterday I listened to The Fight Companion with Schaub and Callan and
Yeah.
Rogan, and that was like 3.5, almost
3.5.
4.
Yeah.
And like I had it on just as I was doing stuff. It was hardly on.
Yeah, so
Like, and like
not
even
really
by the end,
grasping
by the
it.
time it ended, I was like, thank God, and I was hardly listening.
Yeah.
So if you're at
forced-
that point here, I apologize.
I reminded they
God
talk-
damn it, they're wrapping it up. Thank
They
God.
talked a lot about like abuse and stuff.
And
like
child
that.
rape,
It's
yeah,
like,
I know.
Come on.
And it
man.
was the MMA podcast,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah,
There was
'cause when-
little.
He put it on in the car, and I was like, "What did they do on the MMA podcast?" Because they weren't. It was just like a Rogan.
They don't even
podcast.
flatter you. They're not even like, oh, it's the MMA podcast. It's like, so priests are raping little boys.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
We're gonna
Callan,
dive
that's
into this
why.
for.
Yeah.
We're gonna dive into this for an hour and a half.
The Stipe Miocic one was awesome.
oh, so
I
good.
haven't listened to it yet.
I mean,
You
he
said it
just
was good.
sounds like
He's the nicest man in the world.
the thing
fucking
is
great.
though is like
Ugh.
that voice is just a pug with a cigar in his mouth. That literally is just he's
That's amazing.
I just love he's just the everyday man who
love
happens
him.
to be the baddest man in the world.
Yeah.
and he still
Cleveland, Ohio.
works.
Yep. Still fine.
Does he really? Oh,
Yep.
he's a fireman. That's right.
Yeah.
So cool.
Well, when he won his last fight, Rogan's like, "What are you gonna do?" or something. He's like, "Well, I got to redo the bathroom. The wife's on me for that." I'm just like, who are you?
normal man.
Yeah,
Gotta get this floor done.
yeah. That's like literally what he said.
So we're gonna do all you can eat pasta.
Yeah,
And
it's
then-
not all you can eat. It's just like
Oh
it's
yeah, sorry.
basically- It's basically
it's
like
Chipotle
for
but with
pasta.
pasta.
Love it.
it's awesome. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I can't wait.
All right.
yeah.
Thanks, Acker.
Thank you,
You want
guys.
to take it away? We've
Oh,
never had a.
do you,
we never
do
had
you
a.
know the fucking closing line?
Heat's in the ring, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
I said it kind of shitty.
Yeah,
I was going to fun it up.
Let's get a little.
Took a
All right.
guess. Took a guess.
And with that, the heat's in the ring.
Thanks, guys.
Brother.